Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Experience.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
What is going on, y'all?
Wow. What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. But first, Kamar's going to read off all the new Patreons.
Yes, it's my favorite thing of the week is to acknowledge our supporters. This week's no different. I want to give a big shout out to Michigan Sativa Hybrid. I'm assuming that's from Michigan. Detroit, maybe? Detroit what? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hybrid.
Shout outs Michigan Hybrid.
Hybrid's my father's name. And also, someone had to do this. Shout out to Andre Jarusek. Andre.
He even sent me a message being like, this is how you pronounce my name. And I was like, listen, buddy, that's not how this works.
There's no comedy there.
He was a super nice guy, though.
All Patreons are super nice. How do you pronounce it?
How close was he, Jarusek?
Well, Andre, you got that part right.
Well, that's a start.
So I think that's all that
Silent
really
J,
matters.
silent J.
There you go.
And Arusik. Is it 2 silent J's? Anyways, I love you guys. It's so good to have you guys here. Remember, listeners who are not part of the Patreon, you get 53 of our This Not Age Well and the post show every week, as well as supporting a great cause.
All right, well, let's get on to it. Kamar, how was your week?
It was a tough week. The justice is blind, they say. But somehow justice saw the right to convict me.
You got
guilty.
convicted?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, I was ouch. But a big shout out to, it's weird, like when you're super bummed about something and you don't want to talk to someone you know. Shout out to Gabe Hawley, Missouri, man. He reached out on Friday and I talked to him for a while about it. I just want to say thank you to all the fans and everybody. Everyone says they enjoy the show. I enjoy you guys just as much. And that was brutal. And on a side note, did you know, like, they read the whole thing, the judge? Like, he doesn't just say, okay, everyone, you're guilty or not guilty. Like, they drag it out for like a half hour before you get to it. So it was like, come on, man. And about 2 minutes before he delivered the verdict, he said something. I was like, oh, I know where this is going.
That's tough.
It's all right. Could be much worse, and people have much worse problems.
So what does that mean then? You can't drive for
Cannot drive.
how long?
1 year.
Yikes.
Well, I could drive in 6 months, but you have to do the interlock, and my insurance is going to be at the roof. So it costs like $600, $700 a month to drive. I'm not driving for a while. That's what we know. So keep those Patreons coming in, and we'll get myself a driver.
Mary had the breathalyzer in her car for a year.
Because you have to lease that.
Oh, yeah.
And so
The craziest was they impounded her car the day before she was supposed to go to London. She got pulled over for some bullshit. The cop was like, I don't know, they didn't understand. Then they tried to impound her car and they were going to charge her the full price of the thing. It was ridiculous. So stupid. Anyway, that sucks, Kamar. I guess that answers how your week was.
yeah, I was thinking I should have pleaded guilty because last year was the year to do nothing. You know what I mean? But at the time, I didn't know that we were going to be locked down for a year. So, anyways.
And that happened before Corona, didn't it?
It happened for Corona.
It happened in December, didn't it?
But the actual day I had to say plead.
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm just saying that when the thing happened, it was all pre-COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, pre-COVID.
2 months before, the lockdown.
And I guess your lawyer really was buttering you up then with the pre.
Well, who's the...
No, he doesn't know anything. And like it's like the judge read everything, read all the arguments, read the exact point that we were trying to get off on. And they said, and I don't agree with that. And I was like, oh, okay, the jig is up.
So my turn to butcher her name. There's a Patreon. I believe her name is Arianka Georgia. I forget her name. Mm-hmm. She's the female boxer. She lives in Ottawa, I'm pretty sure. Goes to, I think, Ottawa U. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting all your info.
Love you.
She wrote and she was like, I think that I think she's a law student or she was involved. But either way, she was like, she said that your lawyer doing that stuff meant that he liked you.
Oh, that's the worst thing. We had a great rapport. I like the guy. You know,
Well, he can only do so much. Like,
I don't think he did anything wrong. And when it comes to appeals, the only reason you appeal is if the judge makes a mistake. You can't just say, well, this or that, and the judge didn't make it. Like, I know what happened. And so it was weird, like reliving the grief sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Like when it happened, I was bummed, and then I get my license back, and then we're waiting this out, and then all of a sudden, boom, boom.
oh, imagine how it would feel if you had done something like terrible.
Well,
Having to relive it.
This is what I was talking to some friends and stuff, and we were able to realize that it is what it is, and you move on. Worst things have happened.
Well, at least you have a good attitude about it.
And you know what? Has nothing to do with thing. They need to open a store for people to buy lottery tickets.
Oh, it's the worst. The fucking
But
people.
just so they all have to deal with each other
Yeah.
and see how annoying they are.
A little side kiosk. It should all just be automated.
Me personally, did you know have you heard of Roulette?
Roulette?
Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's a crypto casino.
You'd be crazy betting your crypto though.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure it is.
I just think the scratch and wins are going to go the way of the Dodo Bird. There's going to be other things, digital, whatever. Like, I think it's an old person's guy. You never see a young person buying scratch. I don't know. We'll see.
I buy a couple a year, just to be honest. But I'm not that young anymore.
Stocky stuffers. But these people, they're
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
on their
yeah.
weekly. Anyways, that's my week.
Simon?
If one day I don't show up here on a Sunday and you find out that I'm in prison, it's because I murdered somebody buying lotto tickets.
It's the worst. Okay, fuck. I'm not the only one.
No, for sure. And it's always happens. Murphy's Law. It always happens when you're in a rush.
It's always when you're buying $20 of gas, you have a 20 in your hand.
They're the fourth person in the store when it's a 2-person max.
Oh, it's the worst.
There's
And you just hear winner,
There's a
Gagnon.
lot going on, man.
Especially because in their head, they think they're going to pick it. You know, the guy's going to pull out the fucking tray.
No, and they just don't give a fuck how many people are behind them. Like you can see, I have one thing in my hand, and you're going to be like 35 minutes checking your lotto tickets.
Haggling over $2.
Anyways, whatever. Yeah, my week was fine. It was what it was. This was a.
I mean, you got your alien guy.
Joe. Oh, I have a lot to say about.
Well, wait a second. You guys both had the fucking
Joe made up
week of weeks.
made up for a lot of ills in 1 week, I found. And it, like Kamar was saying earlier, had that Sasquatch actually had to do with Sasquatch, this was like, this
could
might
ask
have
for
been the
anything more?
week, man. This would have been a 5.
No, you never rate anything a 5.
It
Would have been impossible.
Matt, if that had been, okay, look.
If he had been actually there squatching,
if that
it would have
was-
been a 5.
If that had been like Jeff Meldrum,
But let me ask.
easy 5.
So you would have then just given the week a 5 based on 2 episodes. You would have taken
3.
Suplee, okay, and Chappelle being on there.
Chappelle,
Okay.
that's-
But I'm saying like Reggie Watts and
No,
Suplee.
those 3 as a core would have been
Okay.
enough to propel that, but it falls just a little short.
That's weird. That's so against your.
I know. So okay, maybe
I-
it wouldn't have been a 5.
I was
don't know.
I was thinking about scoring this week. I think you guys are way too stingy. Well, maybe not you, but like it's like
There's no way I'm stingy. There's been times where you're like,
I just corrected
Yeah, yeah.
myself looking at you, but
I think
was
Matt's giving out 2
thing.
5s on a week where you're only doing 1 rating. Like
I know. I retracted
I mean, listen,
that
Simon, we
as
know.
it came out of my mouth.
Simon, Kamar, you and I know that a 4 for him is a 5. I think the fans know that
I
too.
think the problem is
a 4 is not a 5.
Shane Dorian was for something.
4.5.
And so
Yeah,
there's been so many podcasts that are better than that one.
In his
that have
defense,
not
though,
received that.
That was like the first
I was going to
podcast
say, in
we
his
did.
defense, when you're rating early on, there's no bar, right?
And I'll stand behind that Shane Dorian
No,
till
you
the
won't.
day
No,
I
you
die.
won't.
Till
No,
the
you
day
won't.
I
No, you won't.
die.
you
No, you
have
won't.
to, because that's how you do it. But I'm just saying, I think we coveted our ratings too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, Simon's like,
I can't think of an episode genuinely that deserves a 5. Right now, in my head, I'm like, I can find fault with everything.
And that's what I'm saying, because you made the 5 has to be like a 5 is just a really solid, great discussion that you couldn't criticize. You know,
I feel
a
like
5
Simon's the
means
type of
it's
person to rate an
perfect.
orgasm.
It
Like,
means-
it was like a 2. They're all 5.
It means
perfection
it means
doesn't
it's
exist,
perfect.
so that doesn't. I just think
And hence why I don't give the 5. It's perfect.
Listen.
Does not exist.
Listen, everyone has their own rating system. You're entitled to yours. I agree. He's a bit stingy, but that's his thing, and it's fine.
Stingy, but my ratings make like some sort of logical sense.
Of course.
Yeah.
I assume everything in your head makes logical sense.
We can't say the same for everybody here.
I know you're looking at me. That's
No,
fine.
I'm looking at both of you.
No,
whatever.
I just, it's an emotion thing.
Kamar's a feel guy. He always has been.
Total feel guy.
Yeah.
I have no.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
And
way
that's
to
not,
back
before
up
we
my
start
that's
then-
not what you want when you're like electing the president of the United States.
Which we are
You know
not
what I
doing.
mean? You want to do your research, not on feel.
So
That's how
l-
I feel about the ratings.
Let me ask you then, Kamar, how did you feel about Maddie Matheson's Twitter post this week? Did you see it?
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't either. What was it, Matt? Don't keep us in
Well, no, I was
suspense.
gonna. I just I mean, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but he came out and he was like, "Listen, I was on Joe Rogan's podcast last week, and he's like, I think I did a disservice by not pushing back more on some of the COVID stuff, and maybe some of like the stuff directed at Canada." He was like, "We're taking all the right precautions at the restaurant." He's like, "I wear a mask. I believe in wearing a mask." I knew Kamar would hate this.
No, I'm not rolling my eyes. The best thing I heard is the criticism of Joe. You know what I mean? Whatever he said. You're not a doctor. And then someone said, well, neither is Bill Gates. But you'll listen to him. Like, they're all just opinions.
The weirdest thing though is like
push back, whatever.
The
I don't
listening
know.
to Bill Gates, like I've heard him talk about vaccines a few times, and never once have I been like, this guy knows what's up.
No, I don't. I mean, unless you're a trained doctor in this thing, you may know what's up.
Well, and I don't like Bill Gates, but in all fairness, like if you're Bill Gates and you're spending that much money because you own all the vaccines, chances are you probably know a little something about something. You would have done some research before you stuck all your money into it.
Hopefully.
Joe doesn't, man. Joe does. He is working off feel just like Kamar.
Yeah.
And depending on who the guest is and depending on what they say,
Yeah, he feels differently.
dictates the opinion Joe has on that day. Sorry, go ahead, Kamar. I see you want to talk.
I just think if Maddie Madison had pushed back, it just would have I don't think it would have been a better.
Well, push
episode.
back about this fucking. Joe has taken one occurrence about this religious
He's prone to do that.
shutdown. Like frankly, I never even heard about that. But
Oh,
that
you
happened.
should
in
look
New,
in. You should look into that priest.
That happened in New York a ton, where they were going and taking
huge
Jews
shows of
away by
force.
force.
Yeah.
That Joe conveniently didn't talk about that at all, probably because it's Jews and it happened in the States.
Well, he
But-
did talk about it at the time. He said De Blasio was overstepping, and I'm throwing him an olive branch.
Okay. Anyways, I think
But he
he's being
forgets about it now,
Really
yes.
hard on Canada. Like,
It's just a mind fuck that we're like the strictest lockdown right now and it's still not working. So it's just like, what do we do?
I mean, I'd argue that India's probably locked down pretty hard, and it's
they-
also not working.
and they say it is working. They
Could
say
not
that
compare.
shutting down has like put a slow on it, and by the beginning of the summer, we'll be at like 78% inoculation, which is better than the States is right now because they're so fucking big, right? Are you jerking? Is that what
No,
you're
I'm just
doing?
saying, fuck. I can't wait till I don't have to talk about this ever again.
Oh yeah, that'll be great. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. Let's run down the guests so we can start this.
Well, I was a chalk block a week.
How was your week, Matt?
Oh, not great.
the footy?
I got Chappelle though, so. I lost so much money betting everything this week.
It all comes out in the
Everything.
wash.
Well,
See,
I mean,
I wouldn't tell you that. I'd be like, yeah, it was okay.
no. Almost all my gains from last week just evaporated this
Well,
week.
you're a good man, Matt. A good man.
No, yeah, terrible week. But I was betting like in retrospect, I bet some basketball props, and it's fine betting them, but the amount of money I was betting on these ridiculous basketball props, just there's no need for it.
You're drunk with power.
Not drunk with power, but I just like the way I look at gambling is simple. Like once you have a little bankroll built up from basically nothing,
It's free money.
you might as well start really throwing some big bets in. Well, no, I'd already cashed out some, right? So
Well, like, what's a prop bet? Like, so and so will score.
like this week I
Are
had
you opening presents over there?
No, sorry.
No, he's trying to fucking. So one of the props I had this week was Russell Westbrook 13 assists or more, 13 rebounds or more, 20 points or more, and then Chris Paul 11 assists or more.
And that would pay off huge.
Oh, it was like plus 1,900 or something, and I bet $100 on it. And Russell Westbrook only scored like 11, but everything else hit, which is the worst. You'd rather hit nothing.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know what's worse.
No, winning's better.
I'll say this though, and this isn't a plug because we can't even use them here, but Penn Gaming, so Barstool Sportsbook, they had this really cool thing I saw the other day where they were like, you can bet with Dave. So you take exactly what Dave bet, and they show you what it is. It's like Toronto to win, the Blue Jays to win, the Cardinals to win, whatever. And then they add a bonus to it too. So they're like, it was plus 375. We're bumping it up to plus 500. So, but the beauty of it is one of them was like, if none of them win, so if you lose everything, we give you a plus 3,800. So, and I think that's brilliant because the other day I had a ticket that was like, I thought was a lock, and they all lost, every single one. And I was like, that's almost harder to do, or as hard.
Book you with a part-time job.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the guests.
Yeah, it was great because last week I think we all agreed it was a good week.
Yeah, I think last week got some decent
And
ratings.
sometimes we have there's a letdown, and this week was not that. Although the first one I don't understand. 1644, you've seen him in My Name is Earl, but now you can't recognize him because
Are you telling me you didn't
Oh my
understand
God,
this one?
that's who that was?
Ethan
Yeah,
Suplee.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
kidding me?
No, I am not kidding you. I
Wow.
had no idea who that was.
Then we had Simon's Christmas Present, 1645, Christopher Mellon. Followed up by Gonzo Journalist, 1646, David Holthouse. Then we had What's Left for Floyd Now, 1647, Dave Chappelle returns without Donnell Rawlings. And we finish off with We Heard He Was Coming, and he finally showed up, 1648, Reggie Watts.
All right, we'll rate the week. We'll start with Simon. Are you done fucking with your bubble, by the way?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, you're good and sealed in there.
I've noticed them.
By the way, this week I had to sit in there for a half hour trying to fix the mics, and it makes me nauseous being in there.
Really?
I can't see. You can't. It's
Yeah,
like your
I
vision
don't-
is blurred.
I don't love it.
Oh, I can't
terrible.
believe the sacrifices you're making to keep the show going.
terrible.
Thank you.
So you want me to rate for? I'd like to rate last.
You would like to rate?
Yeah, I
last.
have to think about it. I haven't thought about it. Yet.
Okay.
Oh,
We'll start with Kamar then.
Yeah, Ethan Suplee, I thought was going to go a different way, but other than that, I really enjoyed everyone. I give it a 3.8.
I give the week a 3.5.
Yeah, I also give the week a. I'll give the week a 4, I guess. A 3.
Okay, so a 5. Well, we all know what that means.
No,
pressure's on.
3.75. 3.75.
3.75.
There were some problems, some huge problems.
Okay, so Simon wasn't.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Unless you want me to tell you all the problems now, but that probably doesn't make a lot of sense. I could tell you.
No,
as
we'll
they
go.
come.
We'll go as we go. Yeah.
Sprinkle them out throughout the episode.
All right, Kamar, let's fire it up.
1644.
Ethan Suplee.
The guy,
Yeah, baby.
The guy from that show. I didn't even realize. How about that?
Well, you saw Blow too, right?
I have seen Blow.
So you remember Tuna?
Yeah, no, and
That's him.
he was also in
Mallrats.
Friday Night Lights.
American History X.
Mallrats,
Remember
yeah.
the Titans. Blow. Wolf of Wall Street.
many movies.
Motherless Brooklyn, just to name a few.
He looks very different.
Well, it's interesting. He was in American History X too, because that comes up later in the week as well.
Does
Which is
come up.
but they never even made the connection, which was very
Well,
interesting.
this is. I just wish there had been any
Some
showbiz
sort of movie talk.
anything, as opposed to a bunch of repeating stuff.
Yeah, about health that we've heard a million times.
Not even health. Like when someone tells you about Hogzosa, that means they know about Hogzosa. So you don't have to tell them about Hogzosa.
What
That
is
happens
he,
on the
what
show
is he
often.
saying?
I'm not saying it right, but they were talking about the giant pig. But Ethan brought it up. And then Joe went on.
Hogzilla?
Hogzilla, whatever.
Hogzoza.
What was he saying?
Hogzoza?
I think that might be the name of Brendan Schaub's brother's penis.
Gotcha.
I'm crossing
Cool.
podcast over. But there was a lot of repetition, and you could tell the person you were talking to knew what you were talking about, and it was just lip service.
That pig thing really is crazy, though, how you take like a pink pig that you'd make bacon out of and you put that thing outside. I don't know if it's 3 weeks or not, but then it just becomes like a different thing. That's cool.
Do you think that's just cool that happens with cats?
Cats become a different thing?
Well, no. If a cat just gets out, it becomes wild and will survive.
Yeah, but it doesn't change its physical appearance and like
Yeah, I guess it
a
just becomes
pig
feral.
like
But we kind of do the same if you
like,
think about it.
It morphs it like Pokemon levels, you know?
But again, we kind of do it the same.
Powers
Like
up.
if you just threw, if we took, a regular dude and just threw him out in the woods.
What do you think would happen, Maddie?
He would die.
You think he'd like grow big fucking tusks?
No,
and
but
shit?
again, you get like that grizzly man fucking look about you, and you could start like,
just
give
don't
it enough
think-
time.
I
too.
don't think you become any more deadly. You
Well,
know what I
your
mean?
beard
Like your
grows out, your fingernails
your
grow out.
fingernails growing aren't going to be an asset to you. They're going to be a detriment.
unless you sharpen the shit out of them.
Fair enough. If you become like a Wolverine
There
type
you go.
situation.
I'm just saying, it happens quick with pigs, but I
Well, that's part of it too, is how quickly it's happening. It's, of course, everything is going to change to mold to its environment at some point. It may take,
but pigs are wicked fucking smart, so it might have something to do with that too. That they just immediately their brain switches to like, I have to adapt to.
they have a curly penis, I believe.
You would be the expert.
Is that right?
No, there's
They have
something else.
something
No,
weird
it's
about their
ducks that
penis.
it's ducks that have a
No,
curly penis, a corkscrew dick.
So do cats.
So do
Also
dolphins.
have a corkscrew dick, but there's something about a pig's penis. I'll find out for you guys. I
All
know
right,
you're
pig
super
dicks.
interested.
But I want to go back to what Kamara was saying.
Oh my God, really?
Well, just real quick, because like this guy, so Joe talks all this shit about Scientology. Like this guy worked with Jason Lee super close for like.
Oh, there's so many other things.
Oh, I forgot about
That we-
that.
so like that I'd like to know like, hey,
All
you worked
rats,
really.
a lot he worked with.
Well, I mean, that too, yeah. But I mean,
Clerks,
yeah,
too.
that
well,
too.
let's just be upfront, okay?
Sure.
Since we're talking about it now, like that Christopher Mellon interview, there are things that Joe just doesn't talk about. They must discuss it beforehand or whatever the fuck. Like he's not like a journalist, right? So
No.
he's not.
No, but I'm not looking for journalist stuff. I'm just saying Joe seems interested in Scientology and the people that are deep in it.
Oh, I have a problem with it, Matt. I'm saying this guy probably said we can talk about everything except Scientology, and that's.
Or maybe even then, maybe he was like, listen, I'm on this journey now. I don't want to talk about my Hollywood career. I don't want to talk about the people I worked with. I just want to talk about my podcast and my journey.
That's the
And
only way that this unfolds that makes sense.
well, because again, you might also like that might be behind him. And he might be like, I don't really like talking about it. It was an old me. I was overweight. I didn't care. You know what I mean? I get that. I don't know. You can't always get what you want. Plus, too, like, think about it. You might want to go in and talk about your weight loss, and then it turns into like a TMZ thing where they're like, well, what's her name like? Or, I don't know.
I suppose because Joe's in the business, he's not as
I agree.
enamored by it.
Yeah.
So, but like a Johnny Depp story or working on Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
One little tidbit.
Dude, the guy that directed Blow, Ted Dem, he died of cocaine. He died drop dead playing basketball, heart attack, cocaine in his system.
And it's not to say that, like, I know we don't love health and fitness. Like, he had some interesting points. One of the things he said was, it's not about developing good habits. It's about, like, breaking the bad habits. That's the first, like, just the way you look at this instead of, like, some people are so, like, regimented and stuff. And I thought that was good advice.
So the pig does have a corkscrew penis, just so you know.
And
Okay.
a corkscrew
And
tail.
if you're interested, I have a list of the 10 weirdest animal penises.
No, definitely not.
Well, let me just tell you
While
about the
we're here,
highlights then.
Then we'll wrap it up.
There's, first of all, sea turtles have giant penises. I didn't know if you know that, but they're very known to be well endowed in the sea world. But there's a fish with a penis on its head, which is interesting. And dolphins have like a hand penis. Did you know this?
A hand penis.
Yeah, a retractable hand. The good natured swimmer have retractable penises that are kind of like a multi-tool. Not only does the male dolphin penis swivel around, but it's often also used to feel out other objects, kind of like a human hand. This gives the dolphin a ravenous sexual appetite and could help explain why males are often seen trying to hump inanimate objects and other animals like sea turtles. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, anyways, okay. That's that.
All right, animal dicks.
Yeah.
Cool.
At his biggest, he was 550 pounds.
That's shocking.
It is shocking. I thought it was
I mean, how tall is he? Do we know?
6'1", 185
Is
meters.
that like
1.58 meters.
Not that it really matters, but it does. If he was 6'8",
Yes.
Is
It
that
matters a bit.
cloth on a stick fat? You know what I mean?
is that cloth on a stick?
You know, where you have to like clean yourself with a big long stick because you
Yes,
can't reach behind you.
I
Probably,
believe
yeah.
it's
No, I'm just
approaching
trying to
that.
get an idea of 520 pounds.
I mean,
Is it
again-
like Yokozuna?
Well, think about him in fucking Blow. Like, he was a big, like, that. I feel like that's like the size where your arms are resting on
I don't
you.
remember him in Blow. I'm gonna have to look him up.
He was tuna, big tuna.
Well, you can't remember anything
'Cause, yeah, he looks
you didn't even
so
know he was the
fucking-
guy from My Name Is Earl.
Well, I remember him from Mallrats.
But I thought it was interesting how he said, like, under every fat person, there's a total fit person.
Well, yeah, because you got to carry around
'Cause you
fucking
gotta-
so much.
I thought that was kind of cool. So everyone's just a transformer.
Well, it's like Will Sasso. Have you seen his calves?
His calves are
It's
fucking
phenomenal.
brilliant.
It's insane.
My roommate's almost 400 pounds, and he has amazing legs.
Well, again, you're carrying
It's
around
all
like
there, yeah.
yeah.
It's very interesting. One thing, well, this guy has mental illness. I mean, he said it about how, like, no matter what he does, he just sees there's something wrong with it. And I think that's sort of like an obsessive thing, which sort of maybe why he just talked about that. and didn't
Was
wanna
he
talk
a
about-
Scientologist?
We don't.
I don't know.
It was a
Good
no-go
question.
zone.
What's his name though?
Ethan Suplee. I just know that Jason Lee was one of the like.
Yeah, no,
High
he's
profile.
He's still in it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
He was a rad skateboarder.
blind. He was fucking sick. back
When
then.
Joe talks about the guys betting on raindrops on a window,
Yeah.
I feel like that happened once, or it was an analogy.
Yeah.
Like, he makes it seem like weekly they're
Yeah.
watching drops of
All
water.
right, boys, rain's coming. Let's pull up.
Shot him up. Get your leather together.
Oh, he's definitely a Scientologist.
That explains everything.
And listen to this. He's like, okay, My Name Is Earl and Mallrats actor Ethan Suplee is a practicing Scientologist along with his wife Brandy Lewis, sister of Juliet. They are like elite Scientologists, and he's married into it
So
also.
that shows you why that didn't come up
this
once.
episode's null and void.
Dude, this episode is so fucked up now. Like,
Well, it's good we did research.
But this is the crazy thing is like,
did Joe not do the research?
no.
Sorry.
Like, this is the thing. I agree with Kamar that for sure Joe knew this guy was a Scientologist, and it was probably laid out before by him. Like, listen,
Then I don't want him on the fucking
It
show.
was probably like, you can bring up Scientology if you want, and my lawyers will contact. Like, it's always a lawyer game with them.
It's a disservice to sacrifice the investigation into it.
I agree.
As we've done in the past, just to talk about this guy's transformation.
This
I
guy
agree.
wasn't bringing enough to the table. Like, maybe if he had like a new metal to the earth, then I get why you wouldn't talk about. But this is bullshit, man.
Yeah. I wish we
This
didn't
is
know that.
fucking bullshit. Like, seriously, this is a huge problem. This is my problem with Christopher Mellon that we're going to get to next. And I didn't even realize that it started like this.
He's a Scientologist. as
I
well.
was going to try and stay really calm this week. So that
That's out the
everything
window.
I said had huge impact. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just ramblings of a madman. But I'm getting really fucking hot under the belt here.
We got had boys. Come on, that really upsets me now that we know that, and I think it does every time. I think it was interesting. He said diet versus diet. Like, diet could just mean what you consume or the amount you consume. You know what I mean? I think that's the word has two meanings, because you could have a diet of junk food, you have a diet of something, or you could have a diet where you're worried about calorie intake. But the coolest thing they said is, like, what if your car gained weight? Like, with the gas you didn't use, you know what I mean? Because we use food to fuel our body to do stuff. And if you don't use it, that's where fat comes from.
Yeah.
But this guy's a Scientologist, so he's all full of shit. And what about, he didn't mention how his daughter was, but she believes in the simulation.
Jason Lee quit Scientology. That's what this says.
He's still on this.
Well,
Welcome to the show, Simon.
It's more interesting than what actually happened here.
Way more interesting. Like, he
I
can
agree.
list a bunch more points about this fucking guy's fitness that I'm going to ignore. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you.
It's fine. Dude, it's your show too. I'm just fucking cracking wise here.
But, like, I never heard the simulation theory before, like, the last couple of years.
Yeah, but I mean, for young people, that's the thing is, like,
Do you think it was born from the Matrix?
It played a huge part in it.
Like,
I mean, I
bringing
think
it
the
to
Matrix,
consciousness.
to the mainstream, the idea that maybe we could be, that was definitely the first. But hold on, if you're older and a science fiction reader, like deep, I'm sure there are way more examples
And you can also
of
watch
simulations coming up in science fiction writing.
You can also watch The Matrix, and if you're not like, paying attention to exactly what the simulation is, it could just become like, I watched in a movie, I forget about it.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm driving at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as a kid, I talked about aliens, conspiracy theories, whatever. Simulation was never in the vocabulary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think Elon also had a big thing to do with it. I think maybe Joe's podcast and other podcasts. I mean, I think podcasts in general have opened up a lot of worlds for different people.
Speaking of, you have more gut biome,
Butt guile.
that too, in your stomach than there are stars in the sky.
So the second he said that, all I could think was, yeah, that's why they say you're like a universe, you know? There's a universe inside you.
The interverse.
There really is.
But
Did you just Mike Tyson that? The interverse?
But what if, like, those are aliens?
Well, that would make sense then, Kamar, for the simulation theory. Like each person is his own fucking universe, and inside you are all these creatures that are alive.
Well, that's like the end of Men in Black.
But like,
Yes, right, exactly.
yeah, are the gut biomes like wondering? I wonder if there's life in this body, or whatever in the feet, or just it's so interesting how crazy we are just on the inside that we don't have a clue about.
Well, that's why I think it's a simulation, because none of it makes any fucking like. Oh, we're just
It's also
there's
random.
particles.
It's
just
so random how it worked out.
Yeah, you're made up of particles. Like, well, that's cool.
Yeah, Jason Lee is out, guys. 2016. Just letting you know.
Get him on the show.
I will say though, I like that Ethan Suplee, Simon, he laid out the simulation like I laid it out.
Go on.
Well, he said he was like, my daughter explained to me that like this is what it is. And he was like, yeah, but I mean, we're still in it. So what am I going to do other than just continue?
The knowledge serves no purpose.
I totally
That's
agree
it.
with
Yeah.
that too, Maddie. Like, you would keep on living.
Yeah, I mean, me and you came to that
Yeah.
conclusion. You hated it, but you were like,
For
yeah, I
a
guess if I
second,
am.
I said there was going to be a purge, but then when I thought more about it, like that's my initial reaction. The same way that when
Well,
aliens come,
you said there
there's
would be a purge if we found out. Certainly, definitively, we were in a simulation. That's when you said there'd be a purge. Wasn't that what you said?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even know if that's the case, because I think that the majority of people are just like, what the fuck do I do with that information anyways? And we just go on living. Whatever this is, it seems like a game anyways with like checks and balances, right? So
Well, I started thinking about it. So let's say you were playing Grand Theft Auto and it's 2 a.m. and you're not high. Let's keep that in mind. And the character turns around and looks at you and says, am I really trapped in here? And like let's say you have a full conversation with them for 4 hours.
If you're not high.
Yeah, if you're not high. That's why I said, it's like, the question is how can you, like, let's say he's fully sentient and he's like, I want to get out of here. Help me get out. There's nothing you can do.
Do you lose your mind and then devote your life to trying to free him?
Well, that's it too. Like, I think I'd just be like, I got to turn the game off.
Sorry,
and I got
bud.
to go. Literally. Not playing this one again.
I don't know.
if you did find out, would you want to be like a Neo character is trying to get to the bottom of it, you know?
Well, if I have all those powers, of course.
No, you wouldn't be. I'm just not necessarily have his powers, but if you knew,
No, I'm the guy eating
are you
steak.
like, well, I can't go on like this?
But you're forgetting, in the Matrix, they went and specifically found like hackers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know jack
Okay,
shit.
but I'm asking you, forget the hacking part. Like,
Okay.
if we did find
Yeah, but that's
out,
what I'm saying, Simon, is I know so little about how these programs work that there's nothing I can do. So like Kamar said,
if it
I
was-
just turn it off and I go home
if
with my
it
day.
was a thing where you knew these people existed somewhere and you could either keep on living in ignorant bliss
Mm-hmm.
or join the revolution and whatever that entails, I'm not sure, to get to the bottom of real reality, what do you choose at that point?
Well, there's a third option, though. You know, but you get a little extra because you're towing the party line.
You get the
Like
steak.
the guy, the steak guy.
Okay, but just stick with my two options for a second.
Well,
do you
it-
guys join the revolution or not?
The revolution, if I just got to be a schlep. If those are my options, the revolution, of course, live. Viva la revolution.
Live is not joining the revolution.
Well, no, the act of living being a verb, like doing something with your life, would be join the revolution. Just putting your head down and being a cog in the wheel would not be living in my head.
I mean, let's keep in mind, Simon, it's one of those things where, like, if you're living off $1 a day, you'd probably be like, I'll join the revolution. If you're a billionaire in the simulation, you'd probably be like, I don't know.
Depends what you get for your thing.
Do you know who Michael Pena is?
He's an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor, yeah.
He's a
Character
Scientologist.
actor, He's the guy from Narcos, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Scientologist.
I'll take all my notes, throw them out. This is just scrap. This is tainted.
Do you know that Nancy Cartwright, the voice of The Simpsons,
She's Bart Simpson.
I think
Scientologist?
most of the Simpsons are involved in Scientology.
It's crazy, man. So I just finished watching this show called The Path with Jesse Pinkman. And
Aaron Paul.
Overactor.
It gets ridiculously stupid at the end, but the start is very Scientology. Feels like, they're just. Anyway, interesting.
I ripped through Silicon Valley this week.
Yeah,
Total side note.
it's fun.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it gets stupid after what's
Well,
his
I don't
name
like when
leaves.
TJ Miller leaves. Yeah, it's not
and
as
it turns
good.
out that TJ Miller's a real fuck.
Well, yeah,
because
he called in a bomb threat on that train. You don't remember that?
no, but he like sold all. Sorry, go ahead, Kumar.
He's got mental like his brain is fucked up.
Well, it seems
He's epileptic.
epileptic.
Thank you.
No problem, buddy.
That
I'm here to help.
That doesn't make you like.
Wires miscrossed though. Like
Okay.
if he doesn't do his, I'm not. I don't even like him. I'm just saying.
He didn't hold out for more money and all that shit because of epilepsy.
He got me too to get off.
He did that because
Silicon
he's
Valley.
a fucking
or just his behavior. But he's done a couple crazy things that could be attributed to his. Apparently, he's very funny.
TJ Miller, yeah.
Yeah. When they figure out the jerky off. at the
Oh
same
my
time.
dude, I don't know if I've laughed that hard in a long time. I was fucking dying.
Don't
that
you
episode.
love Big Head's character?
Yeah.
Though? I love that.
Spaghetti?
Guy. Yeah.
He's the best. Man.
Anyway, sorry. Back to this should be post show. My apologies. I just forgot to bring it up in the how was my week.
But you'd seen it before.
Move on.
No.
Oh no way!
Yeah, I had
what
never.
A bonus, man.
I had never. It's like Workaholics. Someone was like, "Well, now that you're done that, you got to watch Workaholics."
And
I was
then
like, "All right."
Pied Piper, and now with Robin Hood, and that was way before. Like it's very like fucking
Oh,
weird.
we're gonna get to Robin Hood.
And,
We're gonna get to Robin Hood in the post show.
There's a
That's-
lot of synchronicities with real life to that show.
That's inside scoop stuff. Like that is.
They knew shit that
People
we didn't
know
know.
shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's Mike Judge, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's Mike Judge.
So
yeah.
it's gold.
Anyway, back to Ethan Suplee.
No, I'm done with him.
I mean, the most interesting part of this whole episode is what was not said, unfortunately.
Well, now it is. Yeah, I want to get fit though. So I feel like these are calling out to me lately. The Action Bronsons, this guy, like, and again, I'm not sitting here like I'm some morbidly obese fuck, but I live an unhealthy life, and
I
I'd
think
like
it would
to
be awesome if like 4 months from now you come in here super
just
jacked.
fucking.
Super
But that's the thing
jacked.
is, I'm not even talking about getting jacked. I would just like to be like toned and fit and know that I'm not going to get fat.
I want
like,
you jacked.
we
I'll
we
see what I
got
can do.
our sauna running,
Yeah.
and it just feels good to like know that I'm doing something good for myself. You know.
Yeah.
With the least amount of effort.
Oh yeah, definitely the least amount of
sitting.
effort. Listen,
Heat shock proteins.
I'm not
flowing through
bragging
it.
about how
Yeah,
great
yeah,
I
whatever.
am. I'm
You're
just
taking
saying
some active steps. though,
every
Simon,
time
yeah.
I go in that thing and I'm suffering through that last 5 minutes, I'm like,
Yeah, well, I don't
doing
use our
something
sauna
good.
anymore because I hate it.
So his diet. Oh, the other thing he said is that there's a weird thing that people, what do you say? We don't all want the same stuff, but sometimes people think like you should want this, or you know what I mean. And that's sort of like if you're doing that, you might want to take a step back and go like, why do I want them to do that? For them or for me?
no, it's definitely for you. It's to make you feel like you're doing the right thing.
And that is I don't know if it's wrong or right, but it's just
But
interesting
pushing
people-
somebody in like what you think is a good direction, I don't think that's a bad thing,
But
unless
if-
you're like
if it's-
somehow
No, but-
detrimenting them.
I've always said I believe there's no such thing as an act of like every act of kindness also in turn gives you something back. So there's not, it's like nothing is without
especially because we don't know how people see stuff or think about, like, we can think, well, you look at it this way, but you actually don't. And I mean,
listen, there's been people that I've thought genuinely I've been trying to help forever, and then they're just like, you haven't helped me, you're shit. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. The whole time I thought I was doing good, and this person just thinks I'm a jackass.
so always take pause. The cool thing you talk
Well,
about.
most times, go on. Most times somebody, like you're helping them, they don't even notice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you notice because you're going out of your way somehow, like you said, to do something for somebody. They don't even, it's not like they're being rude to you. They're just rude, period.
But like
you
Matt
know?
said, are you doing that to help them, or are you doing that to feel good about yourself?
Who fucking cares?
No,
If
but
in
that's
the
not what I was
end
saying,
you're
Kumar.
helping
I mean,
them.
that's what I'm saying is like, what I'm saying is, no act of kindness is without some sort of personal gain, but it doesn't mean that it's not still an act of kindness. Like, you know, just because you get something out of it.
Just
doesn't-
because you get the high of what you get from helping somebody, it could still mean that you did something that put you out of your way or whatever the case is. Maybe it took something from you or you had to give up some part of yourself that you wouldn't have usually. I don't know, man.
I mean, it also goes to like, if you ever spend time being like, I wonder what this person thinks about me, this is a good exercise. The people are so in their own heads that you spend so little time in other people's. Like, you're not a thought in most people's heads. It's just this weird thing we do where we're like, this person, I'm the king of that. Everyone I meet, I'm like, person hated me.
Well, you're the center of your own story. I mean,
course,
that's
yeah.
everybody is. And if you didn't think like that, I think there would kind of be a problem. You'd be like a sociopath or something, you know?
No, I think it's the opposite. The sociopath is like so in the middle of their own story that there aren't even other stories, I don't think.
I think, though, that also a sociopath is like, just doesn't give a fuck about the damage they do around them. So they never give it a second thought, you know? The world literally revolves around them. So why would they, you know, how does my actions affect other people? I think about that all the time.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't think a sociopath does, but I could be mistaken.
All right, so we're done with this guy then?
Just the last thing they talked about, that Yuri Prohaskis, and that guy is crazy.
The guy that elbowed fucking Dominic Reyes to death?
But he's only fought twice in the UFC.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube,
Oh, I know. I've seen.
like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's fucking bananas.
He's bananas.
Listen.
This is
The
this
Great White Hope.
jiu-jitsu guy?
Listen.
Jiu-jitsu guy?
No, he's the guy that knocked out Reyes 2 weeks ago.
I've never seen him wrestle because he knocks everyone out.
Anyone that fights with their hands down, you should be fucking very worried about. If they've made it to that level. No, what I'm saying is, if you've made it that
Are
far,
you saying
come on.
it looks like confidence? Like they know what they're doing?
It's like the guy who takes a bite out of your cheeseburger, I think is what Matt's saying.
What I'm saying is like, if you've gotten to that level of fighting by fighting with your hands down, you've probably murdered some people in the
you are
ring.
knocking people out before they get a chance to knock you out, obviously, because your hands are around your fucking waist.
And this is what I'm saying.
Because
Like,
we all think that's something you should
gotta
not
keep
do.
your fucking
you should
hands
keep your
up.
hands up.
What are we,
Like
nuts?
fucking, what's his name? Fat Boy Jones fights with his hands down, not because he can knock people out, just because he doesn't know any better. Who am I talking about?
Daniel Cormier?
No.
Oh.
Fat Boy Jones.
The guy who just fought.
Black Beast?
No. Who just fought the white guy,
Daniel
curly
Negreanu.
hair.
The white guy.
He got
curly
kneed
hair.
into outer space.
Fat Boy Johnson.
Dad bod. Dude, I
Ben
can't do
Askren.
Ben Askren.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, Jesus.
Oh wow, that took.
I thought he said
forever.
a black guy.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
was like, well, we're
I
looking
never
the
would have
wrong
gotten to
race.
Ben Askren.
Why? Just because I said Fat Boy Jones?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, Well, because John Jones. So then I was like, okay, he's mistaking John Jones for someone else. My point though was just like it's tough to get to that level. If you've gotten to the UFC by fighting with your hands down, you've probably fucking done some serious damage. And again, Dominic Reyes is top level. He got fucked
Yeah,
up.
I'll stand by. If you fight with your hands down, you've taken a lot of bites out of people's cheeseburgers.
Sure.
I like that analogy. Did you ever see? There's a fight between Tony Ferguson and Mendez. Does that
Chad
ring a bell?
Mendez, yeah.
Like it's just the craziest fight ever. They're running around the ring.
No, the craziest.
They knock each other out, get up.
The craziest fight ever is what Maddie sent me the other day. It's,
Diego Sanchez against Clay Guida.
Those guys. Have you seen that, Kamar?
I know I will though because
You
I love
have
watching crazy
You
fights.
have to watch it.
It's in the Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
that fight.
It might be the craziest fight ever.
I'm just saying these guys had their hands down. We're knocking each other out. Like it was just crazy.
Write it down because I got to show it to him at the break. This
Yeah.
is the wildest barn burner
That's
of a
not the
first
one
round.
where the guy knocks the guy down and tries to do a backflip onto him.
No. no. This Kamar. He goes. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? And it's a Donnybrook from the second. Like Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez might throw 25 uppercuts that all land, and it ends. It ends on the first round with Diego on his back, laying just the most vicious elbows to the top of his head.
And is Clay just bloodied up at the end of it?
They're
Yes.
both
Yeah,
fucked
Oh
up.
my god, it's it's a vicious.
They
fight.
added 2 new episodes to Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know if you guys ever watched that, but you definitely should if you haven't. It's the
It's on my list on Crave.
documentary
Yeah, it's on
about
my
the
list.
wrestlers, all the dark side of wrestling. But this one is all about Brian Pilner. Pilner? I think it's Pilner. It's a really interesting one, man. Definitely worth the watch.
Okay, we're done with Suplee now,
Yeah,
right?
done.
All right,
We
Kamar,
were
you want
done
to
when
rate
we
it
found
first?
out that this is totally tainted
Well, it is what it is.
with editor notes, and because of that,
Definitely dropped my rating a little.
1.5.
Oh wow, my rating's not going down that much. Simon, you want to rate it?
0. This episode gets a 0 for
Mine-
what was not
everything
said,
changed.
not what was
Simon cracked this open like a cub reporter.
said. I'm sorry, but this one really leaves me thinking like, what the fuck? Why? Why are we doing this?
All right. Well, after listening to it, I thought it was like a 3. It was a decent conversation, a lot of weight loss stuff. But again, I'd like to get fit, so a little motivation. But after this controversy, I'll drop it down to a 2.5. But I'm still going to give it a.
There was some inspiration. He said minutia too much for a guy that lifts weights, but
Okay, well, let's move on to Simon's wet dream.
1645 with controversy. I thought this was just going to be like, told you boys.
Nope, apparently not.
1645.
Chris Mellon. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to my page here, and then I will.
Or if it's Italian, Christopher Maloney.
Simon, you look like you have a lot of notes.
I do. I just okay. So I'm gonna start by saying I called Luis Elizondo being on, who is his partner in crime. I would have rathered have seen that just because I think it would have made for a little bit more of an interesting interview. I was happy that he was on, but now I realize like Joe is doing this for people who aren't even paying attention to the subject. So these guys are just pretty much repeating themselves at this point. There was nothing new brought to the table at all in this episode.
To your table.
To my table. Maybe you guys got some new stuff, but I feel like we got all the same stuff with Jacques Vallée, with the last guy who was on. I forget his name, the guy who did Phenomenon there. But just, I'll let you guys go in 1 second, but I'll just lay this out for you, okay? When they started talking about Bob Lazar, that's where my like spider sense kind of peaked a little bit. And I was like, what is going on here? And then I started thinking, okay, if Bob Lazar was like a CIA operative but didn't know it, that if we follow that whole kind of line, of course, Chris Mellon is going to say it was bullshit because they did the exact same thing to the Blink 182 guy.
So that's what we're on.
These guys worked with, sorry, what is his name?
Tom DeLonge and Mellon are not associated.
Not anymore, but
They broke up.
They were, okay? He worked with Elizondo, with To the Stars Academy. They did that show Unidentified on the History Channel, 2 seasons. He's now doing whatever he's doing. But my point was, like, if we think that Tom DeLonge was also being led by the CIA for whatever reason, we've been through this before.
We think you got to start talking the eyes because you're at the bottom of this. I completely heard a totally different episode. Like,
Keep going though. I want to hold on. Just let him finish. Let him finish.
And anyways, my point is, if that is the case, that Tom DeLonge was this guy who got approached by the CIA saying, we think you're really knowledgeable about UFOs. We want to make you the head of this whatever. Here's a bunch of guys who are super reputable, or they don't even say that. Maybe those guys go to Tom DeLonge on their own, Elizondo and Chris Mellon and Hal Puthoff and all these guys who are really reputable, having worked for the government already, but coincidentally just don't work for them anymore. That's how I would do it. I would implant my own people in to monitor exactly what was going on. And that sounds like exactly what they would have done to Lazar. I don't know, man. I got really like, and the other thing about this guy too is everything that Chris Mellon and Elizondo talk about is a threat. We have to pay attention to this because it's a threat. These things are in our airspace. We don't know what they are, and it's a threat. And listen, I'll agree to that fact. For sure, it's probably a threat. But guys, let's be real. No matter which way we look at this, whether these are beings that are traveling millions of miles to get here, or they're coming through portals and shit, we don't have a fucking chance. Like, they're not a threat to us because they could obliterate us with the blink of an eye. When they talk about threats, it's because that's how you get money out of the government. You create fear, and then you create a situation where you have to fight a war. And the war is going to be fought against these things that we don't understand.
So you think there's going to be there's an oncoming war with extraterrestrials?
No, I don't really think there's
Okay.
going to be a war, but I
It
think
wouldn't
that's
be a war, it'd be a
I think
slaughter.
that's how they're going to paint it, because that's how they're going to get their trillions of dollars for ATIP or for whatever program they set up. This guy just seems like he's in this perfect position to like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Wow.
So this is a perfect example of fishing your wish and still shitting on it.
Yeah, no. But again, there was nothing that this guy brought to the table where
But I feel like underwater aliens, like you must have.
The ocean,
like,
the ocean. That's the first thing
I was
wrote
listening to
down.
this and I was like, Simon's gonna have a fucking field day here.
I do. Listen,
Till he called Bob Lazar a radiation badge checker.
no, listen. I think Bob Lazar could be full of shit too. Like that's definitely a possibility. Unless this guy knows something that he wasn't saying, I don't understand why that can't be a possibility.
But hold on. Let's call a spade here. Let's be honest. There's no way this guy's gonna go on the biggest podcast in the world and just spill all the beans,
Well,
right?
this is my
that's
own-
never. That's that.
Of course not.
Okay.
Even if he had the beans to spill, which we don't know that he does.
Let's assume he has all the beans. They're not all getting spilled. I apologize. Come on, go ahead.
No. I just want to add, this was my only problem with the episode when he called Bob from what I understand, he was just a radiation badge checker.
Yeah.
And Joe goes, well, no, actually, he told me he was working on something that's actually quite terrible. I'll tell you after. Then he went back, well, I'll tell you something after. And I was like, fuck off, guys.
Yeah, that stuff.
Like, what
yeah,
are
I
we
know.
fucking doing
Yeah.
here? I'm sorry. I'm just sorry.
Yeah, either have the real conversation or just don't do it.
It's...
I was listening to an interesting thing this week about, remember I was telling you small d, big D disclosure. The next thing that's coming is the president, and they're going to say these things exist. This guy was saying that probably won't ever happen, because if the president comes out and says these things exist, he also has to admit that A, they have no idea what they are, and B, that if they have no idea what they are, they really don't know what the threat level is, and he won't ever do that. It would cause
But what if they do know what they are?
well, that's a whole other story, I guess.
Like, what if they've had like contact for 50 years? You know what I mean? That's a
totally other story. And maybe for thousands of years, Maddie.
sure.
Like they were talking about that whole panspermia. I guess that was in the last episode, but
But I'm just saying, you can't say you've had contact with them, and as you know, the States is only 200 years old. So what I'm saying is, like, the U.S. themselves couldn't
Oh,
say
I
like
see.
we've
Yeah,
had
yeah,
contact with them
gotcha.
for thousands of years. They could say, listen, in the 30s we, you know, or like you said, maybe in the 1700s we, you know, 1790 we had our first contact with them. I don't fucking know.
The weirdest thing is, well, what he said, like, I don't know what to think now that Simon's thrown all this to. How he's saying, like, the money they're spending on this is the people's money. The people who make this decision are basically the people's employee, but there's this crazy disconnect of like, okay, you guys know best for us. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why it's not really so much democracy, because like
Like,
you choose a limited amount of people who then choose people that are actually in,
Well,
you know,
those people, I don't even know what the Department of Energy is. That was the
that
most
was
interesting thing.
that was crazy to me too. Is when he was mentioning that, I was like, wait a minute, what's with this high clearance at the Department of Energy?
and
Like,
billions and billions of dollars.
But sorry,
Yeah.
just to go backwards for a second, Kamar, you don't decide, like, when you pay your taxes. I mean, I guess you do by deciding who you vote for, but you're just throwing your money into a pot and it's being allocated as they see fit. You don't have any say in that, the same way you don't in how it goes to aliens or whatever, whether you understand it or not.
Well, if
you
there's
know?
a
Keep in mind,
swell,
though-
the public can say, we demand you tell us everything right now. And said, well, no, we won't tell you. Like, they shouldn't be able to do that.
also, there's like Australia, for example, they do it right. When you get a thing every year, I'm sorry, Aussies, if I'm getting this wrong, but I'm pretty sure you get a thing every year that explains exactly how much tax you paid, and it shows you what percentage of it went to what. So you get like, you have a pie chart in front of you that says,
Yeah, I mean, they could easily just be running black op, you know, calling it one thing and, oh, this is for military. And really it's just
well,
going
yeah, but at
somewhere
least then,
else, you know?
but even then, even military, if you see that it's 60% of the pie, you as a voter can say,
I guess. I mean, in America, it's 90% of the pie and nobody fucking blinks an eye, you know?
Did you see, you watch Lex on a regular basis?
yes,
Did you see the guy talking about smart contracts?
yeah.
Because that, I think, is going to change everything. If you implement something where certain things have to be done for the money to even be released, eliminates that.
Yeah.
The bait and switch with the money. So I just think if 200 million Americans said, tell us everything you know right now, they have to tell them. They can't, oh, sorry.
No, I don't think they have to do anything.
I don't think they will. I don't think they would
People
either.
have demanded.
I understand, but they should. Like, if we have a democracy, like, who knows? We don't care, or the general public doesn't care. I was talking to my mom about this morning. Oh, by the way, happy Mother's Day, belated to all the mothers out there. How many people could not care less? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not weighing on them.
Well, again, though, because it's such a big, like...
They just don't know. I think if more people actually understood what this means.
No, because Simon, I sit here with you every week, and even to me, I just don't care. Well, it's so big. But the thing is, Simon, is like, it's like the simulation. Like, if they are real and they are here.
No, this is provable. The simulation is not right now. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying, though, is if they are, fine. If you prove tomorrow that aliens are here, what power do you have to change that they're here, to fight them? None. That's what I'm saying. You have the same power as if you found out you're in the simulation. It's a moot point to me.
No, okay, sure, fine to you, but I don't think that's the case. I think if like aliens show up, giant spaceship in the sky, it's right out there, everybody's fucking staring at it, I think then people are going to start caring about it. Right now, it's just this abstract idea. Oh, the Navy has videos, but when we looked at them, I can't really tell anything. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're, just like Mellon said, unless you're looking at all of this stuff in like the giant context of the whole Nimitz thing, it seems like, oh, this is just more bullshit. But when you like look at it, oh, we got it from the boat, we got it from the satellites, we got it from the fucking submarine. We like... this guy, that guy, then it starts to become a bigger deal. I just don't think anybody knows about that at all. You ask somebody what the Nimitz thing is, they're like, what?
Yeah, so you agree no one cares.
Well, only because they don't know.
What I was surprised when he was like, actually, we have quite effective ways of seeing what's on the bottom of the ocean using sonar and submarines and stuff, because that's your out, right, Simon?
Well, and Joe tried to dismiss that really quick. Oh, it would be like looking at too big a space. Don't look at such a big space. Start with monitoring hotspots, like this guy said. After the Nimitz, when you're seeing these things come in and out of the water, that's the time you want to go looking underneath, right?
Well, and I'm sure they know a lot more about the ocean floor and the bottom of the ocean than they tell us.
I'm sure they do. But then I was thinking, like, if you're a UFO and you go down into the ocean, you disappear really quick, kind of like you would if you were blasting off into space, right? Like, that's a lot of area to.
I mean, it also depends how big your ship is, though, right? Like, we don't. You're thinking of Independence Day
if they're
style
all drones, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like it could just be a manned type.
Oh no, for sure. I'm just even thinking about little ones. But now that you say the big ones, the thing that they say they saw during that Nimitz was that giant cross coming out of the water, right? The size of like 3 football fields or whatever. So,
what did you hear about the soccer game that got shut down because all the people? Because those are the most interesting things to me. A group of people, their story of a sighting.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the Phoenix Lights, right? We were talking about this the other week. That happened in Phoenix, but it's interesting how that thing came through like 4 states, right? Nevada, it followed this route down, and there were sightings all through those 4 states.
But
like that's a giant.
You'd heard about that soccer stadium where they stopped the.
I had, and I'd heard about the school where all the children had that same sighting in South Africa. That was the Mack story there, John Mack. And so that guy, he was like huge into regression therapy to try and bring out these events. And he ended up getting hit by a car because he didn't look the right way crossing a street in England. Isn't that interesting?
Where's he from?
And convenient, eh?
Where's he from?
He's from the States.
That is not. When I moved to Australia, for 2 months, I got almost hit by a car every day.
I was just gonna say, I don't think
you're so conditioned to look. You don't realize how you always look where the way you think the car is coming from, but like it happened when I returned.
Sounds exactly like something Mike Baker would say.
Walk to Gorky Park.
So he was talking about the pyramid objects that they've been spotting, and those ones are really interesting to me because they're like these 3-dimensional pyramids, I imagine them as. And that's like, it's one thing to see a disc moving around, I guess, because for some reason that seems very aerodynamic, right? So it would be crazy, don't get me wrong, but I think it would be less crazy than seeing like a giant thing that just is not moving, or these pyramids, which don't seem like they have any place on,
But
the way we would design something if we were trying to.
they so don't know what these are. Like it could look like that, but that's where like energy is exuding, looks like a triangle, but it's actually on a circle or something. I have no credit
totally,
to
and
shapes.
they could be changing shapes. Like there's the story that the guy was looking at something, right? The the Batman balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was either 3 different objects they ended up seeing, or one object that was changing its shape, which is kind of interesting too.
What about the Air Force lying about the weather balloon? You knew about that?
Yeah, I mean they lie about everything.
But you knew that there was this thing and they had a story and then lied. You knew all about that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. I found this really interesting, except when they were talking about memories and got totally sidetracked, talk about bears.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
No, we should talk, but I was just thinking, like, you guys are releasing the dope on aliens right now. Like, how'd you get lost talking about bears and bear spray and freezing in my tracks?
So, is it okay if we just forget about the bears?
Yeah, he was done.
Yeah.
I was just saying that it threw me off. Like, what are we talking about here, guys? Go on.
Go ahead, Simon. Back to your alien stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
We know you're hot and bothered here.
Well, no, that's, it is an alien episode, so there's finally a reason to talk about it.
Like you need one.
They have, I like his thing, like, so they've been buzzing around military installations, nuclear facilities. They want to be seen. That's why they have lights on the bottom, because they have no need for lights at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's true. I mean, why the fuck would a UFO have lights on the bottom of it? Landing lights or flashing lights or whatever. We put those on our planes so they don't crash into each other.
Well, maybe they have them to land.
Do you? Okay. I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying,
I mean,
maybe
that's a
still-
very
maybe-
human thing for a outer space machine. But okay.
But you could argue that flying is a very human. You're kind of losing me in what is human and what is alien. Like, it's weird to think that like another species of something wouldn't need light to land. I'm just saying, to me that seems
I could see that they don't even see like we do.
okay. Fine, but you could.
Light isn't a thing to them.
to me,
They're
like
infrared eyes.
I never understood. To me, it was either every one of those we see that have lights on the bottom, that's actually a human thing, or they're doing that because they actually want to be spotted, which is an interesting idea. And they're, the people who are having these true sightings are being chosen for a reason, maybe. Who knows?
Are you angry you haven't been chosen?
No, I mean, I'm probably not important enough to...
No, it's like hillbilly seeing these things for the most part. Come on.
Those are the guys probably lying about it.
Oh, okay.
Or seeing like a fucking army thing while they're drunk, or who knows? Maybe not. I could be totally wrong about that.
No, it could be that too.
But it
for
could
sure.
be that like maybe a guy like Christopher Mellon has his sighting, so he's convinced so that he can actually do something, right? He's in a position where he used to work for the government. I'm not in that position. Even if I found it, even if they came and landed right here and started talking to me, like, what the fuck am I going to do with that? I'm going to tell you guys on this podcast and you're going to laugh. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes,
Anyways.
you prove their theory.
Did you guys look at that Phoenix Lights footage that Joe was showing?
No,
You didn't watch this episode?
I didn't watch it. No.
Okay. Did you look at it, Kamar?
No, they stopped. You can't stream it anymore.
Well, Joe was showing it.
I know, but on my phone, it's a little screen.
Okay.
It's just not.
Anyways.
What does that mean? You can't stream it anymore?
Last week, I could cast the episodes onto a smart TV,
And you can't now.
and they can't. They've taken that option.
That's so
away.
interesting to me, though. Like, you hear about the Phoenix Lights. You're not, like, interested in that to see what that was all about?
In general, all this footage is just not. It's always like disappointing. Like, yeah, that could be something. I mean, I've seen crazier things with my own eyes, shooting stars or stars that really last too long that get me more excited than any footage of UFOs I've ever seen.
Simon, my biggest problem is that we live in a world where everyone now has a fucking 4K camera in their goddamn pocket. And when it comes to seeing something incredible, everyone films wrong. They have shaky hands. It's a bad angle. No one has a tripod. Like, you'd think that in this day and age, there would be something a little Just slightly more definitive.
I mean, I guess I can believe that, but at the same time, I'd like to see you see a UFO and just see the footage you get. I just imagine your whole fucking brain has been blown. I mean, I guess it's different if you're like watching it from a million miles away, one of those videos. But again, then you're using your phone to film something really far away, you know?
There's with the phones that are out there now, there's going to be something really good coming down the pike.
He mentioned that footage that didn't make it. That was something I didn't know about Kamar, where it like buzzes really close to them. So I've never seen that, but that sounded really interesting because that sounds like he was taking it with his phone inside the cockpit.
But see, I hate those too. These like, oh, I'll show you after the show. I can't show it here. Like if we like.
Oh no, this was one I don't think, I think it must have been because an army guy took it on his phone, so then it becomes classified.
I get it, but I'm just saying like, that's hearsay. Like he's saying there's a video of,
Yep.
you know.
Well, he says he saw it. So if we're going to believe this guy, which again, you don't have to because like I laid out at the beginning, he may not be what he seems to be. So
Yeah, listen, touche.
yeah. What else we got here? That gimbal video is cool. The how it's rotating and then just speeds off. You didn't watch it.
I've seen the Nimitz video.
That's the different video.
Oh, okay.
Kamar, did you watch that one?
Yeah. I did.
Whatever. Okay.
Why?
No, I'm just. It's too much, man.
No, it's not too much. What about it? Like, what I heard him say is we're seeing things done that, for all intents and purposes, we know cannot be done.
Yeah, we know it's not the Chinese. We know it's not the Russians.
Or we should know. Like, there's
From
no
all the
intel.
from all the money we spend on spying, we assume it's not them.
This is just this video. Like if I were to show like Matt's mom this, you know what I mean? And I say, okay, so look, they have a lock on an object out there in the sky. They have no idea what it is. It has no propulsion. It is simply hovering. And now watch what it does. Boom, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. It was
Like that should, for all intents and purposes. Now I'm not picking on your mom here, Matt. I'm just
Sounds like you are.
I'm
I'm
not.
triggered.
It's-
And on
on
Mother's Day
Mother's
too.
Day.
What a piece of shit.
No,
fucking monster.
But that person then should be like, boom, mind blown. That is something that I didn't know was out there. I didn't know that existed. This changes the way I look at things that may be coming from outer space. That's
But if they're
problem, though,
devoting
Simon-
no concentration whatsoever in the first place, it's not like it now to be consumed with it, you know?
The problem too, Simon, is like we've all seen a couple of blurry footages of UFOs. So at this point, like even you being like, it moves so quick and the gimbal picked it up. Like no one knows what that means or gives a shit for the general public. I'm just saying you have a serious interest.
no. But again, if you were to be able to lay it, people don't. You're right. They don't understand when they're looking at a video like that.
But even then, what I'm saying is like everyone has seen a few blurry UFO videos in their time. There's no way you've lived, 20, 30 years without seeing one. And I just feel like until it's, I don't know. It's just still,
we
it's,
need a better video. We need a better video. I totally agree. We need something like Hollywood quality
I don't even know
to
if
convince most of the people. And still some people will be like, that's special effects.
I mean, Simon, at this point, I don't even know that a better video would do it. You need a being not of this earth getting out of one of these things. You need one landing. You need like
something like that for sure. Anyways, just back to these videos for a second.
Go ahead,
the Go
yeah.
Fast video, because that's an interesting one too. What he was saying, how they only show a small portion of that. That's the one where they're watching it above the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going in a perfectly straight line, super fast. You can hear the pilot like
They
this.
sound like-
I've seen that one.
They
yeah.
sound like yahoos, though. Eh?
They sound like
course.
young guys, which I'm sure they are. They're probably like 20 years old, but they're seeing something that they don't understand. The rest of that video, which I haven't heard the video or I haven't seen the video, but I've heard that recording of the guy talking about the squadron out there, that they were looking at like 15 or 30 of these things out in formation. Like that's fucking cool, man.
Or scary. Well, you don't get scared at all.
No, it's super scary. I'm just like, that is like mind bending to me, where if we're going to believe it, which I don't see why we wouldn't, this is like, they didn't know these videos were going to be released. That is fucking
The aliens didn't know or the pilot?
Yeah, the aliens didn't know. No, the fucking government didn't know.
They knew. They
anyways.
turned their lights on.
But he had no problem, just back to Mellon for a second, and whether or not this guy may or may not be working with the government or for, like, we know he's working with the government, but is he working for the government? He didn't have any problem at all with the Travis Walton story.
No, he was quite into it.
And that kind of got my spider sense up too. Like, most people, when they, I don't know, I find that most people, when they dismiss Bob Lazar, they dismiss all of those.
And he was also into Skinwalker Ranch, which Joe didn't say anything about.
Well, Skinwalker Ranch, I've been listening to the guy who owns it now. He's been making the rounds on like all the fucking podcasts that I listen to. That place sounds insane, dude. Like, they have literally found a spot on Earth where lines are crossing, you know, like such weird shit is happening there. That
Lines
it's
are crossed?
undeniable. I don't know if they're on like, you know how there are ley lines, Kamar, that go like under the pyramids and they cross.
Sorry.
Well, this is a place maybe where two lines have crossed because it's like uber weirdness. Portals opening. You can go outside. Like, people go there and have a sighting. Like, the night they go there, something happened. I don't know, man.
Simon, did you know there's a place in Canada that has less gravity?
Yeah, it's that road, right?
Not the Magnetic Hill.
Oh, I thought that's what he was talking about.
No, because that's an optical illusion, isn't it?
No, there's actually a place in Canada where there's like a large swath of it that has slightly, like fractionally less gravity due to the massive ice sheet that used to be on top of it.
But it doesn't
apparently.
make a difference. Like,
No, it's not like if you go there, you can
dunk.
jump and float. Yeah, you can dunk every white person's dream basketball court.
And then I know I've talked about this before, but Betty and Barney Hill, which, by the way, was that them on Joe's t-shirt?
I didn't watch this one.
I was trying to figure out what his t-shirt was. You didn't notice, Kai?
I can't see anymore. My phone text is super embarrassing.
Oh, I had to up mine the other day.
You know what I mean? And when I watch Joe, when I could cast it, it was one show, but it just isn't like
Why'd you get glasses?
why don't I get glasses?
Yeah.
I intend to.
Okay, sorry, it wasn't like a knock. It was more just like
Jugmart readers.
Gotcha.
For that stuff, but I can't see anything.
So just
So I did not see if it was Barney Hill on the shirt. Sorry.
Christopher Mellon, just before we get to Betty and Barney Hill, Christopher Mellon, he was on that television show, Unidentified, like I told you. That's like as much as it's ever been brought to the mainstream before, the UFO thing. This was the History Channel. They were, having interviews with military guys, that kind of stuff. It was, neither of you have ever seen that show before?
No, Simon, you're the alien guy.
No, I'm just saying this guy was like, I can't believe they didn't talk about that at all. They didn't talk about the fact that he worked hand in hand with a guy that Joe badmouthed beyond belief.
Tom DeLonge.
Tom DeLonge.
We cannot have this discussion without a mention of him, right?
It should have happened first thing.
Off the
what
bat.
do you do, Chris Mellon? Please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you did. Oh, I worked for the government to start, and then I started working with aliens, and then I left
to the Stars Academy.
Kamar, I have the exact time he mentioned it. It's not until the last 20 minutes of the show. He doesn't talk about To the Stars. Joe doesn't bring it up. So either Joe didn't do his homework or it was agreed upon before that they were not going to talk about Tom DeLonge.
There's something there.
That's fucked up, man.
Hold on, you're forgetting
that's
too,
what
though,
got
that-
my spider sense tingling in the first place, Kamar. That's why I came up with this whole fucking theory about him still working for the government.
So things were going well until he's like, they didn't mention Tom DeLonge at all. At the end of the episode, you're like, this is fucking suspect.
Well, the fact that he didn't say it right away when he was giving his credentials, right away I was like, what? That's where you say it. And then you have a brief conversation about Joe says I had him on. He says I either
He will not mention his name.
hate him or don't hate him. Why did I leave? I don't know. Something.
He won't mention his name.
It's crazy, man.
But hold on.
Have you noticed that though?
Well, when Travis Barker came on, they talked about him for a while.
No, but this guy worked with him. Like, I think
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge mentioned this guy's name.
Yeah, I
when
get
he
it.
was on and it was all
To
bullshit.
the Stars is a legitimate player, whether they're a fucking government plant or not. They are a legitimate player in everything that's going on right now. And he should be brought up in every episode where alien person is there, frankly, one way or another.
I would like to hear Joe say once, like, yeah, Tom DeLonge was here and I thought he was talking crazy or reckless, and
I agree. I've
Come
said
on,
that
this-
before. Yeah,
Acknowledgement
I
of-
agree that.
This was the
can-
this was that
This-
opportunity.
I 100% at the end, as you know, as you look at the timer, like, well, they're going to mention Tom DeLonge. Eventually, at least. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to get out of it, but when he didn't mention that, I was like, this is fucking sus.
Well, I will believe him when he says, because he is I believe, a company man. When Joe said, I wish there was a lie detector that actually worked. And he's like, oh, there is.
Well,
so
what-
that lie detector exists, fellas.
Yeah, but I think it's drugs they use. It's not, and it's like your pulse, and they.
No,
ask you
he
a
said
question
it
and
was a
make you
machine
lie.
that was reading brain waves, but either way.
What about when he was like, everyone says the government can't keep a secret, and I disagree with that. Like, secrets are very easily kept by the government.
Well, they are, obviously. There's
Oh.
tons of shit you don't know.
I thought we thought there's no secrets could be kept.
No, I believe that lots of secrets are kept. I don't believe it's so hard to keep. Like, I think if NASA wanted to fake the moon, you only have to convince 4 people.
And everyone else just
I
is.
dis- I
Everybody
disagree
else
with that.
actually
Everyone else
thinks
buys it
they're
and thinks
going
they're
to the
doing it.
moon.
Yep. I was watching, what is that, Armageddon the other day. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that movie?
That's with
Yes,
Bruce
with
Willis.
Bruce Willis and
Bruce-
Liv Tyler.
It's so gross. That period of, they just invented screen flare.
Is that the movie game?
No, it's not. We could do it.
I don't want to close my
Yes,
eyes.
Aerosmith.
How hot was Liv Tyler
Not,
back then? though,
not
no?
at all.
She was then,
No.
but
She had just come
Never.
out of that video with Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, no, never.
crazy. But
Crazy, exactly.
She has the mouth of her father.
she was so hot back then. But if you look back now, it's just so like, it's so gross. Ben Affleck is
That movie
so
sucked.
hot. But at one point, I can tell when a guy's in his prime because I was there once too. At one point, they have because it's Billy Bob Thornton is like
Yeah.
the NASA guy or whatever.
I hate him.
You hate his role or just him?
No, I hate Billy Bob Thornton. Sorry, go on.
He was up inside Jolie's guts too. Eh? That's what I hate. But they have the head of the Department of Defense or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like, "We have a budget of $230 billion." Like, the defense budget is so much more now. That like the numbers he was throwing around are so like, what? That's not that much.
It's like Dr. Evil. $1 million.
It sounded like that, and it's just crazy how much they've progressed.
Up the ante, yeah.
So I wonder. I thought that was a good argument that secrets couldn't be kept, but this guy made me think, and I thought Simon was going, "This guy's full of shit." But I guess you're flip flopping.
No, I think that secrets can be kept. I do think, though, that now that I'm thinking about it, if this guy really is like actually just a guy who works maybe for the CIA or something,
Fuck is going on with your mic?
I don't know.
I think it's the noise gate. Keep going. I'll try to figure it out.
Then the things he did say on this show, like the things he was kind of more sure about, and I'll use that in air quotations, those are probably the things we should be reading between the lines about. Like, he
You
was,
think it's misinformation?
or those are the things that maybe like have a grain of truth to them. The idea that the grays or whatever creatures people see are, and I think Maddie talked about this a couple of weeks ago, they're like, if these things are spaceships that are coming to do research, then these things would just be an extension of that, right? A tool to go down, and that's why they don't bother making them look anything like us, because they're just robots per se, or androids, or...
But wouldn't you do your best to make them look like us if you have that technology? So that the android like just looks like some dude walking around the woods? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that would make way more sense, unless, again, they want you to see them for some reason.
Or you
which I-
drop one on Earth, make him create PayPal, and then make him a billionaire?
Yeah, and put him on Saturday Night Live.
Just saying.
What else? I like how this didn't have anything to do with aliens, but he admitted that he knew that a nuclear bomb was going to go off in New York City, and he had to walk around with that knowledge and
think he lost
tell
friends?
people on the street.
Do you think he lost friends when this episode came out?
Well, yeah, they're like, I never got a phone call.
Because he quietly moved his family
Yeah.
aside and stuff.
It was that's such a Mike Baker thing to say and do. It was crazy.
And then he says the reason why they didn't tell anyone is because they didn't want to cause panic. But I think everyone should know about the UFOs because it's not going to cause panic.
Well, I don't think it would cause panic in the same way. One seems a lot more immediate than the other, right? Like if there's a bomb about to go off.
Yeah.
Unless that ship, again, Kamar, is hovering over the fucking White House.
Well, if that's happening, your eyes can see it. You don't need someone to tell you
Yeah,
there's aliens here.
I still think people need somebody to tell them at that point.
Would you guys tell me if a nuke was headed for Ottawa? Would you
Well,
just-
Simon's on the mailing list, not me. So
And the Oumuamua guy?
yeah.
There's something that's light years away debating the shape. Like that's silly to me. They know nothing.
They know nothing.
Okay.
Well, no, but do you know what I mean? Like, we could discuss whether that is a ship or like our ideas of what ships look like. Like, it could be a meteor. I don't know. It just
Joe almost said that Mick West was a fucking idiot today. That was close. Or in this episode.
Who's Mick West?
sounds like an idiot.
Mick West is the guy who used to come on Rogan. He's a debunker.
I don't remember him.
And he like debunks the Nimitz thing. It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb, man. His arguments, like, and anyways.
But those guys, that's just like a hustle, right? Because like debunk the debunk, and you just make a career out of. You can make anything look like it's real or fake, just by telling your side of the story and leaving out facts, right? So that guy, he has this thing, just like who's our resident, Shermer. That's his job, to debunk stuff, and you have to really care to look into his work. Agreed?
yeah.
You just, well, this guy says it's not real, it's not real.
So just going back to Bob Lazar for a sec. So Bob Lazar described the way that these machines travel as bending time to get from one place to another, right?
Okay. Your notes are terrible today. They're all over the place. What's going on here?
I skip things as he talks about
Fine.
them. I don't know.
Okay, Bob Lazar, yeah.
No, I'm just saying because Chris Mellon was talking about the acuburial device or some device that like apparently is a way that they would build a machine to travel through time space. He dismissed Bob Lazar. 25 minutes later, he's talking about a machine that may exist already. I just found the whole
You
thing
got him.
very
You got
interesting.
him.
I think I got him, man. I think I got him. Anyways.
If I know anyone on this planet, because the one thing he did use was the off Earth. Have you heard that used before?
No.
Because he was saying off Earth, just like it's a, because that will be an Earth a term if they're on other planets. Maybe not in our lifetime, but that'd be a common phrase. I think, you know what I mean. But he's saying off Earth. But if anyone on this planet, on Earth, could smell a rat, he's behind that bubble right over there.
And then I got to thinking that what if Tom DeLonge, you see, I always assumed that everybody ditched Tom DeLonge. Like they had enough with this guy. These guys decided, okay, we want to do something more serious now or whatever, leaves to the Stars Academy. What if Tom DeLonge found out that he was being had the whole time and got rid of these guys?
He may have the most credibility of anyone in this whole.
But do you
I
hear what
doubt
I'm
it.
saying? Like really flip the script on that one. Just for a sec. Like we don't know, right? Maybe
that'd make him extra hero. Of
So
yours,
I don't
right?
understand though. What kind of con is that? You're trying to convince him. You're trying to convince Tom DeLonge that aliens are real, even though they are real.
No, they're using him to forward their agenda.
correct.
But by convincing him of what though? I don't get it.
By telling him that aliens are real, which they probably are anyways, but letting him in on that inside information. Why did the government
But wouldn't you feel it did a disservice?
Well, no, because they need a way to bring it to the mainstream. They did that through the New York Times article, through To the Stars Academy, with all this like the books he's writing, the movies, the spending money on acquisition.
I gotta say this too. I don't get this. Joe will quote the New York Times when it suits him, but 90% of the time he's like, the New York Times can't be trusted anymore. It's all bullshit.
We've had this discussion. It's hit or miss. But what I would know, we know they lied about that Trump thing I talked about, whether it's Trump or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you don't believe them, then don't believe them. If they come out with an alien article,
Cross
then you
the board.
should, you should just be like, I probably don't believe these fucking
I
idiots.
only read the Post, but it just occurred to me how Mellon was talking about. There's a bunch of reports, but guys threw the books out like, I don't want to be ridiculed, and you wonder, would he be ridiculed? Enter Tom DeLonge, completely ridiculed. Do you know what I mean? Like, the evidence is there that you come out and say this stuff, a lot of people are going to go, you're fucking crazy.
I just, I don't know. I still look at it like, if you're just, let's say you're Tom DeLonge, most people aren't going to believe you anyway. Just because it's easier to live.
Why is a punk rock guitarist the conduit for this?
Yeah,
That's
I mean, even
why
if
they needed these guys.
no,
for
but
the
even if
credibility.
even if you're a scientist, like I just don't like. You're gonna spend your whole life yelling into a microphone that aliens are real, like just so that one day when you're dead, you can be like, "Told you so." Like it just seems, I don't know. No one's listening, so
no one is listening. That's
not only is no one listening, like if they do know, then they're keeping it secret, and you're not a part of it. So I don't know.
What do you mean no one's listening, though? Sorry, I don't understand that.
I think what Matt's saying, if I can sound like Matt talking for me, is there isn't a groundswell of interest, despite, I mean, this is Joe, but there's been the reports, the news. And
Right. I mean, To the Stars, I think, is geared for a young audience, right? So I don't know how or if that message is getting out to the kids.
I went on
But
Tom
maybe it
DeLonge's
is.
Facebook page today, just to try to do research, and there's To the Stars merch.
Yeah, tons.
And that sort of bothered me.
Well, because he said, Kamar, that his approach was like two-pronged. On one side, they were going to do serious research where they were buying these medals. They were working with these guys, these military guys, this guy, Hal Puthoff, like... And on the other side, he was writing his books, he was making his movies, he was selling his merch. It was all a two-pronged attack to get the information out to the people. I'm just telling you what their
and
thing
build
is.
a brand, or
Yes.
or was that selling cocaine to fund the Contras? Do you know what I mean? Like they were not getting money from the government, so that's why Tuesday Stars had to sell shirts, or is it just like a branding thing?
I don't know if they get a lot of money from the government or they need to do this to make money. I assume more this is probably like if you're trying to convince people of something, you tackle the ones on this side who know a lot, so you got to give them something like
Here's the weird thing.
mysterious metals. Sorry, just one sec, Maddie.
Sure.
Or on the other side, Kamar, you're trying to influence the kids the same way you would if you were a CIA agent writing songs to take down a wall.
You're just trying to build a brand. Suddenly, then one day it is.
They've been showing it in movies for the past 40 years on Disney so that you become acclimated to it so that when they do come and take you on a magic carpet ride, you don't fucking blow your mind. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Passes my smell test.
So I have one. I'm going to go off what Kamar's saying, and I don't know if this point's great or not, but I'm going to bring it up. The merch bothers me. I'm almost with Kamar because I think of someone like Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling made, I think...
That man's a legend.
I think he made like $130 million playing baseball in his day. Comes out of baseball, and he decides, I'm going to start a video game company. And he's so determined to start a video game company that he loses all $130 million. Now, you can say, what a fucking retard. Like, it takes a real moron to lose $130 million. Like,
Point of privilege.
Whatever. Or you can sit there and say, wow, he really cared so much, or he felt so strongly about it that he was willing to dump everything into it. So my point is, like, if Tom DeLonge really believed deep down that aliens were real, he has all this fucking, he's got tons of fucking cash, tons of cash. He doesn't need to sell merch. Like, it seems like I don't know.
The merch seems weird. Simon, though, gave me an explanation
I'm not necessarily a Tom DeLonge fan.
I know.
I'm just laying out what I think is going on. I think the merch, again, doesn't have anything to do with cash. You're absolutely right. I think he has his own money, first of all. But if I'm right about this whole thing, his entire operation is being funded by the government anyways. Again, Kamar, to your point before, this is how you change minds, by you walking down the street and seeing people wearing the t-shirt, and then it just becomes normal. Oh yeah, To the Stars Academy, that's just a place where they teach you about space because we have aliens.
But with the case of Tom DeLonge,
That is a stretch at best, but okay.
There are a couple of steps in between, Matt, but in the end, that's what it is. It's like it's acclimating people.
Okay, well,
before
Simon,
the day happens.
Do you have one more note there? Because we got to move on.
I just wanted to finish my point. But our theory is that Tom DeLonge was writing songs about aliens, and they reached out to him. Not they were writing songs for Tom DeLonge. Like you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, I never even took it back that far, Kamar. But I'm going to ponder that for a second. You're saying that Tom DeLonge is actually the fucking Scorpions.
Wow.
So hold on, you're saying that the CIA wrote "Say it ain't so."
No.
Not go.
No, he started his own side project.
Yeah,
was singing about aliens.
Yeah, the other one there.
I just stopped.
Was it popular?
Not like Blink-182, but it was popular.
It got enough.
Yeah. What was it called, Kamar? I'll find it. Don't worry about it. Anyways,
all I'm saying is he was singing songs about aliens and starships.
I'm just so confused though, Simon. Is your argument that the CIA wants Tom DeLonge to let people know about aliens? Is this your argument?
Correct.
And
the same way that they used Matt.
Yeah.
The exact same way that Werner von Braun and the boys used Walt Disney to acclimate people into space travel. They made a movie, a Disney movie, about what it would be like to go to space 5 years before, apparently, they went to space. This is what they do. This is the plan they've been using from the fucking beginning, and you're just seeing it in an exact other way. I've almost convinced myself of this.
What do you mean you haven't convinced yourself yet?
No, I'm willing to leave some room on this whole fucking.
You'll change your mind on your drive home. What if the CIA made Jefferson Airplane change their name to Starship?
To Jefferson Starship?
No, they were Jefferson Airplane and then became Starship.
Oh, I see.
Just in this idea of branding, getting the idea out there, because that's what we're talking about basically.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a ton of movies coming out right now about end days. It just seems to be a constant theme, like the apocalypse or whatever.
Okay, but I could argue there was a time where zombies were really hot. Does that mean that they knew something about zombies that we didn't? You know what I mean? I think it's just things come and go, and you could go back, and there was a time in the early 2000s when the end of days was also a big theme.
The perfect example would be back in the day. It was Armageddon, Deep Impact.
What do you guys think Tom DeLonge is worth? Just out of curiosity.
$50 million.
I was going to say 41.
80.
Boom. He doesn't need no t-shirts to sell.
There you go, yeah. 80 million. Fuck.
Crazy, eh?
Why didn't I pick up a guitar when I was young? Jesus.
And not learn how to sing.
Yeah.
So, do you think there should be a Department of UFO, Simon?
Hold on, Simon has one more point to make, and then we gotta.
No, it's sorry, it's all good. It's all good. Do I think there should be a Department of UFOs? I don't know. There will be very shortly. They already have UTIP or ATIP or whatever the fuck it's called, and they're prepared. Mark my words here, man. They are going to have a huge budget towards this very shortly. This is going to be a new way for them to funnel useless money into something.
I'm wondering where all the money for Star Wars went.
Into Reagan's back pocket, probably.
There you go.
Let me just see if there was anything else of interest, and then we can be done with this.
Steven Spielberg knows something. If someone knows something.
Yeah, I agree. That would be another perfect guy for a young CIA agent to use to push the message forward. And when you look at Close Encounters of the Third Kind, what's that movie called?
That's what it's called?
That one is so close to real life that would be the perfect movie to. And I wonder, Kamar, there was so much going, and Matt, there was so much going on back then. I wonder if they were about to break something wide open and then decided against it. Like maybe a war happened instead. But they were really like E.T. That, like, I know the other one was before that. It was the 70s. And then E.T. And all these movies preparing you. And then it never happened. But it's interesting to think about. Anyways, let me just leave you with this. It's really think about that whole Tom DeLonge angle, because I think it's really interesting.
Oh, I don't care, but I'll give
That's
it.
what that's you're leaving with?
Yeah, that is what after all of this, because this guy, right from the beginning of this, right when he wouldn't disclose that he worked with Tom DeLonge, I was like, holy shit, man, there is something going on here. And if Joe knows and he's complicit in all of this, that's terrible. And if he's not complicit in it and he's just letting people off, Scientologists, CIA agents, that's a huge problem too, man.
No, we have to absolve Joe. Joe is just, without Joe, we don't exist. This has happened too many times. We just have accepted it as tax, it's part of the game. It's just brutal. We're never going to get to the bottom of it. But what I want to ask you was just something you got to deal with.
Oh no, I understand.
Well,
I'm just not happy about it.
Yeah. Well, no one's happy about taxes either. Were you looking forward to this before you heard it and then disappointed after?
I was very much looking forward to hearing this, because I thought that if nothing else, we would get some closure or something on this to the stars thing. Like, I haven't heard anybody talking about it. That's why I'm now wondering, okay, if Tom DeLonge got rid of these guys, but he has to like keep his mouth shut because he wants his thing to still succeed, even though he realizes now that he's been had. Or maybe if he like tries to blow it all up, he'll get murdered. I don't know. I'd keep a close eye on what's going on out there, folks.
If he's just trying to keep his little thing going, I think he's a pussy. He should just be punk rock and blow it up.
Maybe he doesn't want to die. Maybe he's like Bob Lazar scared. I don't know. Maybe something's gonna happen, man.
In closing, I'll say this guy's a heavy breather.
Joe had to tell him a million times to get closer to the mic.
And then he'd breathe into it too heavy.
Awesome. Do you want to rate it, Kamar?
Well, I'm really confused. Of course, I will rate it. They got right off the bear thing, but then everything I thought was interesting. I imagine Simon eating this up like a perfect bowl of porridge. I give it a 3 now. After Simon just breaking the thing open.
Well, it was always getting a 3 from me. Simon?
I'm going to have to give this one a, I don't even know. I gave him a 0 because he wouldn't talk about the Scientologist. And just by the way, it was 22:41 before he mentions to the stars for the first time.
22:41.
Like that's what's left. I'm pretty sure that was the time.
Is there anyone left, Simon, to be on the show now? Because this was like the last piece.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to have people on, I guess.
No, but do you know of anyone out there that you'd like to?
I think the people that Joe needs to have on are, the guys who do the debrief. I think those would be really interesting people to have on. That's, what's his fucking name? Anyways, they leaked a bunch of those Navy photos. I can't remember. It's 3 guys. I can't remember their name right now. But those would be all 3 of those dudes I'd like to see on there. And he has to have somebody from Skinwalker Ranch. Like, Joe has to be illuminated on what the fuck is going on there.
Wasn't the billionaire the guy?
That was Bob Bigelow. Yeah, but he never talked about Skinwalker Ranch. There's a new guy who owns it now who's like willing to talk about it. Joe should have him on and be open-minded, because anytime this thing turns, anytime the phenomenon or whatever you want to call it turns to anything a little woo-hoo, Joe fucking closes his mind like something that closes really hard.
Bear trap. So what do you rate it?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. This guy is fucking...
No, it's my fault. It's my fault. I asked him a question.
I'm going to have to rate it a 3.
Okay.
Agree.
We have an agreement.
Jesus Christ. All that to get to the agreement.
All that
It
paid
was
for by the
worth it,
Patreon.
wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it really was not. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Thank you to the sponsors.
Thanks, sponsors.
Everything's running.
Feels that way, yeah.
The button is red.
So yeah, just before we get to Matt's really special time,
No, it's Sasquatch first.
Oh, Simon's other special time. Maybe I didn't make myself clear enough because we were talking after the fact. But yeah, if Joe is purposely leaving things out of conversations, that's problematic for me, because then he's creating a narrative that he wants us to follow instead of putting all the information out on the table and letting us as discerning listeners decide what's important and what's not. So he's done that twice in 1 week now. Like that, no, that's not right. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying this occurs all the time. That's all. And I think it hits closer to home for you when it's a subject you're so close to.
Well, again, anyways, yeah, there happened again, Matt. So yeah, let's.
I was trying to think what the egregious one was that happened a couple weeks ago. We just all were like, I can't believe he didn't ask about that.
Oh yeah, what was that?
But I can't remember because I'm
Again, in Joe's defense, I can't tell you how many times I listen to our episode and I'm like, fuck, I forgot to bring this up. And it was something in my head that was like, I could not have missed it. It happens, you know.
Sure, but he didn't forget to mention Scientology.
Oh no, we are sure that there are, contrary to what Joe says, there are a pre-show meeting.
There has to be.
That's correct.
There's got to be some things on.
And Joe goes out of his way to say that never happens, and we can clearly see that
just sit down here
happens.
and just have a talk.
Hey.
Thank you, sponsors. Anyways, yeah. So I think you made that abundant and clear.
Okay, no problem. Then I'll let it go.
But I don't know the problematic, like the solution to the problem. There's nothing we can do on our end except continue to point out and be skeptical. But
Keep your eyes open, folks.
thanks. Have a good night. 1646.
I don't know this guy's name. Squatchin?
David Holthouse.
That was it. Sorry.
David Holthouse.
My apologies, David.
So both of you have seen this documentary, or neither of you have, or
No, I haven't.
The
seen
latter. That's the second one, right?
neither of you have?
I've not seen. I never heard of it. I don't have Hulu. I wouldn't know how to watch it.
It's on Crave.
It is on Crave.
It is on Crave.
I'll be watching it tonight.
Yeah. Or it's on one of them, either Amazon, Crave, or Netflix, because those are.
So you have seen it?
I have seen it. Yes.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Well, this isn't even working anymore. It was a good documentary, but I was expecting something totally different, so I was a little let down.
Oh, because as I thought,
You
this guy was
expected
gonna
it was a
have
Sasquatch.
I thought we were going to be
Bigfoot
talking
talk.
about Sasquatch,
But it ended
more
up
than
kind of like Murder Mountain.
It was like Murder Mountain.
I figured it
correct,
was, yeah.
And though I won't ruin it for either of you because I'm hoping that you're going to watch it. But the way the Sasquatch ties in is interesting in the end as well. But I also believe that there are Sasquatch up there, so I'm really torn on the whole thing.
I had a feeling this was going to be tough for you.
Well, you were super bummed because people were using Sasquatch to scare the trimmigrants into keeping to their own space.
Or, Kamar, conversely, Sasquatch scared people, and they then use that story to scare the trimmigrants.
I wonder which one I believe. It is even far-fetched for them. Like, just shoot some guns in the night, you know. But you know what I mean? Like,
You know what we're not going to do on this episode, guys?
What?
I'm not going to sit here and try and convince you Sasquatch or Bigfoot is real
You don't-
because
you
I
don't-
am
shouldn't.
fucking sick of doing
you don't have to
that.
convince the willing, man. I
what I'm
don't believe he doesn't exist.
What I'm going to do, and I would, you know what? I think you both should do this. It's a half-hour recording of all different sounds that have been recorded by this one person in the woods. I'm not saying it's Bigfoot, okay? But some of these noises, you just have to listen to them.
And I'm saying
Okay.
you emphatically no.
Yeah, no, you are going to.
I am
No
not.
way.
I am not.
Yeah,
I
I'm
am
not listening to a half hour
I'm
of
not.
animal sounds in the woods.
I believe Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever you want exists. There's enough cultures that have their own version. I don't have to listen to that.
First of all, sometimes I have to watch the fucking bullshit you send me. So you're going to listen to this. And Matt, same with you.
Negative.
You're going to listen
I
to
never
this.
send you bullshit. Everything I send you gets a crying face emoji.
I sent you one thing and it was completely related because Sasquatch was in the fucking title.
Okay.
That's all.
You're both going to listen to this.
What
'cause
about those street fights? Essentially, you didn't like that?
It's worth listening.
Where they fight on
You're saying
concrete?
street
have,
fights?
Have you seen King of the Streets?
No, I don't want to watch that shit.
Fucking brutal.
Have you guys ever seen the Sasquatch video where it's done from a distance, but you can see like it's these loggers and they're filming this thing, picking up this giant tree and throwing it?
No,
You've never seen that?
no.
Oh, remind me to show that to
Sounds
you
legit.
at the break.
So yeah, I assume the Sasquatch killer documentary is a documentary or it is a doc, right?
Yeah.
This takes place 3 hours south of Humboldt County, where Murder Mountain was.
Yeah, this is right in the mix of things up
But
there.
it's I thought it was like, oh yeah, this Humboldt County. It's a different area where the exact and so there can't be those only two areas, right?
The, green,
no,
the
it's the
green
whole-
triangle, that whole thing up there is all perfect growing place.
And imagine what it is in our own country.
Oh yeah, BC's incredible.
Like this.
But this guy said Alaska was the best place.
Well, because they have the 24 hours of daylight. So
For outdoor, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I wouldn't know, but he would. But what it made me think is, you know how people always will say, whatever, cocaine's bad for you or unhealthy, but you know that there's blood on your hands if you do cocaine. Like, I think weed
there's
is
definitely
almost
blood in your nose.
Well, there's blood on your hands. I don't think there's any product. There's very few products
Everything
you
in the
use that
world.
doesn't have blood on your hands.
no, but
Everything you use in the world has some.
Yeah, I get
you
what you're
know
saying,
that
yeah.
by the fucking mice getting killed by the machines that pull the fucking vegetarian food.
I guess I'm just being Captain Obvious, but I always in my head like weed's a bit better.
Let's keep in
morally.
mind, for the last 2 years in our country, if you've been buying it legally,
If you've been buying it legally.
well, I'm just saying.
But if you don't, then I mean, if you have a moral or you are wondering where it's coming from, although the legal weed, according to this guy, is causing the violence, and you know what I mean? Like we just can't win until we just make everything just.
Dude, if you've had
Well, it's
Canadian
because-
maple syrup, there's blood on your hands.
Well, it's because in the States, though, Kamar, it's like legal in this state, but then not legal in the state next to it. Like, it's senseless, you know?
Yeah, if they just
Just stop the war on drugs. Fucking drugs won.
That's what I just said. Yeah,
Drugs won that war.
Drugs won.
Sorry, CIA. You're out of fucking luck on this one. And
yeah, but we just sound like
Enough.
a broken record at this point. Like we've been making this point for 130 episodes.
well,
now.
it's funny that if like, let's say it was roles reversed.
Yeah.
If the states had legalized weed and we didn't, we would be so close to follow suit. Like, because that's how Canada is. But with us, it's like we'll have weed legalized for 20 years before they ever figure it out.
No,
Or so we
actually,
thought.
I believe in the next 5 years they'll legalize it federally.
We'll see. It'll become a political issue. We'll see.
Well, they got to get rid of the lobbyists first, I suppose.
Or just get better lobbyists for the weed side.
Did you guys know that
Just hire me as the weed czar. I'll take care of it. I've said that all along.
the eagle is the seagull's bitch?
That was a sick rhyme you just dropped. Ill bar, Kamar.
What did I say?
The seagull is the eagle's bitch.
I'm just not sure if I believe that. Do you know that for a fact, Kamar?
No, this guy said.
Okay, I'm gonna
seagulls
find.
fuck
I'm
up
gonna
eagles.
find out what happens to eagles. and
I know.
seagulls.
He was saying seagulls. He's from Alaska.
I feel like it's because of the
This is
pack,
eagles
though,
all the
right?
time.
Wouldn't that be it?
There's more seagulls.
Yeah. Although there's packs of fucking eagles up there.
But what I think the point is like the way the eagle has been presented.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we have this thing in our head of what something is. I've never seen a bald eagle, but if I saw one, I'd be like, well, that's majestic. I mean, you see hawks and stuff like that. But then maybe seagulls are cooler because it's so common to you know what I mean? Like, have you ever heard someone from abroad who's never seen a squirrel?
Yeah.
And they're
Or
like-
they only have gray squirrels.
They're just amazed by it. Like, yeah, whatever. I just thought that was interesting. Like, the eagle is presented as this majestic thing, but
Well, I just feel like if you have a fucking seagull on your flag, you're going to get shat on by every other country.
well, our national animal's the beaver. Hey yo,
I don't believe that, Kamar. Just by the way, it says here that bald eagles hunt seagulls. And
Listen, I've seen an eagle pull like a goat off a mountain, so I can't see how it would let a little bird.
dude, some of those eagles are so fucking huge. It's crazy. Like
Yeah, they're
that
nuts.
golden eagle in, or the harpy eagle in the fucking jungle that takes the monkeys out of trees there.
I think it was just a ball-headed eagle, but this is what he said.
Yeah, I get it. I don't
should
don't
have done the
not like
research.
this guy. I just found that point to be like, that was like anecdotal. He saw once that a seagull beat up an
One
eagle,
brazen
and-
seagull
yeah.
who just didn't give two shits.
It's that seagull.
The Charles Bronson of seagulls.
down, or from the explorers or whatever.
I guess he sounded so cool and looked so badass that I took his word for it.
Fair enough.
It's a weird story with this. Or sorry, go ahead, Kumar. I'm gonna trample all over your points.
Go on.
No, go. Just keep going. I'm sure you'll get to it.
Well, I was getting to the point where, because they're talking around the documentary, you know what I mean, as in not to plot spoil whatever they're going to do. And then he goes, "It's interesting that you brought up how you were raped as a child. Was that difficult to talk about?" And the guy's like, "Well, no, I've put it out there, so this isn't crazy." And then Joe tries to share his story.
I know. I thought that was. I was like, this is in such bad taste.
Was that
I
a little
this is-
gauche?
I was like, this is insane.
Hey, you know how you got raped? I almost got raped.
Twice, dude. Listen to my stories. I know. I was like, this is
Did
terrible.
Joe watch this documentary?
Yes, yeah,
He
he said
did, okay.
he had just watched it.
And
Which
you-
also pissed me off.
And you two are planning to? Like, we shouldn't just talk about it?
You could go ahead. I don't care. I'll forget by the time I get home. But
Because it just seems weird for us to talk around it too. You
I
know
haven't
what
watched
mean?
it, so-
like I could tell. Are you going to?
Maybe. I don't know. What's it on?
It's on Crave.
Oh, then I'll watch it. Yeah.
I think it's on Crave.
whoa. Those are two different
It
statements.
might be
there.
on Amazon as well.
Is it on something I have?
I don't know. Do you have Crave and Amazon?
Yes.
It's definitely on one of those two.
Then we're good. I probably will watch it. Yeah.
Okay, well then this is weird.
I zoned out the second he said Hulu. I was like, well, I don't have that, so I can't watch it.
But this guy also was part of Operation Odessa.
yeah.
Tiller Russell, he's like,
And it was weird
Right-hand man.
how he just like, because Joe didn't want to give him any props for it. And then he like forced the story in there, you know what I mean? And then I was there with them sitting
Yeah.
with what's his name, and this happened. It was a crazy story.
Oh, it's nuts.
Yeah.
The Chechen rebels.
they are the worst, apparently. Like, I think the Russians are scared of the Chechens.
I wouldn't fuck with a Chechen ever. Have you not seen, is it Dave? Not Dave. That's the rapper one. What's the one with, who's the guy from SNL? Bill Hader. Not Bill Hader.
John Hader.
The guy from SNL, really good at fucking impressions. He's on South Park. He has a show on HBO.
Bill
He's a
Hader.
hitman.
Bill Hader, that's the one.
Yeah, Bill Hader.
Bill Hader. Okay. What's his show on HBO where he's a hitman?
Oh, whatever it is. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Isn't the guy Chechen
it's
in the
his,
hat?
it's his name.
Yeah, Dave. That's why I said Dave, but it's not Dave. I know. That's the other show with Little Dicky.
Bill?
It's
No.
not Bill because that's his name.
I don't know, man.
Forget it.
That was hilarious.
He's afraid of Chechens?
No, I think
He's a
the
hitman.
bald dude that's like his cohort in the show is a Chechen.
I don't-
Anyway,
I don't
it's a
like
lo-
that show.
There's a long way to get
I
there.
don't like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with a Chechen.
Anyways,
But he was talking about because of his traumatic experience, that's what draws him. Because he was doing crazy research for this documentary stuff.
so
All
what,
the- sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Just so I don't forget. What I was trying to get to, Kumar, was whether Joe watched, is because this guy in this documentary, there's a whole part where he comes out about him getting raped as a child. Like, it's in the doc.
Yeah.
He makes it part of the doc. I'm just saying. It's
Well,
not-
Joe
He
said
said that in this.
Okay, it
podcast
wasn't
as
out
well.
of left field. It's not like Joe knew that going in and just brought it up.
Well, no, it was interesting why Joe wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm with you there. Joe loves telling that story about the fucking fisherman.
There's another guy across the fucking lake with binoculars this time.
dude, I could, yeah.
Do you ever think back though, not that anything happened to either of you, but maybe it did, I don't know. But like think back to situations where at the time you thought totally innocuous, but now you're like, oh shit, I was in like a weird situation there and I didn't even realize it.
Not like Joe's.
Yes, there is. But if you told me you got raped as a child, I wouldn't tell you about how I almost could have been raped.
Come on, I'm with you.
That's all I'm saying.
I am with you, but let's like keep it moving.
I mean, and it'd be even weirder if he came out and said, actually, I was molested.
But you have had
hiding it.
something like that?
I mean, hold on. Why are we not asking? Why was Joe as a kid alone in a boat with some old man?
Oh,
He
no.
wasn't in the boat; it was on the shore. And
It's the
Joe
70s.
told you,
It's the 70s.
Joe told you he
70s.
was a latchkey kid. His parents were hippies, and he would just go out for the day fishing by the river.
Dude, I was a latchkey kid too. I wouldn't have been in a boat with some fucking.
There was a
Joe
guy,
was like Huck Finn, pretty much, or Tom Sawyer.
There was a guy who gave me thousands of comics for free. I was like 8 or 9 or 10. And I don't even
For
think
free in air quotes, okay?
for free. No, it's just I was there was a place called Capital City Comic and Cards.
Yeah, I went there every day of my life.
I went there every day of my life, and I was annoying, and I just sat at the baseball counter. I was like, one summer, me and my dad built a veranda with no tools, you know what I mean? Played the video games, fucking whatever. Like just such a nerd. I'd buy a comic, in the back. I'd buy a comic for like $2.50 and bring it back and sell it back to them for 75 cents and be like, what the hell's going on? I thought my money's gonna. But one day, this guy was like, you like comics? So I got a bunch of comics in my house, and he had a room full of comics. And we drove over there and just filled up our car, and nothing happened.
Your car?
So he really just wanted to
my
give you
car.
free comics.
Like your parents' car?
I think my mom might have driven or.
Well, that's not weird. Your parents drove.
I was just gonna say, I love that
Wasn't
every
gonna rape
now
you
every
and-
nice thing that happened to you as a kid is a potential rape.
That guy
like
was
this-
just a
this-
super nice guy who gave Kamar a lot of comic
Let's
books.
hope. I mean, I never did the research. Maybe he's.
Well, again, if your parents drove you, I think they vetted him.
But it was all on the up and up. I was never felt in danger.
Yeah.
But who knows his intentions or whatever.
Okay, so Kamar's answer is no.
Dude,
My-
I can remember, forget the rape now for a second. I can remember going to the comic book store every day.
Forget the rape now.
As a kid. Like, what a great fucking entity that was.
Yeah, it's
we were
good.
just, it was amazing.
Did you
what an
collect
amazing
cards?
place.
I
Cards,
collected
comics.
tons of cards.
Yeah, they had everything. The video games at one point.
I remember when 7-Eleven had that was the best when 7-Eleven had like pinball and video games at it.
Well,
They
no,
never had
NBA
pinball,
Jam
did
was
they?
heavy.
Oh, they did.
They had
Yeah,
pinball?
the newer ones.
Dude, they had the
newer ones.
Flintstones
Yeah,
pinball.
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
yeah, I
fucking
remember.
shit. NBA Jam was the shit. Contra was fucking incredible. What was the other good one they had?
I spent hours and hours at First Avenue store there, like right across from First Avenue School,
Yeah, they had some good games.
playing Bubble Bobble. We would get to like level fucking 100 and whatever. Dude,
It was all
like
downhill
hours.
when you were at.
How old are we? Remember arcades?
I went to Glashen, and they had an arcade in the bowling alley across the street.
Have I?
Oh, that's right. They did.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that
that'd be
was-
You would
sick
miss-
at lunch.
you
Yeah,
start to
for
play,
sure.
Then you leave. I got to back to class, and also fuck class.
Double
We're
Dragon.
playing
I
Bubble
played
Bobble.
there so much. We'd go bowling
Yeah.
and then play Double Dragon.
So sad yet so social. So he was raped as a child, but he went to kill his molester.
yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then the
Crazy.
talking about it too on air, I was like, "Fuck this guy." I mean, I guess he'd already been through
Yeah,
it, so
yeah,
he was like,
he talked
"There was,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah." That's what I'm saying.
But this guy, dude, like think about him. He goes into the whole rave scene. I'm sure Kamar's going to get there, but then he becomes a raver. Like
No.
he's
He was a
weird-
raver. He was a raver.
No, Kamar.
Yeah.
Dude, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
He said he did not go to the rave scene. He had no idea he was a journalist when this was going on. He was a raver
Mm-hmm.
and a drug dealer.
He said that. Yeah, he was like, "I never thought of myself as a drug dealer, but I mean, I was buying massive
I was a
quantity of
drug dealer.
ecstasy and distributing it."
But he went into the rave scene in the first place to write a story. And then
No.
found out that he loved it. Go back and listen to this
No,
fucking
I believe
episode.
you're wrong. I believe you're wrong.
I
as
am
well,
right.
Simon.
Please, listeners, if there's anybody out there,
Write it
get
and
in touch
confirm.
and fucking tell these two jabronis that they are incorrect.
I'm pretty
but I'm not
sure-
going to waste another breath.
He was just rocking out in Arizona and got in the rave scene.
Oh,
fucking
dude, you are
young hot chicks
so mistaken.
and like in dealing MDMA. But it sounded like he was he was dealing with South Korea.
Dude, he played chess with Sammy the Bull. I knew Sammy the Bull was coming too
that
because
is
I had
a
read that. I had
crazy
read that
fucking
whole
story.
story like a decade earlier about the
Sammy
devil.
Bull's son.
Yeah, the devil dogs. That's what they called themselves. And they nearly. I think they did kill people, but they fucking. The fact that he's out is fucked.
I think that's the highlight of this podcast.
Is the Sammy the Bull part?
Well, I think he said, "I've never told anyone this part," but Sammy Bull reached out to his kid. Was like, "Stop beating them up and take it over."
yeah.
Well, he also said, like, all of this happened. We got robbed, all of this shit, and they were still going to the raves, and we hadn't figured it out yet. Like,
That's what makes me
what
think
kind of an investigative journalist was he?
because he wasn't an
No, because at that
investigative
point,
journalist at the time.
because at that point, Kamar, he had gotten too far in, like the guy in Blow. You know, like you start doing one thing, and the next thing you know,
No, I think you just proved me and Matt right. But
Dude, I knew-
listeners confirm.
I knew a guy in Ottawa that was selling ecstasy at the wrong rave, and these fucking bikers put a garbage can over him and beat the garbage can with baseball bats. He was in a coma forever.
my
This guy had
God.
to learn how to walk again. Like it fucked this guy
Did he
up.
get the option though?
What do you mean?
Well, this guy said in this one, they drove his friend up to the hills and said,
No,
They showed
they
him a
just
hole.
they were just like wrong place, pal. That was it.
Way back
didn't
in
give a shot.
No.
way
no
back
shot.
in the day when we used to get weed in high school, the guy we used to get it from had this story that he woke up one night and there was a biker on top of him, like in his room with a shotgun to his head. And the guy just said to him, look, I have a guy in your roommate's room. I have a guy in this guy. Like, stop what you're doing.
That happened to someone we
immediately,
know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so brutal, man.
Oh, I don't know if you know him. This is a different
You know
story.
that I know whatever. I'm just being empathetic and saying, fuck.
Oh, that's a different story.
I mean, I know
but,
multiple people that have been.
But that's like fucking scary. But that's the same basic idea.
Yeah, listen, I know a lot of people that have
cartel
been
tactics.
fucking tied up, that have been beaten for drugs, that have all sorts of crazy shit.
I had the craziest dream last night where I had bought all this Bitcoin. And in my dream, the way Bitcoin was delivered to you when you bought in the quantity that I bought was it came in like a safe. Like it looked like a safe, but it had all these like circuits running through it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had brought it to my brother had this like safe house and I
Okay.
had brought it there. But the whole time I was like, it's not safe enough. And then I got back to the place. I'd gone out to do something and there was like a door with, you know how the doors have like panels on them almost, but it's just for decoration. You know what
Okay.
I'm talking about?
Sure.
And it's like 4 panels usually or 6 panels. Mm-hmm. Anyways, one of those panels was missing. And I was like, oh, they got in there and took my fucking magic cube.
They're the worst, eh? Crypto dreams.
And then I woke up.
Crypto dream.
Yeah, it's been fucking with me.
Well, the best is you can tell Simon doesn't know anything about crypto or how it works.
Well, it was also a dream.
No,
Yeah, I
but
know,
you
yeah.
still, it is an actual fact that you could go to bed if you've bought some coin or something,
And wake up broke.
or rich. Not rich, but
Well-
it depends how much you invested. But
And if dreams are just you living in a different one of your lives, then somewhere I had like a shit ton of Bitcoin that got stolen.
well, I think it's safe to say with Ethereum or Bitcoin, you're never going to wake up broke. Like it's not. It's too big to fail at this point. I feel.
Well, did you
Anything's
see
possible.
that? I'm sure I'm stampling all over Kamar something here, but did you see that Doge dropped significantly with him on Saturday Night Live?
Well, when he said, "Yeah," it's
Well, he
a
also
hustle.
also
no, 'cause
lied about what he said
He
on
was
Saturday Night
supposed
Live.
to go on there apparently and explain it,
Yeah, and he lied.
and that was going to propel it up to $1.
Yeah, but again,
And
he
ins-
lied.
Did
What he
he,
said
or-
was a lie.
that it's a hustle.
No, what he said was he was
What did he say?
he said Doge has a maximum supply of 130 billion coins, and that's a patent.
Right, you
patently
can
wrong.
make as
That-
much
that
There
as
was
is
you
the-
want.
unlimited amount of Doge. 10,000 a second or a minute get fucking minted.
He owns like 51% of all the coins out there.
No.
Well, I think he does.
But he did on Saturday Night Live said it's a hustle.
Simon, there's
It's basically a scam.
there's one person that owns 21%
Yeah,
of all
sorry, it's
Doge,
21.
and they believe it's Robinhood.
Okay, fair enough, Matt. It may be Robinhood, or I may be correct, and it's Elon, which by extension just means that the government owns it. And this is the way that the government is getting to make a coin that everybody's going to have to use.
No.
Okay, mark my words.
We'll revisit this in the post.
Yes, yes, yes.
At one point, the guy's like, and you know, there's a lot of these reporters that love Adderall.
Yeah.
And he goes, this guy.
Yeah, well, because he's still a rave dude at heart.
Well, I just think it's like he said. Interesting thing is that a story's never done. It's just a deadline. You know what I mean? Like whatever you submit, someone picks it up and runs. And I think like all reporters need
Some need
the drugs.
Oh,
to hit the deadline, like to cram and sort of thing.
great.
I don't like all these documentaries are left open ended, right?
Not this one.
Oh, find out everything.
Yeah, you get an
I feel like
answer.
Murder Mountain we got an answer, didn't we?
No, we never find out. who
Well, they
killed who.
had a pretty good idea who
Yeah.
it was.
I get it.
It's not like Winds of
Okay, well,
Change where they come right out and say
I don't think
the
they
CIA
can.
wrote.
I don't think they can come out and say it because
I think
they
legally,
can't. Yeah, but-
there has to be some ambiguity. Maybe
Kinda-
you're wrong. Maybe you're right, Kamar. So
You're
maybe
saying,
I'm wrong.
You're saying to prevent themselves from being sued?
Kind
believe
of
so,
like
yeah.
the Q documentary. It's the guy's opinion on what.
Yeah,
you
the
know what I mean?
ambiguity is
Yeah.
what leaves it open for
I find with the
interpretation.
Q though documentary was the most that someone came out and said this is what it is. Like, yeah, I could be wrong, but this I'm pretty sure.
Did you
this is what
guys
it is.
watch that Son of Sam documentary?
Sons of Sam?
Yeah. Did you watch that?
Well, that is heavy.
It gets fucking nuts there at the
We'll
end.
bring that up
man.
at the
okay,
the post show.
fine.
So that it was just funny when he's like, you know, these guys who do all this Adderall. I was like, yeah, I'm the guy. Like this guy was super cool. Right hand man, Taylor Russell. He was an undercover Nazi.
Yeah, that was super.
Yeah, that was
weird.
cool. I mean, everything, it seemed like because of his awful fucking shit that happened to him as a kid, it allowed him to put himself in these fucking wildly like.
Or propelled him towards.
Yeah, well, it seemed like it did propel him
I have
towards it.
nothing
Yeah.
to lose. Like,
And he was about to say like that he liked being in the Nazis at one point. And
Well, he got a tattoo.
and then caught himself. Like he got caught up in the camaraderie of the whole thing, you know, and you disassociate yourself from the horrible fucking things these people are doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is also.
or
he
maybe
was-
he did.
Or maybe he did. yeah.
He's still
We
going to
know-
meetings.
We know
yeah.
this thing isn't honest. I thought it was scary though. How was you saying how there were your rah skinheads like fuck them up, but there were actually people like no, we have to run like
Get into government.
more organized.
It's the same with the Q people, Kamar. There were the parts of them that were like, yeah, we just got to get out there and wreck shit up. And then the other ones were like, no, we want these people to run for office.
I'm sure all these people were Q people as well.
No, but that's how every like kind of cult works. You know what I mean? You have the people who seem like zealots, and then you have the people who are undercoverly like zealots, but who are integrating themselves into the real world.
But let's say like
That's how Scientology works for sure.
Q wants to get out of the Kabbalah and child molesters in Hollywood or government, and white supremacists want to get rid of all races. It's just like their intentions. The white supremacists are a little more malicious, I'd say.
Death camps, yeah. I'd say their agenda sucks a little bit more.
That was it. Like, and the scary thing is, are you guys gonna like? I guess we don't come across races. There used to be a lot of skins in Ottawa when I was a kid.
What are you saying? A lot of what?
Skins?
Skinheads.
Skins.
Skinheads.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it was a thing. Like I don't never see them ever. I'm sure I'm not. There's somewhere out there, but.
But were they skinheads in the sense that they were like actual like?
There was both.
There were two things. There were the sharps, which they looked like skinheads, but they were skinheads against racial prejudice.
So they
And
were
then-
heroes.
And then there were the skinheads. And they were both when we were kids.
Because I remember a lot of just
Ottawa.
like punks. Like I remember that was a big movement when
Punk
I was
is
young.
different.
Like a mohawk or whatever.
Yeah, but
these
that's-
guys bomber jacket.
Yeah, I know
tight
Doc
jeans,
Martens.
Doc Martens.
Yeah.
And jeans so tight, like with safety pins sometimes.
And I never thought, because he was saying if you wear gold laces, you
That was
you killed a
so
cop or
weird,
whatever. And I want to find skinheads and I up their laces, acting like I know something.
Dude, I want to let them. I wonder if anyone's ever been like, "Hey, just so you guys know, gay guys do this too." Like,
Do
you know
they?
what? Yeah.
Oh,
that
is
was
that
like
a thing?
Yeah, like back in the day, that was a big thing. They'd wear like a different colored handkerchief on their wrist, and it meant like they were down for
Oh, no,
different
not
shit.
a laces thing, though.
No, but still the color coding. You know what I
Gotcha,
mean? Like,
gotcha.
That's all right, but did it mean they killed a cop?
But yeah, you're out.
Maybe.
You're out, and like you look down at some guy's boots, and he's wearing the fucking purple laces, and that means he's killed like over 100 Jews.
Or he likes to eat ass. Whatever.
Yeah.
okay.
The one is like would give me the heebie-jeebies or something. Like I said,
I thought that was scary, man.
I can't remember last time I saw Skinhead. I just thought it was interesting, and it's a mind fuck for him because he's saying the breaking point for him was Charlottetown.
Because he had the same symbol on him that these guys use.
Well, no, but he was. I think he's yelling. He's throwing up his salute. He's waving his flag. You know what I mean down there, and shit goes awry, and it's not like okay, I got the story, but. And then he could have risk getting fucked up by like
he
a
would've
football
gotten,
team.
He would have gotten fucked up.
Oh
Yeah.
boy! And the guy had the documentary. Anyways, this was super interesting and sort of out of left field where you didn't know it was going to come on, and I'm glad Joe had it on. Those are all my notes.
I mean, if nothing else, I'm happy that you guys are going to listen to that Bigfoot.
No,
noise
we're
thing
going to
I
watch
have.
Sasquatch on Crave. We agreed.
No, that's,
I'm not listening to this
you're
fucking
definitely-
sounds of Bigfoot.
Dude, we're not even having this conversation because you are listening to it.
What's going on right now?
Well, no, it's just
If
important.
you drive me and the dog home, you can put it on in the car.
Unacceptable.
Well, then I'm not listening to it. It's about that's about us.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay,
You
well,
let
are
me
we
know
gonna
how
rate
it
it?
sounds like.
Is that it? Then we're actually done with this guy.
I feel like
no,
Kamar's notes were lacking on this one.
I don't think they're lacking on this one. I think listeners who listen to this to find out where they should listen, we should be stepping over everything. They also didn't talk about everything. It was sort of like skirting around, especially all the Sasquatch, the show. They didn't talk about what happened because they didn't want to reveal it.
Well, that was the big problem is the second you talk about it not being about Sasquatch, you have to say why, and then it ruins everything.
But I think my notes demonstrate that this guy was super interesting, talked about a lot of things, and we could rash it out and talk about everything. But
Yeah, no, I just I felt like they had talked about a lot of interesting stuff. I just don't remember what any of it was, unfortunately.
I'm telling you, they talked about everything that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought him being in the rave scene though and getting in there because he was doing this report and then getting caught up in it. Like that's so interesting.
Again, this is the biggest
That's
problem.
so
This is the
interesting.
disconnect. That's a half hour of this podcast.
Someone who hasn't
just a
listened.
raver.
Someone who hasn't listened to this episode yet, please go back and listen to it and timestamp for us on the Reddit when this conversation goes down, so that we
Awesome.
can, so that
Awesome.
someone can be proved right.
Well, because none of us are going to listen again to prove each
no,
other
no,
right,
that's what I'm
even
saying. Is
though
I can't,
should,
I can't do it.
because
I won't do it. So
just
okay, well, let's start with you then, Simon. Rate it, please.
I'll give this one 3.5.
3.5. All right, Kumar.
I rated a 4.1.
You know what? I'm with Kamar. I'm going higher. I give this a 3.75.
Yeah, I give it a 4.
Just out of nowhere, gold.
I don't know. Yeah, it was unexpected. I was so happy for Simon because I was like, wow, Simon's getting back-to-back bangers here with this Sasquatch. And then the second he starts talking about it, I was like,
Yeah, that was too bad.
Yeah, but
still an
a-
interesting
Yeah,
episode.
still a
Yeah.
sleeper episode. So that's
Yeah.
nice.
I can't take that away from Joe.
All right, well, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Well, this is the truth. This is the moment. Like
Finally,
this was supposed to never happen. 1647.
Dave Chappelle, the GOAT.
Was it everything you hoped it would be, Maddie?
Yeah,
No,
let's
it
not talk
never
about the
is.
episode. Let's just talk about that.
I don't know. I mean, again, it's never going to be everything you want it to be, is it?
Okay, so tell us what you hated about it. And then tell us what you loved about
What
it.
I hated about it is that if you take out all the COVID, it's only an hour-long episode. So, like, if you cut out all the talk around COVID, that's probably 62 minutes.
Like, you mean even if they're talking about putting the shows together?
It's just everything revolved around
It was
COVID. It was
COVID.
all
That's interesting.
a lot of COVID. I mean, again,
What did you want them to talk about, though, that they didn't hit? Like more background of Dave, more... Because you already know everything about him.
No.
right?
Again, like they touched on, like I wasn't angry at the episode. If that's what you're asking.
Did you listen at normal speed?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, but you don't...
Yeah, of course.
You
never
don't
listened to
seem...
normal
on.
You don't seem over the moon.
I don't know. I don't get over the moon about anything anymore.
Well, you know who is over the moon is our Instagram for you.
Oh, well, thank you, everyone.
People are just raging.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of-
people are joyous
Oh.
and so happy for you.
I mean, listen, when I saw it, I was like, fuck, finally, this is great. I can just be done with it now, and that's wonderful.
I posted a picture of Dave Chappelle. I was like, what happens when you get everything you want? And people just, it's our biggest post we've ever had.
Oh, excellent. I mean, I feel like it's been too long coming. But again, we just got someone like Nate Bargatze, but it was a...
It would be better if the Darnell episode didn't happen at all.
I can't say that even. I just think given what's going on in the world right now, that was just like the brunt of the conversation was COVID and COVID-related bullshit that I don't give a fuck about.
Now, I told you last week that he was starting a podcast, and then he actually talked about it a little more in depth.
Yeah.
But last week you were going to listen to it. Did this change anything for you?
No, I would say this. If I was going to listen to it, what I would do is I would probably wait until there was like 6 months worth of episodes.
Because it's behind a paywall.
Yeah, and then I would go and give it a 1 month's chance.
I'm the type of guy. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's cool that he's releasing them all on vinyl.
Is that cool or is that a cash grab?
I don't know. It's neat. I've never heard of anybody doing that before, releasing podcasts on vinyl.
I mean, then you always have a high fidelity copy of it.
He hasn't heard of NFTs yet.
Well, I mean, Joe, it seemed like Joe hadn't really heard of NFTs. Who else explained? Oh, it was Reggie Watts explained it. Yeah.
And save it for there because it's all we got.
Yeah, it's fine.
I actually have a couple things. Was it funny that someone wrote on the Reddit they were very disappointed with this episode?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
but I thought Dave was hilarious.
Dave's. I always find Dave in conversation.
Like he can't help himself because he starts with the mask prank.
Yeah,
he's wearing the mask, and I hope Joe was like, "Is he actually going to do this?"
Yeah, I mean, Dave always makes me laugh. I think he's just funny in conversation. So I was super happy to see it for sure.
Did you feel like they addressed because they start off, I love how he calls Jamie Fingers.
It's the best.
But then they had a big conversation about walking away from the show, getting his money
beating
from the thing. And do you feel like I felt sort of like he sounded like, I whined and got what I wanted. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, it was so righteous that it worked out for me.
I think he just thought it would never work. That's the vibe I got.
I'm gonna bitch and I'm gonna complain. I'm not gonna get what I want. Like,
I mean, I think
because it's the only time, like Joe said, that this has ever happened without lawyers.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because the network had all the bargaining chips to begin with, and now the tables have turned, and it seems like Dave has now made it clear that he holds all the chips, and they capitulated. And
like, I don't really usually like Joe's stories that are all the same, but that one about Dave Chappelle and him at that party where it's all the famous people and Joe's like, dude, you're the most famous person in here. And he doesn't even realize, like, Dave has so much power in Hollywood.
Dave goes,
insane.
God,
insane.
I'm sure glad I'm not one of these famous people.
Yeah, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
He
is so powerful.
He's otherworldly, yeah.
It's just like Joe. Joe is so powerful right now, and when he downplays that, I get it. He has to. Like, otherwise, you're the Wizard of Oz, But he is so he when Christopher Mellon was like, Joe, why? Because he was like, what would, if you were president, what would you find out right away? And he was like, well, Joe, you roll in good circles. Go try and find stuff out for yourself. And Joe's like, oh, I couldn't. He could, man.
Yeah,
I bet you he could.
That might have been a bit disingenuous.
No, just in general, though, I think Joe, maybe he doesn't realize how much power he has, but he's fucking like, podcasts. Whoa, sorry, guys. Podcasts are the next, like, obviously the next frontier, and Joe is the soothsayer of this movement. Like, he's the king. He's fucking L. Ron Hubbard of podcasts.
But in 10 years, there'll be a bigger Joe Rogan, I'm sure.
Or Joe Rogan will just somehow age with the times.
Who
He'll
knows?
be 80 years old, still doing this thing.
No,
a year from now, Dave Chappelle could have the biggest podcast in the world.
This is what I'm saying. I don't think Joe's going to go away or anything, but it's like we get in our heads the American eagle, the bald eagle's just the most majestic bird. Joe Rogan is the podcast and blockbuster. You know what I mean?
Are you going back to the seagulls now?
I just touched on it. Okay, back to this.
I believe Joe's days, honestly, I don't want to say are numbered, but as being, I mean, it's tough for me to see him being 60 plus and maintaining as big a fan base.
Appealing to younger people.
Well,
yeah.
And I think it depends on how he handles it. Like, if he keeps fucking censoring the show, I think people are going to have a fucking a problem with that eventually.
All I'm saying, he's got his bag. For him personally, it doesn't matter at all. For us personally, if he stopped doing it, it would make a difference. But I really, especially with this COVID, I would still cherish coming to see you guys once a week and shoot the shit about anything. But it's more likely that someone else will come along and be a bigger thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, that is the way history usually works.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are people, what's his name? Long curly hair, Howard Stern. Like, there are certain guys who stand the test of time, and there's nobody saying that Joe can't do that.
But to say stand the test of time, like I wouldn't put Howard Stern anywhere near the top anymore.
I would say Joe set the gold standard.
No, but he also, sorry, Kamar, just one thing. He also did, he did Dancing with the Stars. If Joe remains pure and all he does is still be Joe, I don't know. Like, I just,
Listen,
who knows?
You're getting me wrong. He's always going to have a lane. He's always going to make money. He's like,
Always.
I'm not going to say he's going to go away. I'm just saying.
He's at the top of the heap right now, though.
When I was 20, it would have been very difficult. Now, again, when I was 20, it was a much different landscape. But when I was 20, it would have been a tough sell for me to listen to a 60-year-old's podcast.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's much more likely that this will happen anyways, Maddie. When his popularity starts to wane, he'll just go right. And there'll be a whole new fucking world waiting for him, you know? Probably even more lucrative than the one he's in. Just ask Kamar's favorite, Tim Pool.
God, Tim Pool sucks.
Tim Pool's my favorite.
Isn't he?
No, I haven't heard of it. I said he was annoying and he hides behind his tooth. What I want to say is, what would be amazing if Joe Rhoda, Ethan Suplee was able to talk about side if he confirmed all that stuff in a book later on down the road. No,
Confirmed all what stuff?
all the behind the scenes things like
Like if he wrote a tell-all?
these are the guests I never had on or whatever. I doubt he would. It does seem like in his character, but
I was just going to say, it doesn't seem like him to do that, but that would be, if he just came out and put everyone on blast.
But-
Kanye fucking sucked. Like,
well, I think Kanye's amazing, so I would say that. Anyways, 6 years ago, Joe Rogan looked at Adam Carolla like he is killing this podcast thing. I'll never be like that.
yeah, I'm agreing with you 100%.
So
yeah.
we're agreeing. So he's famous now, whatever. The story that Dave Chappelle tells about the guy goes, would you like to meet Denzel Washington?
Oh, that was fucking hilarious. What a grift that is.
What a great move.
What a
What a
grift.
great move.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Simon?
No, refresh me.
He goes, do you want to meet Denzel Washington? And he's like, well, okay, Denzel wants to meet me. Brings him over. He goes, Dave Chappelle, this is Denzel Washington. And then introduces himself to Denzel Washington.
Like the guy never knew Denzel. He was just some random who was like, I can introduce myself. I can get introduced. Yeah.
That's a good scam, yeah.
It's
for
the
sure.
best scam, man.
Such a grift.
Inviting someone to something you know they can't go to. And it's also like cool because the person's criticism was it's two rich famous guys talking to each other.
Oh, that was going to be my criticism. At one point, I said, "Oh my God, what are these two guys' combined net worths?" And then I looked it up, and I was like, "They are not the everyman anymore."
But
Not even close.
I found that way more egregious in the next episode.
Oh yeah, that one is weird.
That-
and how is he so rich? But we're gonna get there.
We'll get there. But yeah, I used to buy weed off Idris Elba. Like you look at Idris Elba like he's just been a movie star. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that also talks about how long Dave's been around.
Well, this is where I think when Simon was saying what would you want, it could have been he could have talked about for an hour about Jim Brewer.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they used to be partners in
Yeah,
crime or
yeah, of
whatever.
course. Yeah. He could have talked about Half Baked. He could have talked about Neil. They could have talked about a lot for sure.
In retrospect, like if we want to poke holes in this thing, which I do, obviously. Yeah, there was a lot of ground that didn't get covered, to Matt's point, especially because they get caught up talking about like they don't want to say what their stance is on COVID. They just dance around it for a whole long time, you know?
I mean, I will say this, Dave, it's interesting that he's been in the game for as long as he has. He is regarded by many as the GOAT.
Yep.
And he still, even during COVID, was like, got to stay ahead of the game. Like he was talking to Joe.
I
he
got
was like,
105
I have 105 more sets than anyone else during this time because I was out there hard working. And like that really hit home to me as I was like, this guy's at the top, been at the top. Like there's no doubt that for me, he's been at the top for the last decade and a half, 2 decades for sure. And and even he had the power to fuck off for like 8 years, 10 years, and just come back like nothing had ever happened and still be at the top. And Netflix gives him all this cash and he gets his own shit back. Like, but he still was like, got to be 100 sets ahead of the game. It really speaks to his work ethic as well.
Just in retro, or just looking back now, he walked away from the Chappelle show.
Correct.
He wasn't super rich at that point.
He walked away from.
He
the
walked
super
away
rich
from
deal.
tons of money.
Yes.
That was a huge risk for him.
Like he that was his bag. He had worked hard
Yeah.
for said bag.
No. I get it. This is
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying. That's toverly. That's totally overlooked. You see what I did?
Yeah.
There? That's totally overlooked when people kind of tell that story about Dave. They make it seem like he walked away but was okay. You know what I mean? He just went to Africa because he had tons
He was
of
okay.
cash.
He was okay.
He was.
Yeah.
Listen, he was comfortable, but he wasn't like $50 million rich.
No,
but I bet he
no,
had
he
a couple.
wasn't.
He had a couple million in the
Okay,
bank
okay.
for
He
sure.
was, for lack of a better word, the token black guy in every movie for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a Mel Brooks movie when he was
Okay,
like 19.
okay.
They were talking about chicken, and he's like, how many pilots he did.
Oh, that chicken thing was so funny because that's what Kamar does to us all the time in the
that's
post
exactly
show.
what I did to you.
It's exactly what he does.
He goes,
Joe
"Fuck
pulled
that
the
chicken guy."
Kamar
Oh, by the way,
on Dave.
he hung himself.
Yeah.
Like, what? You made me look like
And
such an
Dave
asshole.
says, "Yeah, chicken. That's the stupidest name I've ever heard." And then Joe's like, "Yeah, it's a pretty stupid name for a guy who hung himself." What did you just do to me there, Rogan?
Fuck. Yeah, you do that a lot. Yeah.
All the time.
That's my
He
MO,
traps
man.
me.
I'm just like Dave Chappelle.
No, you're sneaky in that. I'll agree to that.
But I feel like the weird thing is he has such a disdain for show business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what makes him so real because he
But-
never tries to
But
sugarcoat it.
It's show business. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could say, I hate the NFL. They hit too hard. Or I hate, like, don't do it. Like, it's...
But I think the weird thing with him is like you can take he's proof that like you can take part in show business or you can just be like in it without being in it. Like you don't have to live in Hollywood.
He's living proof as the outlier.
No,
They churn up way more people and throw them out than...
or maybe if
Roll
more
his life.
people did exactly what Dave Chappelle
That's
did,
my point.
they wouldn't be in that situation. But because everybody is so goddamn hungry in that town,
Yeah.
they get to dictate the terms. Like it's like the government, right? Like if everybody just sits around and Kamar, you'll like this. If everybody just is willing to take it, they're gonna give it. Meaning, if you bend over, they're gonna shove it right up, you know? But if you don't bend over, or if you don't make it easy for them,
Well, what I was going to say is
maybe
this.
you can change it.
I mean, he said this. I think this was his big point was like, yeah, Hollywood, shot out, like ate up and shot out a lot of people in his day. But now, because you can go out and get it yourself, like he said, what did he say? He was like, you went to the Comedy Store back in the day. It was a bunch of like Toyotas and Chryslers and shit. Now you pull up, everyone's got a fucking...
Well, he was talking about that one guy who like had one Tonight Show set and then fucked it all up with alcohols and drugs. Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
And-
Freddie Prinze.
Well, Freddie Prinze killed himself.
Yeah, but again, he was fucked up, and
He just blew up
that's what I'm saying.
big. What he was saying is, I opened for that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he surpassed everyone and is in a league of his own. And I thought his reverence for Eddie Murphy was very interesting.
Well, I mean,
Like he is the GOAT, Eddie Murphy, and he quit at like 23 or 27. They said in this.
yeah.
I thought that was very telling. Like he, like you said, 105 shows. Like he knows what he knows. It was interesting when Joe tried to explain to him Andrew Schulz, and he wasn't getting it.
Yeah.
Like,
He was like,
well,
that's not comedy. That's not what I
That's
do.
how I do. Even though Schulz is a stand-up first and foremost, and just pivoted in a time to do this.
But even then, when they were explaining it, I was like, it's the Daily Show. That's all Schulz did was the Daily Show on his Instagram.
Even quicker. It's quicker because it's a smaller time frame.
Fine, but my
it's the
point
same
is
thing.
having the thing up in the corner
Agreed.
and it's the same shit. It's
It just hadn't been done to
In that format,
to
but-
Joe's knowledge.
sure, but my point it's an age old
Yeah.
thing. It's not it's
So,
fake news
Can I
in funny ways.
can I interject for a sec here, Kamar?
That's
before
why you're
you
here,
go
buddy.
On? remember I was telling you a while back, like everybody complains about the social media sites and how it's unfair and they're, taking everybody down, but nobody wants to do anything about it, right? And I was saying what you need is like a couple of really high profile celebrities to make a switch to like a different platform.
Well, yeah.
To give it some credibility, right?
That's what David Dobrik tried to do.
Well, okay. If enough people did do that, they could buck the system. Like if enough people didn't like what was going on, they could do it. And to give Joe a compliment, he's actually one of the guys who's come the closest to doing that by leaving YouTube, right?
Just to go to another one.
Well, okay, I guess.
If he started his own platform, now you're talking.
Right. That's the difference.
And this is what I'm interested in what I said
Matt,
before.
I have a lighter if you want to make your life easier.
He's badass, man. Use your teeth. So that's what David Dobrik was trying to do, Simon?
Yeah.
You know who he is?
I do.
And he got canceled right before he could do that, right?
Okay.
So
would it have worked, do you think, Kamar?
Well, the company still exists that he started for the transition, but he had to step down on him because he got canceled.
But that's his own company, right?
Not anymore.
No.
He had to step down.
But it was going to be his own company?
It was going to be his own social
You see, and
media
why would
platform.
other people want to go to this guy's company so David Dobrik becomes the boss of the universe? Like, it has to be like an open source thing that people go to.
You're also
now
also
you're
forgetting
talking crypto, baby.
You're also forgetting though, Simon, that Instagram had like a direct competitor, something like 2 years ago, that was backed by like all of the biggest stars, and it absolutely flopped.
What was that, Vine?
I don't even remember because it literally flopped so fast. I'll find out for you. But it was just a monumental
What was
fucking
TikTok
failure.
called before it was TikTok?
Well, there was Vine.
No, it wasn't Vine. TikTok was actually something. It was like a music app.
It was
of some
it's
sort,
One Star or something. I'm totally butchering that up.
Switched to TikTok at some point.
It was First Star or something.
Anyways,
Didn't
sorry.
no one saw that one
Go
coming.
on, Kumar.
I liked how he called the red carpet the host stroll. I mean, he was just so bitter. It's just weird. Someone so bitter who's had so much success. You know what I mean? Like,
He has never won, obviously not, any sort of Academy Award or anything like
I
that.
think he won a Mark Twain Award. Like,
For excellence.
then-
Does that happen at the Oscars, Kumar?
no, that's a separate award.
Okay.
They were talking about boxers, and they were mentioning like Punch Drunk,
Yeah.
and I think they're wrong about Muhammad Ali.
In what sense?
He had Parkinson's and was actually all right on the inside.
But maybe it got brought on by being punched in the head. Is that possible?
That's possible. I don't know, but no, he goes, I walked past Kenny Norris and it was like bad. Like there's a slur, stumble. Do you ever see Harlem Nights?
No, I don't.
Eddie
think so.
Murphy, Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah. It's like a 1930s or 20s.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a boxer who, like, the joke is how, I don't think you could do it today. I hate saying that term, but I believe Muhammad Ali was all right. It was just the Parkinson's was the problem.
But keep in mind too, like there's certain people that can just that will take a million hits in their life and walk out cool on the other end.
I don't think so. I think that would be an outlier.
People are
head trauma's really bad.
Are so different, right?
Yeah, but you didn't let me finish. Is what I was saying is there's some people too that play 1 year of high school football and develop CTE and die.
get it.
So there's like a big.
You just said millions, and I thought that was a big,
Okay, well, sorry, maybe not million. Again, I mean, I've been in a coma. I've had massive brain injuries. I always worry about that shit. I don't fucking know.
But do you think you're unaffected, or like by affecting that shit, you're worried you're going to start slurring in a couple years?
I mean, who the fuck knows?
But
Maybe.
you may suffer from depression or whatever now from it.
Well, I might. I'm always worried that if I did take one more big hit, that could, like, you know what I mean? Like, I skateboard like 15 times a year. Like, I'm always worried that
Without
maybe
a helmet?
Yeah, of course. That maybe I smash maybe I smash my head, and like next thing you know, I'm slower. Or, I don't know. I mean,
Well, you were in a coma as a kid, and then you skateboarded all growing up. You never wore a helmet, I assume.
no.
Yeah. So that's a huge risk you took.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the risk. I'm just saying in general, like when you're a kid, you don't think about risk. There's no risk assessment. Now that I'm older, obviously, I think about it. But My point.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just, I think the head injury thing it's a wide scale of how it affects each person. Maybe Simon's right. Maybe all the head injury did bring on the Parkinson's.
And it
Who
makes
knows?
some people like Roseanne really funny, right? So.
And now crazy. I it was just that one thing. I thought they're wrong. You could be totally right.
No, I'm probably gonna. No, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Do you think Dave is the GOAT?
I think Eddie Murphy is the GOAT.
Okay, fair enough.
For me, what was interesting is that I'm sure the hardest I've laughed, like I said, the hardest I've ever laughed live is John Doerr
Yeah,
at Yuck Yucks.
I was there.
It was too much.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
It was too much. Like, you had to leave the room to breathe, sort of thing. But Cat Williams. Like, the first time I saw him doing the Cryptochronic and
Oh my God, dude,
that's just delicious.
I couldn't breathe.
Like, I got punched in the stomach. So
Could not breathe.
And Chappelle's never made me laugh that hard. I've enjoyed his specials, laughed at it. And
That's weird. See, again, that's just a taste thing. I disagree though. His Bourdain joke, I was on the fucking floor laughing.
I'm not Chappelle's hugest fan. Like, I like him, but I would definitely put him 1 or 2 in.
Yeah.
And there's still something about Delirious, just as the first time you hear rock and roll, the first time you see comedy.
I can't. First of all, I listened to it when I was young, so I'm skewed right away because it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. Because I had never
it's
heard real
bad.
comedy.
Well, and you never heard
before.
anyone talking like that too.
This is
Yeah.
what I mean. It's totally unfair, and I refuse to give it to Eddie Murphy because he does not have the breadth of work to judge on. Like, we're talking about 2 specials. It's
true. Yeah,
that's
100%.
ridiculous. He can't even be in the conversation.
At 22 years old, very rare comedians after 20 years can be that funny. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
fine. But if we're talking about the GOAT,
I mean, keep in mind
it's
though.
going to take a lifetime of work for me to put you in that category.
You know what's weird though,
who's the
Simon?
funniest
Is
ever?
What's weird though is I consider like Patrice only had 1 special, and I still consider him.
He's still okay. Then specials isn't the way to judge it.
I know what you mean,
Patrice
though.
was on a million shows.
I know. You have a lot of work to compare it to. I'm with you. I'm just saying.
The way I judge, I'm with Kamar, I guess, in a way. Like, you have to be really good in your craft of doing stand up. But I also, if I listen to you just sitting down and talking to people, I expect that I'm going to laugh because you're just a funny guy, you know?
Yeah,
so both those things come into play.
I mean, that's the thing too, is all 3 of them, Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, and Patrice, all hilarious just in conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Patrice, Dave Chappelle, is really good in conversation, but Patrice, that's...
Patrice is probably top.
Just the
top
fact
of it.
that Eddie Murphy had been doing comedy for maybe 5 years. It's just, it's lightning in a bottle or whatever. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it since. And
fair enough.
So that's why I say go.
I mean, I'm with Simon though in the sense that too, he was in that era, he caught the perfect lightning in a bottle era where the 80s, a lot of people were filling fucking insane stadiums for stand up. And then it kind of petered off a bit in Chappelle's time. Then it went back into the clubs. Dude, Steve Martin sold out Giant Stadium 5 nights in a row. I mean,
Well, Joe always seems to think it's Andrew Dice Clay is the first guy to do big stadiums.
I don't know if that's true though.
I don't know. No, I'm not.
No, I'm
pushing
with-
back.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
20,000 people. Was Steve Martin doing 20,000 people's stadium?
Oh, that's 50,000.
Or 50,000?
Giant Stadium is 50, is it not?
No, that's Kevin Hart did Veterans Stadium. I
don't think Steve Martin ever did shows that big.
I think Dice Clay did MSG, which is 20.
I'm gonna look it up.
Square Gardens, yeah.
18,000.
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Anyways, it was interesting when Joe was sort of pressing Dave about Eddie, and Dave said, which resonated to me, this ain't riding a bike. Even Dave Chappelle, if he's the GOAT or in the conversation, the top 3 or whatever, recognizes you can't take time off this thing and stay proficient at it. It isn't like that. It can if you want to be mediocre or just recycle your jokes and go through the motions. You'll never open for Joe if you do that, but I thought that was very telling. like there's lots of people who've just stopped doing comedy with this time off, whenever they have other opportunities or stuff. No, you guys didn't.
Yeah, there are, but I mean, I think the outliers are the ones who have actually like succeeded through this. I think most people are just
Well, in America, there's people who didn't stand up this whole time.
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
Did you? I wish they broke it down how much those first shows cost.
What first shows?
Well, you were saying everyone's getting a mask, everyone's getting a test.
Oh.
Like, was it just break even for not his ego, but his ability to perform?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Do they even care if they make a profit? And they're Joe and Dave. Like, who fucking cares?
I'm telling you, he's old school. Dave still cares about the money. That was a weird. Do you know what I mean? It seemed like he's as successful as you can get, and was still like, they'll get you if you don't keep your eyes open. That's just what I thought about him.
Yeah, I mean, I assume he's got some gold buried in his fucking. He definitely seems that way. He does have that old school mentality, but you have to imagine that he has just so much fucking bread that he's taken care of regardless of.
How much do you think Dave is worth?
Oh,
Especially because
150 million.
his living expenses, 150 million.
No, you can't guess the same thing Matt does.
Dude,
That's
by the way,
ridiculous.
I saw the best example of how boxing versus MMA pay scales are skewed the other day.
200 million.
Do you know what Bruce Buffer's worth?
150 million.
Well, this said 40 million. Do you know what Michael Buffer's worth?
150 million.
400 million.
Because he gets $1 million every time he says that. And he started way before his brother.
Well, either way, I just find
Oh,
it.
no. Sorry, I was saying that's why I think those discrepancy is.
Either way. Well, they were just saying that Michael or Bruce only gets 100 grand per UFC. So,
And Michael Buffer gets the money if someone else says it.
oh, there you go.
Like, he has
Let's
a
get
right-
ready
he
to
has a
rumble.
right- you cannot say that. And you'll notice they'll never say it in any of this.
What were your guys' guesses on Dave Chappelle?
170 million.
I said 150.
50 million. That's it. That's all.
It. But I don't see. This is the thing is I always have trouble with that because Joe signs a deal for 100 million, and all of a sudden Forbes is like he's worth 100 million. Like he had no money before that or no equity.
And it was way more than that.
Dave Chappelle signed a $50 million Netflix deal. So like it just seems odd.
That's what gives him his 50 mil. Yeah, it's weird. It is weird for sure. But anyways, that's what it says, and that's what it says.
Let me ask you this though, real quick. If you have $1 million home and you have 2 cars and you have no debt and you only have 50 grand in the bank, do you consider yourself a millionaire?
No, I think you have to have $1 million in the bank, right?
Oh, I agree. That's how I feel. But I'm just curious
You're
how
only a
you guys.
millionaire if you can lose $1 million and you still have $1 million.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's even better.
I like that too.
Basically, you're a millionaire if you have a giant box to store your Bitcoin in.
Till you wake up and there's nothing there.
Dude,
That-
stealing
that's a-
Simon's
that's a
Bitcoin, if
tough
he ever
one,
gets any, is
man.
going to be
That's
the
a
easiest
tough
thing
one.
ever.
Well, I'm keeping it under my mattress. So
It's
we all
very
know where it is.
it's very telling that he decided to move to Ohio and just live in a small town.
I have a crazy Bitcoin.
Well, that's where he's from, right?
But he could live anywhere, like Lenny Kravitz style.
Matt, I'm going to pull a Joe Rogan here,
Yeah.
but remind me to tell you this Bitcoin story after we're done.
Good,
I
okay.
can't say it on air.
Okay.
Because it
you
involves
want me to
people
know?
that we know.
Okay.
But remind me to tell you.
You want to be
Okay.
doing it on the
You'll
post,
love
Joe?
Matt, you will love it. I will not even do it on the post, Joe.
Okay.
Matt, you will love it.
Okay, Bitcoin story.
Yeah.
Here, I wrote it down.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Hey, peeps, sorry. Sorry about that.
I was just going to say, I can't remember. It's okay. Go ahead. Go.
I was just gonna say he decide to have a live in LA mansion or whatever. Like I think the number Simon said for money is
You know what?
underflated.
Do you know what makes sense to me though? Is on his last special or one of his last specials, he talks about his dad and how he grew up super poor. Because I remember he's like, "Dad, I need $1 to go to the dance," and he's like, "I don't have $1." He's like, "Oh, $1, Dad? Come on." Anyway, it makes it. Part of me thinks that maybe Dave Chappelle was just really frugal and smart, where he was like, he watched all these other comedians blowing money in LA on like drugs and houses and partying, and maybe he was just like, I can get a house back home that's triple the size of this for half the money. Why would I not do
He
that?
saw guys blow up and blow all their wad. Yeah,
That's it. And he was probably like, you know what? I can raise my kids in a normal place in a house 4 times the size. Like I believe that small town he lives in. I bet his house is fucking insane.
Can I also tell you something else? Like, and I'm being legitimate here.
Yeah.
If you like have a ton of money
Yeah.
and you bought, I don't know, I'm just saying here, like gold bricks that are buried in your backyard or something. Maybe that doesn't show up on the books.
Yeah, of course it doesn't. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have offshore accounts too, or have
you have
Maybe
gold in your
Dave was
backyard?
just really fucking smart. Yeah, man. Gold in your backyard. That's what I said.
He's a miser, I would say. Like, I've never heard about him in my life enjoying the fruits of his labor, so to speak.
like spending a ton of money. Yeah.
living it up or being like.
Well,
Did
keep
he-
in mind too, he only gets in places free. You know what I mean? Like everywhere he goes, the red carpet is rolled out. I bet he hasn't paid for a meal in 25 years.
Did he smoke on this episode?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Cigarettes?
Isn't
Yeah,
it
see, he's-
interesting that if anybody else smokes, they get an earful, but
Not true.
Not
Keep in mind
Chappelle.
too, Simon.
Not true, Kamar.
No, anyone can smoke on that.
Simon, keep in
But
mind,
they have Joe talk about the smoking.
Dave Chappelle, every restaurant he goes to in America, he lights up a cigarette.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised Joe didn't smoke a cigar. Or ask Dave for a cigarette. That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
Well, it would have been amazing to watch because people who don't smoke are the worst smokers ever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joe probably would smoke it like a joint,
Hold it just in the most awkward
like
way.
this, Kamar.
Just like I can't see what you're doing. Yes.
Yeah, well, look through my fucking plastic.
Simon,
We can't see, dude.
not even. So you're surrounded by opaque plastic. Plus, there's a plume of smoke in there. Like.
Yeah, it's a total hot box, and it looks like those invincibility cloaks that they're trying to create right now. That's what it looks like.
That Christopher Mellon was talking about,
Yeah.
which probably means they already exist.
There you go.
I only know you're in there because I saw you go in.
Interesting.
That's true.
You saw me emerge like Neo from the fucking.
From the womb,
From the
battery
pod.
womb.
Well, apparently it's the trans womb,
Sorry.
according to.
Point of privilege.
Yeah,
Trans womb.
Take it.
Point of privilege.
Take it.
Another great one-liner from Dave is when Joe's telling him how him and Bill Burr, which I thought would have, he didn't say anything about Bill Burr. He just, you know what I mean? Like, funny story about Bill. Why I like Bill. But he says, me and Bill were trying to see Cosby. He's like, well, I know where you can see him. Yeah. Like, there's no, like, he is so jaded that he doesn't feel he owes anyone anything. Did you get that feeling? And not that he does. Not that he does. But I'm just saying, this is sense I got him. How he's so real.
I don't think of it as jaded though.
Wow. When you watch that special, he's jaded.
He's saying no to everything.
Who, Chappelle?
Yeah. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like, and I think that just.
Yes and no. He did that movie with Bradley Cooper
What movie?
But
and Lady Gaga.
but
What
he's-
movie?
To
Stars
be a star.
Born.
A Star is Born.
But
Oh, yeah?
he said it. And he said, I'm glad I did that. Because Joe was like, do you want to act anymore? I was like, no, I don't. But I did the Stars Born, and I'm glad I did because I like Bradley.
Yeah, that's a weird combo too to me.
Who knows? Who
I know Hollywood's a weird place.
Just like that party said, hey, that's the coolest thing. If Dave Chappelle ever taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, do you want to go do something? Don't think.
Oh yeah.
Just went and where, and now we're looking at a 50-foot statue of, or a poster of Naomi Campbell naked in her house, and who knows was there? The Illuminati.
Illuminati.
That's a great name. It's the really like sexual part of the Illuminati.
Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
Naughty.
Yeah.
Oh,
naughty.
I didn't
You
even know I
got
did
it.
that.
Yeah, no, we did it for you.
It was
Oh fuck!
it was interesting.
Trigger finger?
It was
Oh my god!
it was interesting how he answered his own question about corporate gift tax.
I didn't. What was that part?
He was sort of complaining like, I can't give a friend a gift without getting taxed.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, wait a second. Like, no, every rich person would just give their kid
Of course.
like, and there'd be
Same with the
there'd
state
be-
tax. It's then you're back to the fucking.
This-
you might as well be back in England
this
in
is the-
fucking
It's
1400s.
unfortunate, but like,
Well, this is what the libertarian are talking about.
I hope you're getting your dick sucked in
Jesus.
there.
That's what the libertarians are talking about.
Eliminating that?
Well, yeah, it's all about the government taking too much.
Yes,
Sorry.
but it.
No, you need some. You need some form of
you
a
need a way
state tax.
to squeeze a little bit out of rich people. I never.
They already have enough havens.
thought. or
Well, you
whatever.
have to be. Here's the problem, Matt, and this is just me spitballing here. You have to be able to stop the very rich from just keeping on giving the wealth because it just keeps it insulated,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
But when that ends up hurting the common man who's just trying to take the little bit of wealth that they have and pass it along to their children, and they're getting taxed on that, well, there's a problem, right?
Well, again, it
So-
should be a sliding scale,
Yeah,
right? Like
right.
if you're giving them below a certain amount, then it should be fucking.
Yeah,
you know,
we solved it. Make me weed czar, make you whatever. Fucking
Don't make me
money,
shit.
Make this guy money, man, and we'll solve the whole world crisis.
Am I this guy? Because I'm the Minister of Transportation.
No, you're charged with finding
guy who doesn't have a
Bigfoot.
license. Yeah.
I need you to find Bigfoot.
Yeah, just send me the tape of those sounds.
I'm sending you in. I'm sending you into the woods. We're gonna send you out on a cruise to see if you can find the ice wall. With Eddie Bravo.
I'll try to do this tactfully without. So they're talking about COVID, and Dave's trying to do an analogy about AIDS. Don't you guys feel like AIDS is cured?
Well, people have it and still live now, right? Look at Magic Johnson.
I mean, I think it's definitely still a problem in Africa, in parts of Africa.
So, do you think then that AIDS was like used?
Well, no. Okay, it's, TikTok conspiracy, whatever. I don't know what it was, but like, how can they not come with a vaccine for AIDS after 20 years and come up for a vaccine for COVID in 19 years? But my point being is, I believe, for all intents and purposes, AIDS is cured. It still exists, but it was a death sentence.
But that's the thing is, like, you asked about the timeline. I think AIDS killed your entire immune system, and that's a tougher thing to figure out than.
And it's been figured out.
Well, I mean, it has, though. Like, they can actually cure AIDS now, though, I believe.
I know, but it doesn't seem like there was a moment where we acknowledged what an accomplishment this is.
Yeah, nobody came out and was like, AIDS is cured, it's gone.
I mean, Vice
won.
Vice did a
We
2-hour
won the-
piece on it.
We won
but-
the war against.
Well,
we
I'm
won
just
the
saying.
war against AIDS, and nobody told us.
There's never a.
I'm with you, Kamar.
Thing.
It's
Yeah, but
weird. They
again, like-
used AIDS for what they needed it for, and then what, Matt?
What did they need it for?
Well, probably to prove that the gay population
To sell condoms.
and the drug population were bad,
To demonize.
right? And it was you were going to die if you did these. It was all the war on drugs, I'm sure. I'm being serious here,
Okay,
man. Like,
sure,
that's-
yeah.
It just occurred to me the way they mention it. It's still like, and maybe I'm ignorant, and AIDS is still a massive problem. But
Well,
it just
like
seems
Matt said, in Africa, it probably
I believe it
is.
still is. I don't want to talk out of turn. But
everything's just been overshadowed by Corona.
Why did this get solved during Corona?
no.
No,
No,
so don't conflate the two issues.
too late. It's been done.
All right.
Did you guys notice when they're talking about Martin Lawrence, who I think would be an excellent interview?
Well, I don't know if he's
Guess.
such a great guy, man.
Well, okay,
38 million people in 2019
I don't
living
know-
with AIDS.
living.
I don't know
Well,
if Joe.
1.7 million became newly infected with AIDS in 2019.
Sorry, I will rephrase myself. AIDS used to be a death sentence. Now it's like tuberculosis or anything else. You get it, but you can survive.
Sure, but we haven't eliminated it, was the point.
No,
yeah.
it isn't.
Don't you feel, Kamar, like Martin Lawrence would be one of those guests that Joe just couldn't have like a legitimate conversation with because he's probably like so far up his own ass that.
Well, this is what I want to ask. Joe goes to Dave. He goes, Martin Lawrence was the first guy I ever saw who walked into the comedy store with security. And Dave goes,
He needed it, yeah.
And I didn't know he's like, because he's a fucking asshole and everyone hated him.
Or just because he was so big.
Or it was the time the comedy store was more gangster.
It was very gangster.
Like
yeah, I remember they had the gang nights and shit.
But
yeah.
I heard,
I heard Dave like
What Dave
he
said,
needed it.
he needed it 'cause he's a cocksucker.
Yeah, that motherfucker needed it. Yeah.
because he bigged up lots of people. He didn't acknowledge other people, or I think it's just an unsaid thing in show business. Like if you want to go far, don't shit on people
Yeah.
on a podcast with 1 million people. Where afterwards, like fucking Martin Lawrence stole a girl. Oh, you know what I mean? Like the extracurricular stories. I'm sure.
keep in mind, Dave said in this episode, he talked about whoever was on Saturday Night Live, and he was like, she used to be a busboy at the store, and he was like, I was so happy for her. Yeah, and then he was like, it really reminds you like who you should treat well in this industry. Like just
On
treat
your way
everyone.
up, you never know who you're going to meet on
And I
your way
think
down.
he still has that sort of attitude of
Old
like,
school
except for
mentality.
chicken.
except while he's dead. So
I'm sure he,
He
left
didn't
it.
know that.
He sent money to Chicken's family or whatever.
25K
And now
hush money.
Did you find for the first time ever, we're constantly critical of it? This was half Joe interviewing Dave, Dave interviewing Joe.
I didn't even notice it, and I don't think I cared. As
Yeah,
long as
I
Dave's
didn't-
talking, like it.
I didn't notice either.
But Dave was like, "Where'd you come up?"
See, and I also find that Dave's going to ask questions in a way that maybe we'll get something new out of Joe.
Well, I'm saying with Dave, Joe seemed a little not Elon-esque thoughtful, but focused or cared more about his responses, and
Well,
he
here's
seemed
what,
more mindful than someone else asking him a question. That's what I thought.
here's what I'll say, Kamar. I think that Joe, when Dave is on, Joe isn't in control anymore. It seems almost like a shared experience.
Well, it's also
you
because Joe is no longer the big swinging
This i-
dick in the
this
room,
is-
like
this
even
is what-
especially in comedy.
This
He
is what I'm
eliminates the power
saying.
struggle.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
So
like
it becomes a different kind of a thing, and I liked it.
yeah.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
Joe, a little fanboy, a little awe, a little, but like
I changed my mind. This one gets a 5.
No way.
No, I'm
no
just joking.
way.
I'm just joking.
The last thing I want to say is, did everyone realize that when Will Smith put out an ugly picture of him, that's exactly what it's going to do? Joe, like,
Thought he had a huge epiphany. Yeah.
Like
My assumption is that photo's from like
soothsayer,
3 months ago, and he's already fucking probably.
He's probably halfway through.
That's what I'm saying.
I
He
don't
probably
even know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
So Will Smith put out a picture of him like sort of out of shape. Probably look like me now, sort of dad bodish. But he's putting on a show about how he's going to get back in shape.
Okay.
And
So he let himself go so he could become relevant.
He basically
again.
projected it, and Joe thought, like, you know what I think he's doing is what he's doing. It was just the most captain of the obvious moment where you always like. Sometimes you think Joe's really smart, and sometimes you think he's not.
Yeah, whatever. I do stuff like that too sometimes.
Well, I do that stuff all the time. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
just listen to this podcast. We all do it.
I thought this podcast delivered everything. There was enough comedy stuff. There's enough questions you had about him.
If
And
only COVID didn't exist.
I mean, that was it. Like, listen, even the person that said they didn't love the episode, the reasons they gave were all valid. Like, I felt like those there was a few times where it was like, yeah, two rich comedians that were just no longer the everyday guy. And
That was the only problem with this. Well, that and they didn't talk about the
Well,
old days enough.
Anyways, that'd be more comic centric. But I think the remark was, it sounded like two rich guys. It is two rich guys.
Yeah, I know,
We're
yeah.
supposed to pretend they're like, it would be worse if they pretend like, oh, gee, it could all go away tomorrow and have to get a real job.
Including the money they don't talk about Joe making in that deal and the amount of gold that Dave Chappelle has in his backyard. That's probably $1 billion in that room.
I would have liked Charlie Murphy to have come up once.
Oh, fucking Charlie Murphy.
I'll
never
just
came
say
up
that in closing. That would be, again, I'm just being nitpicky at this point. He worked so close with Dave on season 2, and that was like arguably the best sketch on the show.
I bet you dimes and donuts. You sign up for Luminary.
And you'll hear those. Yeah.
get
Listen,
some
like I
gold.
said, I'm gonna get those.
Who are,
Luminary,
who are
though.
the two guys that he's doing it with?
Mos Def and Talib Kweli, unless those are the same people. But it's
Who
those
is,
guys.
No, that's
Talib Khalib? Is
Talib
he,
Kweli is a rapper.
They're both rappers. They're
Yes,
not.
Talib Kweli
comedians.
also.
Were they Black Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week I said Reflections Eternal. It's Black Moon. Yeah,
Oh,
they are Black Moon.
They were two
1,
in
2,
the same. I know
3.
exactly who he is
Yeah, and so
from that documentary.
And I think he was in The Fifth Element. No, that was
no, there was no rapper.
that was Tricky. He's like a British.
Oh yeah, Tricky, the British like drum and bass sort of
Mos
rap
Def
DJ.
has been in movies. Anyways,
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
in
he was in that
Hitchhiker's
movie
Guide
with-
to the Galaxy.
No, but he was also in that fucking Spike Lee heist movie, wasn't he?
I think what
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
yeah. What is interesting is he presented it like I bet you if you listen to that podcast, they will make fun of Dave more so than the reverence that Joe had for him.
Yeah, for sure.
To them, he's Dave Chappelle. He's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really feel that, and that sort of like I might have to
So,
bootleg one of those or whatever.
what's his name? The guy from Wu-Tang there who was on.
The RZA.
Yeah, that really fucked up
Darnell.
Donnell, eh?
Yeah.
It really fucked him up.
But keep in mind,
Like, I
Donnell
don't think-
fucked up Donnell.
No, for sure. But I think it like put him into a depression.
let's keep in mind though, like no one is immune to this. Even Dave made light of the fact that he was like, yeah, I was swole for a bit because some guy wrote that I looked like a crackhead.
Dude, that was so
I didn't
funny.
want to give him an excuse.
But in Donnell's...
No. It was that he looked like he smelled bad.
No, that was one of the funniest fucking. No, he said some reporter had written that he was.
Motherfucker, your mom smells bad.
Dude, that was. Thank you for bringing that up. That was
Thank
the
you.
best part. Dave looks like he smells. Fuck you,
Well,
motherfucker.
You know what's so funny that just doesn't get the attention it deserves is celebrities reading mean tweets. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel.
It is so fucking funny,
the
man.
best.
It's so funny.
It sort of demonstrates why we should not protect words as well. You know,
Yeah, just let it out.
they doing it disarms it totally. What were we just talking about?
It also helps if you're filthy rich. I'll just say that. I could read shitty comments about me all day if I'm making tons of cash.
Yes. I so
Yeah, if you're struggling.
I
it's
so
harder.
wonder my swagger or how I'd carry myself if I wasn't.
If you had $5 million in the
stressed.
bank.
If I had $5 in the bank, for God's sakes.
No, I think about it all the time. Yeah, I'm like, what would I be like with? I mean, I think I'd be the same. I'd probably be more generous, and
I'd be a lot less stressed out. I can tell you that much.
that's really where it lies, Simon. Is that
Joe says it all
Well,
the
no,
time. He's like,
Dave
when
said
I
it
got
this-
my bag.
yeah? Fuck you, money is literally
that was
the ultimate
when I
relief.
didn't have to worry about rent and all those shitty things anymore, and I could focus on things that made me happy. Like, look, that's what we're all trying to get to, right?
So let me ask both
What,
of you.
Kamar?
He said join the
I was
Patreon.
subliminal, join the Patreon.
Let me ask both of you right now, right this second, as we stand, what number in your bank account would you need to just be like forever, for the rest of your life, comfortable?
I have no fucking idea.
No,
Well, I'm just-
$10
no
million
jokes.
dollars.
$1 million,
Just a mil.
just a mil.
Wow. I'm with Simon for
I'd
the
want to be
ultimate.
able to buy myself a bunch of really nice shit to make myself happy, but also be able to leave something to my kids, so just in case they fuck up, they're not like lost. You know?
I think
10
10
years from now would be $10 million, but I still think I could earn if I had $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I would say 10 as well, because 10 you can invest half right off the jump, and then you're set for life. And then the other half you can buy some property, maybe go on some trips, build a bowling alley in your basement.
Yeah, all that good shit.
Well, I think some rich listener chic out there would rather give me $1 million than $10 million. So
Well, I don't want anyone to give me $1 million. First of all, I'd rather
I
work
would
for it.
definitely take a free $1 million. I don't give a fuck how
invest
I get it.
invest in me. But I think the same thing with $500,000. You can invest and be all right.
I just know this: $1 million invested in a high yield dividend stock portfolio will net you $80,000 a year.
And you could certainly live off that. So
right away, but what I'm saying is, if you have 5 of those,
I'm with
the
you.
interest alone or the dividends you're going to get.
And I'm not trying to be greedy. I would be happy with like I'd be happy if I had $2,000 in my bank account. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just you asked me what like that number would be. That would make me just be.
That's what I
able to
said. No,
give up,
that's
you
what I
know
said. Yeah,
mean?
I said
That would
stop.
be it.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to make $1 billion.
No,
I don't
God,
need to
no.
make 100 million. I probably don't even need 10 million. You know what, Matt? I take that back. Just whatever that number is that makes sense.
I know for me,
Maybe it's 5 million. I don't know.
But that's why I was asking you. No,
Yeah.
because if you want to build a bowling alley, like none of that is offensive to me. If you made 10 million and you wanted to build some luxurious shit while investing for your family's
No,
future,
but that's
like,
what I mean. Maybe I could do all of that for 2 million.
Yeah, maybe you
I
could.
don't
Yeah,
even
for
know
sure.
what $1 million buys because
Well,
it's
in this-
so far
in this
from
fucking
the
market,
fucking,
nothing.
$20,000 would change my life forever. I know that number. Like that number rides on me as I live with a debt.
Kamar,
as we go forward.
I will make you $20,000 off this podcast next year in 2020. What's year is it? 2021?
That will change. Like,
In 2022, mark my words, I will make you $20,000 off this podcast.
But
you too, and me.
Wow, you heard it here, folks.
could we get this right? No, but what Joe like the stress that I carry $20,000 in debt that like I throw money into, and then another place where I neglect it comes up. You know what I mean, as my living going forward. But if I could get to zero, because I don't know what that feels like for 20 years. I've never felt like, because I like to work, even if it's painting houses or whatever, like I know I can earn money. I'm always earning money to maintain my debt.
Yeah.
And so,
And the debt always just accrues too on top of it.
it
Well, because you're always paying interest on that debt.
Of course, yeah.
But
the
let's,
capital, whatever. So that's what I'm saying. $20,000, literally, I would be a different person. Yeah, it sounded like two rich guys talking because it's two rich guys talking, and
Now it's three poor guys talking. So let's fucking wrap this shit up.
rate
All
it.
right. Yeah, well, let's rate it. I think we gave it.
Well, we have one more podcast to do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we gave it more than
One
enough
more
time. I'm not
episode
complaining. Don't think. We'll start with you, Simon. Go ahead.
I'll give this one a 3.5.
Wow, went from a 5 to a 3.5.
Yeah, that was all a joke.
What a
That
fucking
was all
guy.
a joke.
Kamar, what do you give it?
5. So it is what it is, man. Like I listen on slow. I loved everything.
Yeah,
listened on slow.
I mean, I have to give it a 5. I got what I wanted. Again, if I was gonna take anything, I just wish it could have happened when we started this podcast. If he had been on, it would have been a 10. Just because there was no COVID, it was different times, no Spotify, whatever.
Every podcast we listen to that's almost like an asterisk.
Yeah, that's fine. I just had to add it to this one extra. Yeah, I still gave it a 5. So Dave Chappelle's my GOAT. I agree. Eddie Murphy's on the Mount Rushmore.
Now you got to find something else too.
That's what I want.
Yearn
That's a
for.
fucking great. I want Dan to paint me a mural with I want the Mount Rushmore of comedians. That's fucking great.
Yeah, edit that out. That's merch. That's merch. Oh, okay, right on. We all rated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt got what he wanted. Notice this is what Matt looks like, really happy. So
It's not that much of a difference, is it?
yeah, I think people are expecting you in here, no shirt on, waving on, passing
Yeah.
out Jägermeister.
No.
Like, "Hey, the brakes are off, this motherfucker." Okay. Finally, we hate it. Drops on a Saturday. I was so happy. I was completely caught up. Notes and all.
I woke up.
Dave Chappelle happened.
I
This is
woke up.
great.
I woke up Saturday and I said to Mary, "I just have Chappelle to listen to today. I'm in a great spot." And then she goes, "Well, that's good." And then I go, "Unless he's," and then I shut up and I pull my phone out and she goes, "What?" And I go, "No, there's no fucking way." And I open it up and I'm like, "Motherfucker." He always does it. I expect it always.
I said,
now.
I'm sure he dropped one on Saturday, but I know he's doing now. It's always an MMA. No problem.
Yeah, nope. Reggie Watts.
So it was like a
What number? Did you give the number?
1648.
There we go. 1648, Reggie Watts.
It was like
They
a.
never talked about his helmet once. That's weird.
Well, he didn't wear it in.
Well, it was at Joe's studio, wasn't it?
It had been. By the way, I wrote his name Reggie Ways.
I didn't know
now-
you. I didn't
now
know
I
you could
get-
put your own voices into ways. That's super cool.
It took me a long time to realize that he was making that app because it's Watts app.
Yeah.
What's up? What's
No.
up?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Yeah. WhatsApp and
instead of
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a
I
really
can't
good play on
decide
words.
if he's super creative or super like chasing the.
He's super creative.
Do you like the things he creates? I guess that's a better way of looking at it.
I'm not a huge Reggie Watts fan, but I can still stand back and go, the guy's super creative. He's super talented. Anyone that can do that shit with music
Absolutely.
blows my fucking shit.
He did it. What makes him, I think, interesting is that he's a army rat.
Yeah.
So he traveled all over the world. Like he's a weird specimen.
Yeah, he's definitely a
he's-
little. Uh-oh. It's okay. Cheeks, cool it. Go ahead.
Chico. Okay, darts. They talked about darts at the beginning.
That should be our next competition.
just
You
as-
can practice as much as you want for the next 3 months, and then we compete in
We
darts.
got darts, pool, and horse.
Dude, I will fuck you. Okay, that's fine. I'm so down with darts. Hey, dude.
And it's easy to film. But this one was to say, did I always say that? I think I may have said this week. Darts is unisex. I've said this already, eh?
You said, well, the conversation we had was you said you would assume it's
Yeah.
an equal playing field. But is it? Like, have
What edge does a man have over a woman in darts? Like physical.
I wouldn't think any, except they hang out in bars more.
And I would think
So
a woman,
historically, they
a
would
woman
have
might
played
even
more.
have
a lighter touch.
more an advantage
Finesse.
in the finesse.
Well, and that takes all physicality out of it because you watch darts and you can see you can be any body type to play that sport.
Yeah, it's not like Mr. Olympus.
Just before we go on, guys, you know, you listen to this podcast and I would have thought that if I had to guess, I would have thought Reggie Watts was worth $20 million by the things he buys. And all. How much do you think he's worth?
$5 million.
$5 million.
$3 million.
We were both close.
So he's worth 13.
Yeah, it's true. After what we've deciphered today. But even then, Simon, I mean...
He buys all these cars. Unless he gets them for free.
Well, I mean, a Tesla's 250 grand. I bet the Porsche was another 250 grand. I get it. It's 10%
That's $1
of...
million of his dollars just in cars.
No, it's $500,000.
That's just 2 cars. He had more than 2 cars.
Well, I'm just saying some people...
And he was talking about buying the brand new Tesla with the checkered interior and like...
No, what he meant by plaid was that's how fast it goes.
How much?
That's plaid mode.
Whatever.
He's
You know
like-
what I mean.
He's the co-host of a late night talk show.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Well, he's the
Yeah, him
band
and-
leader on the Corden show.
Yeah.
Like, that's big money.
Yeah,
Well,
like I
not
bet
that big money because he's only worth $3 million.
Simon, think about the Roots. They were like, I bet they make more money off being Jimmy Kimmel's band than they ever made off rap music.
Jimmy Fallon.
Sorry, Jimmy Fallon. My apologies.
Do you really think that the Roots are like
100%.
a super
Oh,
famous-
I
guarantee
thought that
it.
The landing this job on the Fallon thing is the most successful thing they've ever done.
Yeah, 100%.
And all their songs are way better or whatever.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Black Thought is one of the most underrated lyricists of all time.
And Scott Storch is one of the biggest producers of all time.
I mean, he was with them early, but yes, I agree.
He did.
You're not wrong.
Remember they talked about the Erica Badu song?
Yeah.
He produced that. Like,
Listen, if you've ever seen Scott Storch sit near a piano, it's nothing shy of incredible.
which that's a great segue because it leads me natural talents.
Yeah.
Like Scott Storch has never had a piano lesson.
I know. He's like a Beethoven. He just sat in front of a piano and was just like, I understand this.
Do
And
you
it's
guys
shocking.
admire natural talents or are you annoyed about it? Like it's so like have you ever been with someone who just can golf?
Dude, so Wade DeZormo. Wade is one of the best skateboarders on earth. Grew up in Ottawa. I skated with him a few times. And dude, watching him when he was a kid, when he was like 12 years old, you knew you were watching something staggering. It was insane.
Golf is such a good example, though, Kamar, because you'll practice for like years.
Yep.
And then some dude will come out to play with you for one foursome.
And he's just got that fucking swing.
Smashing the
Yeah.
ball farther than you can, doesn't give a fuck. Like,
This seems
but
pretty
maybe
easy.
that's half of the thing. You know what I mean?
giving a
Not
fuck.
giving a
Yeah,
fuck.
That's fair.
But no, for sure there are people who are just naturally good
There's
at
just
things
a-
and way better than you, even if you try your whole life at them. And Wade is probably a perfect example.
I find musical though, like
Can't hang around those people.
music is where you often find it. I found.
The ear or whatever,
Yeah.
just their ability. Yeah.
My neighbors, I think I told you guys this, they were all like these musical savants. They could listen to songs on the radio and pick up their guitar and play it or go to the piano and play it. They were just good at all fucking music. Me, I can't keep a tune. I can't like...
I said it a month ago. That's magic. It's magic.
Yeah, to me it is.
That is magic.
Yeah, 100%.
Simon wants other definitions of magic.
Not my magic.
No,
but
not your magic.
Other magic.
I mean, it's the same thing though when you see some kid in Africa that grew up with nothing who's just like working out insane math problems in their head. Like that shit's bananas. Same thing with the chess when they were talking about guys just playing with no board chess. Like that's fucking insane to me.
Everything's just
It
created.
is next level to me. Like
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that in the Bigfoot episode because that was a cool thing that he said. Like at some point in chess, no matter how great you are,
You
yeah,
tap out.
your
you
mind
you
is
max
the,
out.
Yeah,
It's your mind that's the limitation. And these guys who are amazing at chess, it's because they're also like Elon Musk level weird. And it's, you know,
Do you guys play backgammon?
we talked about this last week.
yeah. You've been playing a lot of backgammon.
Still play a lot of backgammon. But I'm just, the thing about backgammon is there's so many moves based on the numbers.
Yeah.
And from the get-go, like if you get this is the prime move to do. It's just, we should do that as another challenge as well.
Well, I mean, I play a lot of chess and like chess.com, when you finish a game, it'll say you made 5 mistakes, 6 blunders, and you can go back and look at all of them. And it shows you this was the best move. This is what you should have done.
Back him up with the pawn there, then the...
Yeah, it says
you
you
can do that in Scrabble too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Best word. Yeah, same thing.
That's more just cheating.
I would say that's cheating. Yeah.
No. But at the end of the Scrabble game, it
Okay.
shows you
Gotcha.
these were the best words, and I think you can go back and look, but maybe you can't.
Because I know that in Scrabble you can do it after each
Yeah,
move.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
You can also put it on cheater mode and just get the best word every time.
Do you guys feel like your eyes glazed over when he's talking about keyboards?
My eyes glazed over a lot in this episode when they were talking about cars, when they were talking about keyboards, when they
Well,
were.
no, just keyboards was like it just went a bit too far, and I feel like Joe was asking questions just to. Well, you seem excited to talk about this, but
The NFTs was where things got interesting in this episode.
I just got to say this really quickly. Like, my uncle is a big time music producer. He had a music studio for like a decade. He's helped me out with shit in here a bunch. Music people love telling you about their music knowledge. It's they ad nauseum. Like, you could ask one question and get a 45-minute answer and not be done.
People just like telling you about their knowledge, period. Whatever they're good at, they like telling you about.
Maybe you're right, but musicians, I noticed.
the one thing I thought was cool is that there are like 4 brands,
Yeah.
like Wurlitzer, Moog, Rhodes. Like, it's not like
And you can hear
this or
the
that.
difference. That's neat. Oh, no, that was the pianos.
That's what he's talking
Oh,
about, though.
yeah.
yes, but there are it's sort of specialized. You know what I mean? Like, they're just this is the industry standard. There are this is the piano. There are not many like this. I thought that was interesting. He likes to sing when he talks. If anyone out there, have you guys ever heard Jaco Pastorius? He mentioned him as a he
The
is
legless
The
runner.
runner?
We both-
That's Oscar.
Oh, sorry, his brother.
Pastorius
His brother.
is like the Jimi Hendrix of bass.
Interesting.
And he
okay.
died like toothless, alone, broke. It's one of those. He didn't.
He
write-
played the fretless bass.
He played the fretless bass, but like I believe it's Weather Report. Like do 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 do. Like, that's his. You know, I'm tone deaf, so that probably sounds so stupid. But I would urge anyone to go. This guy was really, really cool, and sort of like, I think Ethan Hawke did a movie about a crazy trumpeter who died. You know what I mean? There's a lot of artists that aren't successful,
I mean, music.
who are the best in their field.
You know,
Ethan
you were ta-
Hawke, one of my favorite actors.
You were talking about Hollywood spitting people out. I think the music industry is far more ruthless historically and now than, maybe not less now, but
Well, this is the next thing I want to talk about is industry plants. They mentioned industry plants because that's the term now, right? We would talk about it. Someone is plucked, and we're going to make you superstar.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, CIA does it all the time.
Oh, here we go.
Well, it's
Buckle
true.
up.
No,
It's
actually,
true.
that's just perfect, Simon. That's
It's true.
That's what it is. But it's like there's a thing now. Like, I guess we used to refer to as a sellout or whatever. But if you're not genuine from the get go yourself, then it's not good. But that's not true.
You could make a list, a huge list of people who have no right to be where they're at.
But if the song slaps, it slaps. That's all I'm saying.
But you know what, Kamar? Like, look at someone like 50 Cent. Like, he was just himself throughout, and he was always hilarious. And like, you could argue that he sold out, but like, his music kind of stayed the same. And
But I don't think he was an industry plant. I mean, he could have been planted by
No, I
Dr.
don't.
Dre. Vic
Who
Mensa.
do you think is an industry
Vic Mensa
plant?
is an
Kamar?
industry plant.
Who?
Vic Mensa. And he's even good.
Mensa.
I would say like,
Don't you have to be somebody that people know to be an industry plant?
well, he's a failed industry plant.
Do
How
I-
about Selena Gomez?
what about Yeezy? Couldn't he be an industry plant?
Yeah, all of them could, man. I bet you could make a case for just about everyone.
Justin Timberlake?
Justin Bieber.
No. See,
Nope.
he was playing a guitar on his
Usher found him on YouTube.
J Balvin isn't an industry plant.
But even then, you could argue like
The
Usher.
Logan
'cause-
brothers?
Hold on, because Usher saw him on YouTube and like grabbed him and put him in the. So
The Paul brothers, rather.
But his YouTube was like crazy. Like,
yeah, I guess it
it's
had a
like
lot of
saying,
views. Yeah. Okay, you're fair enough.
But why can't the CIA make the person
Well, no,
and make them popular?
This changes
Like,
everything. That's probably the most case. And
Well, the CIA could just give you 1 million views on
Spacious
YouTube.
They could verify you. They could, you know what I mean? Like, they open 1 million doors for you to. Remember, you were saying, I think, Kamar, like, if you had $1 million, you could make way more money. It's the same thing. Like, if they make you famous, then of course you can become a superstar.
well, just the trend now is industry plant. You mean it's no good. Like, you guys don't know who J Balvin is, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know
he's
who
like the
anybody
biggest
you're
in the
talking
world.
about is.
But hold on, but Simon, you would then just and I know what your answer is going to be, but bear with me here. You would have to have 100% success rate, or you would have to have literally hundreds of plants.
Matt, you answered your
I
own
get it. I'm
question.
just-
there's
It
tons
is
of
not-
failures of industry
It
plants.
is not 100%
Well, that's
success
but that's what
rate,
I'm saying. So they have to have hundreds of them
Matt,
because
they throw so many fucking lines in the
That's
water.
fine.
Each CIA agent
I'm
has
just-
a boat.
listen,
with
I get
just
it.
lines in the water,
I'm just throwing it
waiting
out
for
there.
bites.
I'm just throwing it out there because I was like Bieber, for example, that's a dangerous one because as a kid he could have gone either way. He could have gone hooked on drugs. Like
and
his,
Matt,
you know,
remember too, just like Manson, just like
yeah, it could all go wrong.
it can all go wrong. They can plan it out to the best of, just like L. Ron Hubbard, they can plan it out to the best of their ability. But you know, if
Simon,
these
I'm
guys
fine
have a
with all
mind
this.
of their
I'm
own,
just working it out with you here.
yeah,
buddy.
yeah, no, I'm. It's all coming clear.
Do you know who Justin Bieber's manager is?
Scooter Braun,
Do you know who J Balvin's manager is?
Scooter Braun,
He's
everybody's manager. Kamar,
He's CIA.
no
If
shit.
anyone.
Dude, his name is Scooter Braun. Like this, think about Mike Baker's kids.
Kids, oh my god, yes. Yes,
Milo,
that is a
Sluggo.
government.
These are all. This is what
that's
I'm
a
saying. It's all
government
fake.
brat
Yeah,
name.
these are all
Wow,
fake
we may be
names.
cracking something. Did Reggie throw Louis under the bus?
Yeah, but that's fine because Louis thrown a bunch of people under the bus in the
How
past.
did he throw Louis
But it was
under
just a
the
weird
bus?
disconnect. How
Because he said he was like, they contacted me to,
Oh, right,
to remake
right,
all the
right,
music.
well, no, I was doing something to Louis, and then Louis turned into a they.
Yeah.
Did that just seem
Yeah.
like it's sort of? I thought that was very interesting because they didn't know what a mix.
Well, keep in mind though, he was like, well, it wasn't Louis, it was like people in his production team. Because he then distanced Louis and the production team
what
a little
he
bit.
said is, and he doesn't do stuff for money, but we're gonna have to take that out of your money, and then that was the catalyst for him to walk away. So maybe he forgets where he came from.
And
I
if
don't
we're
know.
talking,
I mean,
of
keep in
best-
mind though, he walked away without getting paid.
yeah,
If
so
we're-
take all the money, fuck
Yeah.
off.
if we're talking a best of all time, Louis is in that category too. If we're talking about laughs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Indeed,
I've laughed the
Especially
most
I
at
can't
Louis.
believe he's made that funny.
Yeah, yeah. I can't believe I'm laughing at this, and those are the best laughs, right?
Well, that was interesting last week with Santino when Joe's talking about the prison fights where the guy beats the guy to death in the orange field and Santino laughs. That's what humor is. Like, it's
Yeah, it's a
uncontrollable.
gut reaction. You can't fucking.
Well, sometimes you laugh when you're uncomfortable too, so
Yeah.
that's a little unfair as well.
But that's humor. It's just
That's different. That's like a coping mechanism.
people who can make an audience uncomfortable and then still like them at the end. I think it's like art, how it affects you, which Joe goes off about art in this. But AR, VR should be way further along, we thought, say,
AR, VR.
augmented reality or virtual reality.
Oh, I see.
Here's the problem with VR, as I see it, is its popularity kind of came and went in waves. Like whenever it was really seemed like it was going to take off, the technology was nowhere near ready, and then it seemed like it just vanished. It was almost like 3D movies, how it had like a resurgence, right? I feel like VR has had like 3 resurgences.
Whereas we thought the early, like this is just going to be.
Yeah.
Do you think that there'll be another resurgence and eventually it will be?
Yeah, I think VR is, down the road will be used for a ton of shit. Like I also think when we say VR, we don't realize how often it's used for other things that we're not involved in, like medical practice or
Which helps its advancement.
precisely, or
I
even
would have
the
thought it would have
military.
been farther, Kamar.
Me too.
By the speed that everything else progresses, it seems like this has been stalled in like they keep telling us, oh, the next version is going to be the one, and then it just hasn't been
But
the
dude,
one.
there are
But maybe
doctors-
that's to milk us for more money. You know?
But dude, there's doctors that do virtual reality surgery from like another country.
So just as an entertainment thing, it hasn't.
Then how has that
found its
not
thing.
translated over yet?
I just think it's too expensive in the sense that like
Yes,
if
to be
you like
mainstream.
the amount of, you also got to remember the amount of computing power to render a 3D world around you. I can't imagine is
I think it also
yeah,
just
they
makes you
can't
sick.
get there yet. We're in agreement then, Matt.
well. Then there's that too. I personally, when I do VR, I get nauseous real quick.
Another thing they could overcome really quickly if they put the fucking money to the metal.
If they
The
really
money
invest
to the
in it.
metal. That's fucking good, eh?
Simon, you're on fire
As an
today.
expression.
And AR, I just think like first of all, people shat all over those Google glasses.
Well, but Google spent mucho buenos and it just failed. You know what I mean?
Neuralink. That's once it's inside.
But hold on, here's another thing though. Google did spend a ton, and you went like this, like it seemed like it failed. That's
Who
all
knows
sitting
what
on
they
a
learned?
shelf somewhere. You know what I mean? That will come back, all that technology, and they will figure out a way to properly implement it.
Well, what's his name is working on it. So rest assured they will get to the bottom of it. The Doom guy.
And like, think about this too. AR, there's tons of the new cars that come out that have the heads-up display in the windshield, and that's AR in a way.
And if you all, like, I wasn't being facetious, if you all have
Fair
a
enough.
microchip inside you, then it's a lot easier to make that virtual reality work than having to wear the glasses, to your point, Matt. If the glasses
Sure.
are your eyes,
Yeah.
like that changes the whole ball game.
Adds up to me.
Maybe that is that missing link. I'm not doing it, but maybe that's the missing link for anybody who wants into the real Matrix, is to get fucking Elon's chip. Or sorry, I should say the government's chip.
I just felt, ask me 5 years ago, all these things were way further ahead than they are now. That's all. The Mr. Lisa. Did you even know about that?
No. I did see the photo though.
No, I didn't know about it either. That's fucking pretty crazy, man.
But so the Sheik put it on his yacht, and people are freaking out.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm,
not a good place for it.
I'm sure his yacht is in a fucking dingy
He's
house.
like, trust me, this is a fucking mansion on the water.
But
It's still sinkable.
Yeah, I don't think he
Okay.
gives a shit either way.
Well, he should.
You'd find the Sheik
Price-
floating
Okay,
on the Mr. Lisa.
That's why they wanted us to lose.
So you're the guy. I don't care if that ping disappears. It can live on a legend and be an NFT in a picture. Why does it matter that it's preserved, Simon?
What are you asking me?
You say people are like, well, you can't cheat like that. Something I don't care if something happens. with
There are
it.
so few.
Well, because if
Picassos or
Michelangelo's hand actually touched it-
Leonardo da Vinci.
Or sorry, Leonardo, my apologies. If
There's-
Leonardo da Vinci actually put his hand to that, then I see value in. But again, the problem, Simon, is this: if the Louvre doesn't want to buy it off this guy,
There are so few Leonardo da Vinci paintings left out there. That's why, Kamar.
And so it's
and
a-
it wasn't that they didn't want to buy it. They didn't want to put it next to the Mona Lisa. They wanted to stick it in another part of the museum. And this guy was like, fuck no. If you want this thing, it's going right next to the Mona Lisa.
which is also a ridiculous fucking.
Well, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a happy couple.
If they can, being the key word, authenticate it as a real Da Vinci, then I think that would be a fucking great place for it.
Did you ever see Fuck You, Jackson Pollock?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because if we lose our old art, we'll forget where we came from.
Well, if the whole world just becomes NFTs, like we're trying to preserve some of our past, you know? You don't want everything to disappear.
Works for me.
I mean, again, Kamar, there's nothing stopping you from keeping the originals while also making an NFT of it
Right,
if you want.
but you
Like,
don't want to discard the originals. You
I-
don't want
I
them
fully ag-
sinking on yachts
I
when
fully
they are
agree.
so rare.
It adds to the story.
It's like, Kamar, if you found if you managed to buy a piece of like the original Old Testament or something, you don't want that thing on a boat. You want that preserved for all existence in a very safe place.
Dude, do you know that if you have even one single page in good condition of a Gutenberg press Bible, it's worth $25,000?
That's all I need. That's all I need. I'm going to go to every fucking motel.
And the
grab those
fucking
Gideon.
the Gideons were giving them away for free.
No, but it has to be from like the first,
Yeah,
from the
I get
Gutenberg
it.
press itself. Because there's so few
But
Bibles
there are
left.
and there are other Bibles that are worth a fortune too. Like
Yeah.
if you can find those books that are actually like legitimate copies, you could.
You know what's crazy is I was at an estate thing in Toronto with my aunt, and I ended up leaving with this Bible, and I opened it up, and it had signatures and dates from like the early 1800s in it.
No way.
And I was like, this is crazy. It's probably worth tons. I brought it to this antique shop. The guy's like, I have thousands of these. And I was like, no, but look at the date. He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, these get passed down from generation to generation. He's like,
Matt sold it for $200. Meanwhile, that guy's living in like fucking Venice.
that guy
or
has
something.
50
Yeah.
Bitcoin now.
Yeah, he has a big box of
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
No, I didn't sell it. I have it at my place, but it's useless.
Yeah, no, those are the coolest stories, man. People finding these works of arts and garage sales.
Dude, I saw
and,
this one the
like,
other day. This
attics and,
this
oh.
person had a Ming Dynasty vase in their house that nearly fell off a shelf, and then for some reason they went to get it appraised, and it was worth $27 million.
Oh my God! Imagine.
That makes me sick.
Imagine. You hear those stories and you're just like,
That makes me
can never
sick.
be me.
Oh, that's never ever me.
It's a story of art. Then he talked about all the crazy parties he go to. And people just ask him to go to these crazy New York parties where they have hologram things. Did you guys check out the girl he was talking about? She missing a leg.
And she wears fancy legs.
Well, she in her one video she has a leg that's a chandelier,
Oh, that's cool.
and another one it's like a sharp, like almost the tip of a spear.
Yeah, I
Like
would.
it's scary.
I would have like
Sorta
a
cool.
katana blade.
Yeah,
if that's what I was doing.
It almost looks like that. And at one point she's walking and it's tapping on the ground.
Dude, one of the cool.
That's ominous as fuck.
Oh, it's ominous as fuck.
One of the coolest things I ever saw as a kid was when I watched what Jean-Claude Van Damme movie was it where he clicks his boot and the blade comes out and then he kicks the guy. It might be
Was that the one where he was in the bayou?
Cyborg.
Oh, I thought
There
that was
was
the one
one-
where he was in the bayou.
I don't know which one it was, but I just remember thinking this guy is the coolest.
Reggie's done too much ketamine.
He seemed to be having a little.
When he was talking about it, it's like, I did it for a couple of months. I thought he was like, I've done it once or two times.
Well, he said I'm at the end of it. I think right now.
But how he was talking about just like I've been on acid. We were like, yeah, cigarette. I will have a cigarette. I like, you know what I mean? That state.
Yeah.
But I think he's gone fucking deep.
Well, it was when he was talking about the total loss of himself. That's like I cannot wrap my head around that.
That doesn't appeal
Yeah.
to you though, or
no,
that's like
it does not appeal to me at
in
all.
a doctor's office, supervised.
I mean, I guess I would do it, but I just don't seem like it would be any fun. Getting to a place where there's nothing like is
Well,
that what
that's-
DMT is like?
Yes. Well, no. The other one is like that. DMT is just crazy. Well, Reggie's too much of a pussy to take the third toke, but hallucinations. But it's like if you are, like he said, it's not something that you're having fun necessarily, even though you did it for 2 months. Like you're trying to discover something, but it
Yeah.
seemed like you came out the other side at a good place. The Wine Forger.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the documentary.
fucking-
Sour grapes.
Balls on this guy to fuck these people over.
But I mean, if you
that's
want to
what
make the
con
big
men
bucks, you
do.
got to fuck the big people over, right? Like,
But you shut her down. You know what I mean? You change your address, you change your name, you disappear. You go while the going's good. Like I don't think you could help. Like he was a psychopath or
he must have been. Because, I mean, the question is this. When someone's like, I might have a buyer, and you're like, okay, who? Oh, one of the Koch brothers. At that moment, you have to be a fucking lunatic to go through with it. The amount of
Yes,
money they have to vet you and to get to the bottom of this, like, you have to be absolutely fucking...
You have to have the biggest fucking cojones.
That's what I
that's
just
what
said.
Kamar's getting at.
That's what I
Yeah.
just said. It's just like
You have to have
But
balls
again, it's
in
like
a wheelbarrow.
It's like Operation Odessa.
Yeah.
You know, like
But
it's
at
on that level.
But that's it. At that point, when you're willing to make a con that's that big, you have lost, you've disassociated from
the difference. The Odessa is not a con. It's a major illegal transaction.
I'm just saying.
To the
yeah, but
anything
the,
like
well, the
that.
one guy steals from the fucking
Yeah,
cartel, though.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
his
yeah.
con.
Listen, it's all a con.
but this
Like,
guy's just everything's a con.
I get it.
Like I don't know. I haven't seen it. Do you? It was on Netflix. Now they
It
was on
still
Netflix,
is.
yeah.
It still
I
is.
couldn't find it last night. Do they interview this guy at all?
I don't remember. Do they? Yeah, I think they do. Do they sign
Yeah,
him?
I think so. I don't remember.
I just like to see him.
It was a long time ago that I watched.
Then they talked about a movie where people pay exorbitant amounts of money to eat endangered species.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what movie was that?
It was called The Freshman.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
it's the movie game this
Oh my
week.
God, I've never
Oh
seen
God! Out of all the movies you could pick this week, you
Well-
went with The Freshman. That's Wait, let me guess. Here, Marlon Brando, Ferris Bueller,
Matthew Broderick.
and there was a middle Richard Dreyfuss. No. Hoffman there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Dustin Hoffman.
Hoffman.
Like with that cast, when I saw Matt's face sink,
And it's all about a Komodo dragon.
it's not a movie you've seen.
No, I'm fucked.
So the whole plot of the movie, it's the movie game. We're about
Well,
to
how's
go.
the plot going to help me figure out the
No,
budget?
it'll help you.
It won't help you.
It'll
at
tell
all.
you all the different places. They
Well, I'm
go.
not allowed to do that anymore. So it's the movie game. We're about. So I'm going head to head to see what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office.
I'm going to fucking eat shit here.
But the whole thing is that they have this supper club where they're serving a Komodo dragon or these endangered species. Plot spoiler, but it's a bait and switch.
Okay.
But I thought it was a good movie, and it's like Marlon Brando was one of his last movies.
There was a place in Vancouver that served kangaroo meat.
Yeah, I've
remember
had
that.
Roo, Crocodile, Crikey.
I mean, how am I supposed to fucking guess what year this? fucking
Yeah,
piece of
well,
shit
you'll probably
came
come
out?
the closest ever. Marlon Brando, Matthew Broderick, Bruno Kirby. Bruno Kirby, rest in peace. You like Bruno Kirby, right?
I don't know if I ever told you. I don't know if I ever told you guys this. One day I got on the subway in New York with my girlfriend, and we get on the train. There's no one else on this particular car. It's just the two of us, and we go one stop. And this gentleman gets on the train. He's got a big gray beard, and he sits down directly across from me, and he's just typing shit on his BlackBerry. And I'm talking to my girlfriend. I think nothing of it. I look up, and it's Matthew Broderick. And I was like I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off 900 times as a kid. And I was just like, what the fuck? My girlfriend's like, wait, what? I was like, it's Matthew Broderick. She's like, I don't know who that is.
He's married to Sarah Jessica Parker. That's what you should have said.
I also met her. I saw her in New York, too.
Are we going for a year?
I already wrote the year down.
Okay,
But
I got a year too.
Okay, go ahead.
Correction, Dustin Hoffman's not in it.
What?
He's in the Graduate.
Oh, no. That's not. Who's the dad then?
Bruno Kirby, I guess. I've always thought it was Dustin Hoffman.
No, it is Dustin Hoffman. Hold on a second.
Simon, what year do you have?
Don't look it up, Simon.
1989.
I have 89 as well.
1990. So close.
Wow. That's crazy. I guessed.
Hold on a second. What is this movie called?
The
The
freshman.
Freshman.
The Freshman, right.
You can't look right now.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay. So we need so we got a year. It's 1990. We were both very close.
Yeah, 1 year off.
And
I mean, Brando's in it though. He could have been like I want 20 million myself.
This is a Mandubla effect, man.
he is in it.
He's not.
Okay, I'm gonna find out.
Brando's not, or Dustin Hoffman's
Dustin
not.
Hoffman's not.
But Brando's in it.
Brando's in
Well,
it.
that's what I was saying. I wasn't talking about Hoffman.
Wow, I'm having a brain breakdown right now.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Just throw it out there, boys. Yeah.
I have no fucking clue. All right. I said it cost 14 to make and it made 28.
I said it cost 7 and it made 39.
Budget 12 million.
Okay.
Box office 21 million.
Oh my God, I think I got it.
One of those. You killed it. You
Sick.
talking about you never seen the movie
Sick.
before.
I haven't.
This guy is so down on himself.
I swear to God, I'm gonna
everything's coming
start-
up Matt Floyd.
I'm going to start picking fucking teams based on their jerseys.
I'm much more concerned with this Mandubla effect. Nice work though, Matthew.
Wow.
Bravo.
Can't even consider it real.
Well,
No,
1989 too. I mean, we're knocking on heaven's door, baby.
you got to say this though. Those low budget early ones are easier to.
Yeah, no.
You know.
But sometimes you guys are way off.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I'm
got to take dubs when you get them, right?
I'm not doing this to stump. It was more the idea about this richness and like
He's not
sacred
fucking in
stuff.
it.
It's the Mandubla effect. I swear to God,
He is not,
Simon.
it's Bruno Kirby is the dad, I guess. This doesn't
what he
even
said.
make any sense.
Mind is lost.
Oh my God, I am fucked up.
So
Hold on a second. Okay.
Joe has a mental problem, right? When Reggie tries to compare the car analogy, and because Reggie talks about a Camaro, but he said Ford, Joe's just lost.
Yeah.
He's just saying that American cars are fucking a dime a dozen. You get aftermarket parts.
Yeah. And
You
then
get a
Joe's
Porsche
like,
for
what are you talking about? They only have a Mustang. It's only the Mustang.
I was like, it doesn't matter what car is.
Throw him a bone, Joe. You know exactly what he's talking
We
about.
all know exactly. It's so simple, but it had to break down. And then no, Chevy makes a Camaro. Like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
What was weird is Reggie's like, car guys are going to get on me. You're a fucking car guy, Reggie. You're a,
Yeah.
Like there was the complaint about the Chappelle and Rogan. This sounded weirder
This episode sounded weirder.
because Reggie Watts looks like he smells like fucking rutabagas. You know what I mean? But he's got a Porsche Cayenne and a Tesla.
Smells like rutabagas.
You know what's
what
weird is
people like.
now since Chappelle's been on, every guest after this, I'm only going to be wondering what they smell like. Like I never before once was like, I bet this guy stinks. Now that's all I'm going to be
Shout out
thinking.
to Reggie. He was wearing a Soundgarden t-shirt. Loves the Soundgarden. Rest in power, Chris Cornell. Shout out. Anyways, the car talk was a bit much.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
It was just a bit much. And I skipped over, but the NFT talk was a bit much.
Well, the worst part about the car talk is that's when it's really two rich guys talking. when they're talking about unattainable cars to the rest of us. If they were talking about the new Saturn, maybe I'd be like, okay, whatever.
And stuff down the pipe. Like he was talking about the injection and the you're a fucking car guy, Reggie. Don't kid your fucking self. And what I want
But I think he's more a technology guy.
Okay,
But that's what he considers himself, I think, in his defense.
we've agreed he's creative, but is he too creative? Like the hologram within the thing, and the fucking show, and the drone conversation, like make cool music, your voice be funny. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't judge. Reggie, you go, girl.
I think some people too, Kamar, just want to be able to say one day, like, I did that first. If it ever takes off. You know what I mean? If that's the new fucking multimedia.
But Reggie maintains he's just doing stuff if it feels good, it's fun.
Well, that too. There's nothing wrong with it.
Some of the stuff doesn't sound fun. It sounds very technical and like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you're not into that stuff either.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Reggie Watts is what I'm trying to say.
I know.
Lastly,
I got it. I'm sorry.
what'd you figure out?
The movie is family business.
Yes.
Not even close.
Is Marlon Brando in that?
Yes.
Okay. I thought we were doing that movie too. It's the movie game.
That's what movie game we should have been doing.
Thank God. Well, no, it had to be the endangered species because Reggie's a little eccentric. That's what it is.
No, it's not. It's Sean Connery. Sean Connery,
We got
Matthew
to-
Broderick, and Dustin
We
Hoffman.
combined two movies.
Yeah.
Was it from TriStar Studios?
Yes. No,
Right?
I don't know.
Was it from TriStar Studio? I used to beat my wife.
No, but in the beginning when movies come out and it's like the TriStar would come out
Yeah.
or New Line Cinema, you're like, oh yeah.
you knew. Well, Weinstein. If you saw that, you knew it was going to be a banger.
This was
But
a
you also
good
knew that
production
someone got a
house.
dick in their mouth.
The best is I'm watching Simpsons is on Disney.
Yeah.
So I'm watching like season 27 or something, and the principal's showing Dr. Doolittle to the school.
Yeah.
And it's like the real thing, and the Fox thing comes up and everybody boos the whole class. It's just so classic, man.
There's something going on now. You can see production companies like this is going to be a turd. Like there's one with a roller coaster. Like the graphic of the production company is the best part of the whole movie.
Kamar,
I
you
see
know
what
how
you're
you know
saying.
something is a guaranteed turd? If it has Blumhouse in front of
Yeah,
it. That means you're guaranteed to watch a stinker.
We borrowed money to make this.
Blumhouse Presents means we fucking suck and we have something on Netflix and you're going to hate this movie, or Amazon, or wherever those things show up.
There was a while when TriStar was on fire, though. For me, it's just in that genre.
And Miramax was on fire for a while until,
But that's what I just said. The Weinsteins.
Yeah.
That's if you saw Miramax, you were like, "Fuck
Simon
yes."
did the research and realized how we combined 3 different movies with 4 different stars.
yeah, there you go. And it
Nice.
all comes back to Weinstein.
Nice.
And then they start talking about volcanoes.
Yeah.
And Joe goes, people have died falling in volcanoes. That's the only thing they do if they fall in a volcano. No one is so. It'd be more interesting if we said people have survived falling in volcanoes.
It's true, because whether that thing is active or non-active, you're not walking away from that fall.
It's so fucking But he
And
was
that's
saying,
the movie game.
these are dangerous. Do you think the volcano is like it's what's it called? What's it called when you find oil underneath a vein? So they're all veins that go to the center of the planet.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that
You're
would be
asking me
neat
about my.
if you flew into any volcano, you could get to Hollow Earth. Is that what you're
No, he's saying you
insinuating?
can come out the end of another volcano.
Well, that'd be cool too, like portals in fucking.
Or-
You just have to have the balls to jump in. Imagine if that's what we've all been missing.
Well, that's interesting, and that's why nobody comes back from falling into a volcano, because they end up in a fucking different universe.
There you go.
They end up in dust because they evaporate before they even hit the lava. But this is the idea, right? We're all, as far as we know, there's a big lump of molten magma in the middle of our planet,
Yeah.
and volcanoes are all veins off of that.
Sure.
Or there's a level of magma,
It's magma.
which serves as a sun, as an inner verse inside the planet.
Well, there is a layer of magma. I'm pretty sure that's how the Earth works.
A whole layer, you think?
Yeah, I could be wrong. I'm gonna look up how the Earth is made. Just
No, do
buy
it for the post, Joe.
No,
Just
no,
make a
no,
note.
I'm doing
Okay.
it.
How would they know? They don't know.
Well, they've drilled into the Earth.
I got some coke on my nose.
Got some coke on my nose. Little doughboy.
I was trying to joke around with the girl last night, and I put corn starch. I was like, oh, no, sorry. I just have a wild night waiting for Elon. Why not throw all our garbage into lava?
All the plastic in the world?
That's a good idea.
No
Kumar.
cap.
I like it.
Well, I'm sure that releasing all that shit into the atmosphere probably wouldn't be
Doesn't
good.
even make it out, though. I don't.
That was the funniest thing Chappelle said, and we forgot about it, where he was like, Florida, that motherfucker got a COVID cloud over it.
Well,
You could
'cause
see it
he's
from
been
space.
there. Does all the stuff burn off, or does it just? I wonder. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure someone smarter than us has had to have thought about this before now, right? You know what I always said, Kumar, was this. In the winter, instead of plowing all the snow somewhere, why they didn't just have a truck with like superheated fucking shit on the front, just going along melting it as it went.
Because once they left, the cold would make it ice.
Well, that's why you got salt coming out the back end.
Yeah, that works.
I mean, we already salt the shit out of the road, so.
I was watching some local fucking Chicago or Detroit news, and there's a snow pile.
Yeah.
They push off a like 3-story parking lot.
Yeah.
That they bet on when it stays to June or something. Like they wait. And they bet on. It was the cutest like small town thing I ever saw. No, I think.
So, Kumar, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying garbage volcano.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So this is the
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Perfect.
That was
interior of the Earth. So it's 5 kilometers of continental crust, followed by 100 kilometers of oceanic crust, and then 200 kilometers of partially molten astemosphere, followed by 400 kilometers of solid astemosphere. What is that word? Sorry, this is really small.
Atmosphere?
No, it's not atmosphere. It's
I better not be.
If
If you're fucking
You're having
that
a
up,
stroke if it is.
I win.
astemosphere.
I really feel like it's atmosphere. It's
Okay.
Can't be
Can't see through the
atmosphere.
smoke.
It's really small.
right.
Anyways, then
Zoom in.
670 kilometers of mantle transition, 290,000 kilometers of lower mantle, and then molten core for 3,000 kilometers.
So the volcano goes through that first mantle, and at some point in this article or whatever you're reading, it says, this is what we think, right? Because there's no fucking way they know.
Yeah, they don't even know what's at the bottom of the ocean. They fucking definitely don't know what's inside the Earth.
Just more aliens?
Can I get a witness?
It would make a lot of sense. I mean, this whole thing would make a lot of sense if the Earth
crab
was hollow at some point, and that's where they all lived, and then just came up. Everything that you don't have an answer for, hollow Earth.
You talking Squatch? bro?
Where's Bigfoot? Hollow,
Hollow
Earth.
Earth, gotcha.
Where are the aliens? Hollow Earth.
Okay.
Where's Elvis? Hollow Earth.
Well, the aliens are in our
Tupac down
guts,
there?
But yeah.
Sorry?
Is Tupac down there?
Oh, Hollow Earth.
Gotcha. But Biggie's dead.
Hollow Earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
they're,
convenient.
They're friends. They play chess.
The only thing to be wrong is if Reggie started talking about UFC.
Well, then it would have just been a zero. But
This was one of the worst podcasts that
wow, really?
was imaginable. Yeah, I really thought this was so boring.
Reggie was too comfortable showing
well,
what a baller he is.
Reggie's like wheelhouse is talking about the weird like videos he does, and then cars and technology. I did appreciate the NFT talk. That was okay. I didn't mind that. And he was talking about like that machine you can buy to buy other things to show your NFTs, which is interesting. That came with that one.
Or
that
it's
you
going to be a
bought.
flash in the pan and sit beside Google Glass in a year.
Well, I mean,
Well, like to go, so Top Shots, for example, there's a company already that you can buy a display for your Top Shots.
That's cool.
So like it's a thing you put on the wall that's like constantly that, and you can decide what's on there. But yeah,
well, I was thinking about art, Kamar. Like, you know, when like the art toys came out, that whole movement.
Like a money, for
money
example.
and dunnies and
just
shit.
but forget that even one. Just like the idea of making like graffiti into vinyl. People thought that was a flash of the pan. I mean, it kind of was, but some remnants of it stay, and that's what I imagine will happen with this too. Like in its form right now, probably won't be the end all be all, but they'll take parts of it to make art push forward. Like this idea of the artist now making money off his art being sold in the future, I think is
Well, that's what I was explaining
It's
to you about the
fucking
NFTs.
brilliant.
The
Yeah,
royal,
no.
the
Yeah.
royalty makes the whole thing worth it.
Just a second.
I understand,
So
yeah.
we told all you this weeks ago, and you just couldn't wrap your head around it. But in this episode, you sort of got it.
No. I just, that was the one part of this episode that didn't like bore me to
Oh,
tears.
but you understood all this, but him just confirming it was interesting.
Yeah, he didn't explain it to me, I guess, but
I mean, the royalty is the coolest, and I want to know. What I really want to know is like, can you pass that like account down to Shep, so that like,
Yeah, it's a state. I'm sure it's a state.
well, that's even better because then like,
Masters of your record.
because that's what I'm saying. Then like,
well, how does that work? Like if your parents own like a famous work of art, can they just give it to you, or is there like a tax they have to pay on that
that's a great question.
because it's art?
That's a great
I
question.
imagine that art is a way that like, maybe drug dealers will legitimatize their money, right? It's like
There's a
another
million
way
ways,
to wash
Simon.
it,
A million
you know?
ways. There's like $100,000 bongs.
Oh no, for sure. But people do use art for that. Like
Yeah,
we
of
know
course,
that,
yeah.
right? So, anyways,
All right, are we done with Reggie?
Rate it, boys.
All right, I'll give it a 2.5. Middle of the road. Kamar?
I don't know how I feel about Reggie Watts. I give it 2.5.
Fair
I
enough.
give it a 1.5.
Yeah, you mentioned you didn't like this.
Yeah, I did not like it.
All right. Wow, that's it. We made it. 5 episodes, done and dusted.
Oh, the butt's green.
No, fuck off, dude. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, that's incredible. We thank you for joining us and for staying around. Don't forget to go check out the sponsor for this week. Who was it? Is it Better Health? Better Help? It's either Better Help.
Whoever he fucking promoted, you fucking check him.
Yeah, it's either BetterHelp or Pot Stickers. I can't remember. Either way, go check out all our sponsors because they're great. They sponsor us and they keep the show moving. We have some socials. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. It's at JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram.
At Kamar Babar.
There's also a subreddit. It's r/JREE Podcast. If you want to join the conversation, you can do so there. You can also watch the show at youtube.com/JREE Podcast. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like and comment, as Kamar would say.
Our first ever just hit 1,000.
What do you mean?
Our first video we put up.
Has 1,000 views?
1,000 views.
That's so pathetic.
But you could tell your grandmother like, oh no way, man! It's
Yeah,
1,000 views.
1,000. My grandmother would be like, "What are you still doing this for, you dummy?" What else? Oh, and then of course the Patreon. It's patreon.com/JREE Podcast. If you want to support the show, you can do so for as little as $5 a month. For that $5, you will get the post show every week. Unless something fucks up, as well as the backlog of This Won't Age Wells, where we go back, listen to old episodes. We don't do it anymore, but you never know. Might be one coming down the pike. And apparently now we have like 6 sport things that you guys want to do this year, so watch out for those at some point. Also, I'm going to make this clear right now. Gentlemen, unfortunately for us, Kamar put all of our money where his mouth was, and we've been called out many times now. So sometime in June...
Dog, what do you think I ate today?
It's fine. Sometime in
Bacon and
June,
fucking eggs,
Simon.
man.
Sometime in June, we all have to pick a week, and we are all eating and documenting every meal. It's pizza for me. It's bacon and eggs for him, and you're stuck with bread and butter. So
Sailor boy over there.
he already looks like he's filled with regret.
No,
And-
it's,
and
it's
we'll-
fine. It's any type of butter I
We'll
want.
give him
and
one
any type of
lime
bread
to
that I
keep
want.
up the scurvy. Like we're not
Sure.
monsters.
So keep,
Just out of curiosity, do we consider Nutella butter?
nope,
Okay.
definitely not.
Because it is a chocolate butter. I'm just
I don't
saying.
consider
I'm
peanut
just-
butter either.
Oh, well, that's definitely butter.
I don't know, man. You said bread and butter.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Oh,
It's
we know-
it's
we know
definitely-
what you're
It's
eating.
definitely bread and butter.
Okay. So look out for the bread and butter pizza and bacon and egg challenge. That'll be sometime in June. We haven't forgotten about you. And then that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you enjoy yourselves. We hope you're staying safe. Have a great weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open, folks.